Welcome along then to the opening day of the 2021 Cheltenham Festival. The greatest show on turf is a mere 20 minutes or so off from the first race, the Supreme Novice Hurdle. Great to have you on board. My goodness me, we finally got here. What a difference a year makes. We appreciate you are probably stuck on the sofa, but we will be bringing this festival right into your living room. Do not worry. Real-time analysis and reaction through the races. You'll be getting all the markets. Of course, we're in conjunction with the Betfair Exchange, the real market. Right, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Why not? Facebook Live, welcome along to the show. Get your social media comments in. Viewer interaction makes this show. We love it. Let us know your naps for the week, who you're against, if you've got any lays. Let's see how we get on. Let's see how we get on down the panel. This is going to be a treat this afternoon, let me tell you. Mattie Batch joins us back.
How are you, Dave?
Happy days. No iPad. You're sharing paper. You're confident today, Batch.
I've done that many previews.
Even this year?
Even this year, yeah, all on Zoom.
That doesn't surprise me.
Feels very strange not being there because I don't think I've missed for the last 10 years. But
there we go.
in your esteemed company, Dave.
Well,
so
you are, indeed.
What a bonus.
And what a brilliant moment to bring Bruce Millington back in. Great to have you back, Bruce. I missed you on this show, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I must say, the last time I asked a jockey a question, it didn't go too well, it must be said. But I think this time we might be all right.
You're all right, Bruce. I've been called many things, but never a jockey.
Fantastic. We have been warming up here in the studio. Great to have Bruce back. He's going to be doing for some trading and some calling, but some trading for this man who's been with us all year. Barry Orr, set for the week. Welcome along, Barry.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. A lot to look forward to. 28 races, 4 days. It's going to take a bit of getting the trip, but I think we've been tuning up for it all season, so we should last it out.
Absolutely, big time. Yeah, it's all set now, Barry, isn't it, pretty much? But there are some, change of narratives. There's still some chess pieces to move around the board. Let's just remind you, if you're new to the show, Barry will be showcasing the functionality of the exchange. If you're a beginner, worry not. You're going to learn plenty. If you're a seasoned pro, Barry will be throwing something in. Bruce, a big Betfarian as well. Cannot wait for that. We're not too far away from the first, Barry. Just remind us of our charity that you're playing for this month.
Yeah, we're playing for Well Child during the month of March. Dave, we're winning 865 quid we're winning for them so far this month. So hopefully we can add to that throughout the festival and on into the end of the month. But yeah, very much so to focus on that and showcasing the exchange, what you can do in the Betfair Exchange, how it's different to sportsbook. It's peer-to-peer. You're betting against other punters. It's you against each other. And we just creating that market. So we'll show how you can do that. I think my lucky glamorous assistant, I might add, Mr. Millington, is in studio today. So I'm happy to see that.
He does have, over the course of time, he's got some what he calls magpies who come in and every time they place a trade for him, he can't get a winner. You are one of his favourites.
I know, it's well. I mean, I've edited the Racing Post for 11 years, done various other bits, but this is now on my LinkedIn profile. I put Barry Orr's bets on. It's the highlight of my life.
Who knew? Who knew? Absolutely fantastic. That's the panel. Absolutely great stuff. Let's get the market up on the screen then, Barry. It is the Supreme Novice Hurdle. The wait is over. Don't worry if you haven't got that roar on the track. You know you'll be getting one in here. And just the 8 runners, Barry. What price is he? Appreciate it.
Smash to smithereens, 186, Dave. I think there's been, last time I looked, 5.2 million matched in this market. This was the biggest race in terms of match volume last year as well, 8.5 million on the exchange. Everyone wants to play in the opener. 5.2 million, 60% of it has been matched unappreciated as well. He was as big as 262, so around the 13 to 8 mark, smashed up in the last 24 hours, and he could take a bit of beating in it, all right. Although the horse I like in it is Ballyadam. I don't think he'll be as far off him as he has been on his last 2 runs. Would have appreciated a little bit better ground. But having said that, I think they're going to get the best of the ground. It's not as heavy as what they've been racing on in Ireland throughout the winter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back Ballyadam. I'm going to lay appreciated first of all. We're going to take 50 quid out of him at 187. I think I have to take him on at that price. Mattie has a chance. Ballyadam has a chance. The Betfair Hurl winner, Soaring Glory, has a chance. Blue Lord, we've even seen money for that. There's going to be plenty of pace on in the race with For Pleasure. So we're going to take 50 quid of the backer stake out of appreciated. So we have the field running for us. We're going to take it at 187. So we've the field running for us at about 5-4 against. And then in the A versus B market, Bruce, once you've done that,
hang on a sec, let's just get the first one up. Well. Yeah, okay, hang on a sec. Yeah, we're all done there. We're going to go to A versus B, yeah?
A versus B, which is basically a match bet. And in this, it's Ballyadam against Mattie, and we can have even money about Ballyadam to finish in front of Mattie. No matter where they finish, once Ballyadam finishes in front of Metier, we're winners. I'm real concerns about Harry Fry's stable form. He's only had one winner in the last 2 weeks. This horse dodged the Betfair hurdle to come straight here. I'm sure preparation hasn't been ideal with him. Whereas Ballyadam, I think he got everything in his favour. We'll have Ballyadam. We'll have an even 50 quid on him to finish in front of Metier as well. So that's my 2 plays in the race. Taking the favourite on just at the price. If he was odds against, I probably wouldn't. But at the price, I have to be a layer.
Great stuff. Thank
All
you,
done for
Barry
you, sir.
Orr. Super stuff. So just a reminder, you don't have to play in every race. Safe gambling, do it the right way. That's what we do say here. Of course, this is a Cheltenham festival, and a lot of you will have been saving up for this day. Cannot wait. So Barry has given you 2 trades to have a little look at then. Respect, appreciate it. Going to try and play it a different way. Metier is interesting, isn't he? He's a bit bigger than I thought he would be. Let's go down the panel. Mattie Batch, your idea of the winner of this year's Supreme.
I do like Metier. Since winning at Newton Abbot, went to Ascot. I thought he's very impressive in the Tolworth on horrible ground. And you've got to have half an engine to get through that ground at Sandown. He'd done it really well. I know Sean Bowen thinks, a lot of people say he really needs heavy ground. Sean Bowen's adamant that, I mean, listen, it's going to be good to soft, maybe on the softer side.
He's ex-flat, isn't he? So you would ordinarily maybe not think that.
No, but Sean Bowen's adamant it won't be a problem. I mean, appreciate it. Listen, the form's there to be seen. Ballyadam, I'd like... Would he have got closer to appreciate it if he hadn't have made a little mess? He bunny hopped the last over in Ireland. Would he have got closer to it? And then you can look at it another way. Appreciate it. Was he in front a bit too long? Ballyadam would have come to him. Would he have found a bit more? Appreciate it looks the 1-2 beat, but I do like Metier of Harry Fry's. But the form, as Barry said there, alluded to, the form of the stable is just a little bit under the weather a little bit.
He, as Barry said, he did swerve the Betfair hurdle, didn't he? There have been some green shoots. It was that weekend where it all started going wrong for Harry Fry. And he had loads of P's next to fancied runners, but there have been some green shoots. Bruce,
Sir Ivan won the...
He had something whiz up at Taunton, didn't he, yesterday?
Yeah. And Sir Ivan, as Barry said there. So, I don't know. I spoke to Pete Scargill, our top course reporter, who was at Sandown on Saturday. And I said, what's the nap for next week? And he goes, Metier. And I said, you're the only person on all these previews and everything, and obviously now you, Batch, as well, esteemed company there. But he said he interviewed Fry after he won at Ascot that day that you're saying it was very impressive. And he said, I've never seen Harry Fry be so nervous and chirpy about a horse. I don't know, he was the obvious fly in the ointment for Appreciate It, wasn't he, Bruce?
I'm not sure there's that many flies in the ointment for Appreciate It. I was really interested and disappointed to see the market, what I would call correct, last night. I mean, I was amazed Appreciate It had been odds against for so long. It's funny, in the lead up to this, you get the Cheltenham preview season and all the judges were all saying, oh, we've got to find one to beat Appreciate It. But then when it actually came to finding one, I think everyone went a little bit quiet. But there's still people trying to crab Appreciate It. But to me, he's been second in a bump here. He's won his next 3. He's beaten a lot of these. I just thought he should have been what he is now, 4 to 5 kind of thing. So yeah, he'll do for me. I've had a couple of silly bets on some of the outsiders, Grumpy Charlie and For Pleasure. With the flat 8, I just think you might get one of those in the frame. I mean, it doesn't look a great Supreme. It's a desperately disappointing field, isn't it, Mattie? I mean, who'd have thought you'd get 8 for Supreme? And it's not even as if one really good horse has scared them all off, is it?
No, it's definitely not.
It's the day out horses that we're missing, though, surely, isn't it?
Well, they see it. There's probably some owners out there have said, you know what, I don't want to run my horse at Cheltenham because the be-all and end-all at Cheltenham is going there, bragging rights, standing in the paddock. My horse is running at Cheltenham.
Social runner.
I'd love to go.
No Hendo, no Nichols.
Yeah.
I know.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, Dusart would have been Hendo's horse, who of course was who beat Soaring Glory. Soaring Glory was given him a penalty. I like Appreciate It. I should say that as well. I think this will get you off to an absolute flyer. I've been one of those who has been saying throughout the winter, I don't understand why people are knocking him with his stick. It's his penultimate form, which if he runs to that, they won't see which way this goes. The rain has come in his favour, 5.9. The going sticks at 11.30. So I don't know, that unexpected rain. It's nearly as soft as it was, would you believe it, this time last year. It all looks right, and I think once he gets a lead, this horse, he's actually better. He had to do the donkey work last time himself. And they've got that great side on cam, haven't they, at Leopardstown, Barry. And just as they were coming off that home bend, it looked like Ballyadam had him in trouble. And he went again, this horse.
Yeah, he did. He went away from Ballyadam again. He just didn't stretch really clear the way you thought he would have, having beaten Ballyadam 15 lengths the previous time. But I think Ballyadam obviously came on significantly for that run, and that's why I'm kind of with him this time around. But what you said there is correct. He did have to make his own run, and that day he's not going to today because For Pleasure, he's only one way of running. He's going to go off in front. Now, they could just ignore For Pleasure and know that he's not going to last home, and then it becomes a different dynamic, the race. Appreciated, like he looked like he was going to dance in the bumper last year. Now I know it's different ground, but he traded at 2s on and got chinned at the finish. He just looked just a little bit one pace for my money that day in the bumper. You know, he's a grinder. If nothing goes on here today, although For Pleasure is, but he's going to be up with it as well. He doesn't mind having to crack on and make the pace himself. But he could just set it up for one of the guys to come from behind and do him up the hill. But we'll have to wait and see. I think at the price, you got to take him on at the price. I couldn't put him up at odds on.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could say coming from this firm, couldn't you, that he wouldn't be that surprised he was a bit shorter. 28 runners in the past 10 years Willie Mullins has had in this race, and you think of it as being his race, but actually just 4 winners, and that came in that spate, didn't it? You remember, of course, all his great winners. Tactics are interesting. I mean, he should just sit on the inside. 7-year-old, the last 7-year-old to win. Captain CB. If you're up for ages, you've got to go way back. But the very good ones do tend to win it. Like a Butterfly was an 8-year-old. Theatre World, cracking horses. Yeah, exactly. So the right ones can do it. Right. You'll see these new graphics on the screen if you didn't join us on Saturday when we debuted them. There's the market. Look, what price is it at the moment? You can get it all there. You'll see it in running as well. Racing Post Live in the corner. Members Club offer for you there, Chelt 21. And we've got a social corner for you. What comes up? First comment of the week from a viewer has gone to Matt Soprano. Welcome along, Matt. Agree about Irish form. Mattie and Soaring Glory look way behind them. I don't know, that Betfair hurdle looks like sizzling form to me. I think we're going to see it well advertised during the week.
I just don't know yet. I mean, we can't really tell. I mean, the one thing I would say about the Betfair hurdle is that For Pleasure, although got beat out of sight by Soaring Glory, there's basically a 1-stone turnaround there, and I think that's what gives me a little bit of hope there.
Do you know, 3 horses have run out of it so far. I'm going to say 4 horses actually. Just looking at that, I've got my Raceform Interactive open. Win, second, third.
Fair
so
enough.
far, and they're all the rags out the back as well. It just felt, Barry, didn't it, like that was a really strong race. I'm surprised he's as weak as he has been. They've got cheap pieces going on Soaring Glory as well.
Yeah, I think that's thrown a lot of people because he didn't look one bit ungenuine. Not that you have to be ungenuine to wear cheap pieces, but he just looked like he did nothing wrong in the Betfair hurl. He travelled like a dream throughout. When he pressed the button, he went away, and he's won convincingly. He shot the prominence in the market for the Supreme off the back of that win. Really strange one declaring him in cheap pieces. I don't know why that's what that's about. I heard young John Joe interviewed earlier today, and he was saying that they just felt it'll help him concentrate just a little bit better. But I don't know. It just kind of it's a real curveball for me, and it would raise more questions in my mind about him than answers.
Mattie, talking of curveballs, one of the features of this week is going to be how these horses that have just left Gordon Elliott get on. And obviously we've got the first one here in Ballyadam. Dave and I, we just sit on our sofa when we're not working, so we wouldn't know. But you're a horseman, you understand these things. Is it as big a negative as some people fear?
It all depends on the horse. Now, I know for a fact that Gordon and Henry de Bromhead use the same feed. So he'd have exactly the same feed he was having. Now, some horses, you could move them 10 yards to a different box and they'd be a totally different horse. They could start weaving, start walking the box. But it all depends on the individual. Listen, as far as the feed goes, Henry de Bromhead, Willie Mullins, they're not going to have a lot to do in the time they've got them. Their horses are fit. It's just a matter of ticking them over and doing their day-to-day routine. But yeah, it's just the little things like shavings or paper in the box, or it sounds silly, but has one box got a view where they can see other horses, or are they looking out to nothing? It's getting to know the individual, and that's what you're taking away by moving to another stable.
So listen, it could affect some horses.
It could affect some horses, but listen, they've probably spoke to the owners, they've probably spoke to Gordon's, probably bent over backwards to help them out to sort of give them the best prep for this. So yeah, I mean, it's not. I think some horses, it all depends on the different characters.
Really good insight there from Mattie. So the same feed, that could be the key, couldn't it? Moving one box to the other. We'll find out as the week goes on. Right then, they are just about to jump off in the opener, the 120. It is the Supreme. Good luck. Wherever you're playing out there, this is going to be fun this afternoon. Stick with us here on RP Live. Look, we're going to raise some decibels, I think.
Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Look at
roar.
it.
Lovely.
Yeah, we'll have an RP roar.
We're going to have an absolute roar. Of course we're going to have a roar. Absolutely. What do you think? Come on. So, look, it's a beautiful day down there, as Bruce just alluded to. You might have heard there. They did have that rain, didn't they? So I said to Paul Keeley, who's in the office floating about, if he has more than 2 winners, by the way, we're going to have to barricade that door. He'll be coming flying in. I said, what are we expecting, Kills? Come on. He goes, we just don't know. Until we see this first race, we just do not know. We know what it's like. Look at the weather forecast. It can change, but at the moment, it looks like it might be a tale of two halves for you. Slightly slower as we go on. Are you worried about ground changing for any horses? Let us know. Barry.
Dave, I think it's worth flagging the short price accumulator that a lot of people are on. Appreciated in the Supreme, Siskin in the Arkle. You've got Honeysuckle, who's been backed into 5-4 in the Champion Hurl, and then Concertista in the Mares race. It's working out about 12-1 at the moment. And if Appreciated goes in, I know, like people say, you know, that the bookies blow smoke about this sort of thing, but there has been a lot of money across doubles and trebles and the accumulators for those 4 horses. And if Appreciate goes in, and like multis are on the move all over the country.
Could Honeysuckle go off odds on in a champion hurdle? Wow. Doesn't look like the weakest champion hurdle by any means, does it? Angles all over the place. However, if the first 3 go in today, she's already run about 6-5 shot, isn't she? Let us know. Let's get another social corner. What do we got? 2's on. Jane Young, great to have you, Jane. Come on, appreciate it. Good luck. Thank you, Jane, and to you as well. On an absolute flyer. Who's got big prices about Appreciated out there? Who kept with the face? Where have all the bashers gone now? I don't know. He's always going to go off favourite for this, I think. Oh, look, I don't know. What are we expecting here? Sit 3rd or 4th on the inside, Mattie? Is that it?
I would have thought so. I bet these are loving this. These jockeys here. There's no look at them. They're just walking round. They're all like chilled.
No pressure? You mean no pressure? Crowds is easier?
There's not 18 runners.
It's like a mum day at Plumpton, Batchelor.
I was more scared going to the first and the 3-mile chase at Plumpton. We went. I said they went quicker than the Queen Mother Champion chase. It was ludicrous.
Absolutely fantastic. So listen, keep your comments coming in. We're sort of waiting for them to get off now. I'll tell you what, please no.
A bit early, ain't it? Still 10 seconds to go. They're not going to be late.
It couldn't be a false start, could there?
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
What's the price of that, Barry?
What's the price of that?
100 to 1.
You can have 100 to 1. Great stuff. Oh, listen, it's all about to happen. Where will we be on Friday? We're just looking up at the minute. Let us know what you're doing at home for your Cheltenham Festival. How are you making yourselves, acquainted with what used to be the experience? What are you missing most? Get in all your comments for the panellists. They'll give you a good shout along the way.
Still back and Appreciated. 1.87 we laid it down to 1.74.
Wow.
It's been really strong support all morning for Appreciated. I think the punters just love to get off the mark with a winner, don't they?
Listen, absolutely, yeah. And like you say, the multiples will be really rolling in. A word on the liquidity so far, Barry.
Unbelievable. 7.1 million matched in this so far. Obviously, with the short price favourite, that's always going to be a high number. But like I said earlier, people just want to get involved, want to kick off with a winner, and everyone seems to be jumping on the Willie Mullins bandwagon. No price seems a bad price for this horse.
Well, they're off and
Here
running.
we go.
Then.
For Pleasure cuts out the running. Oh, we didn't have a roar. Over the first, For Pleasure from Appreciate It. They've all settled quite nicely. Bally Adam has settled in 4th. They're all going pretty nicely, and no one's throwing their head around or anything. And For Pleasure seems to be setting a fairly ferocious gallop, Mattie. Is that a little bit too breakneck, or is that just about what it needs to do?
I don't think not for a Supreme 2-mile. He looks relaxed. He's not sort of taking him back. He's happy with the pace that he's setting. So, yeah, he's fine.
Looking at the divots, I mean, they're not kicking up massive great chunks of turf. I know you can't always tell, can you? But, I mean, it looks pretty beautiful.
I've raced this since December as well.
I'm missing it. I'm really getting the pangs now. Look at it. It's gorgeous. It looks absolutely beautiful. As they come up to jump what will be the last in another circuit, and For Pleasure pings it in front. They're all fine in behind. Leads by about 2 lengths. Any market moves, Barry?
Again into 6-4 on 1.63 now. Ballyadam out to 9.6. Metier out to 10. Market's not speaking volumes for him. 16 Soaring Glory. Your one in front is out to 80.
What they're not doing with For Pleasure is they're not doing what I call a third time lucky. When at the at the Open meeting in November, they just let him go and he got in a breather and he kept going, didn't he, Harry Bannister? They're not letting him do this. Paul Townend is keeping tabs on him. They're respecting the leader.
But why is For Pleasure out to 120 when it's doing exactly what it needs to win, which is get out in front and just set a sensible pace? It
And
doesn't
it
make
looks more
sense.
settled today than when it did win.
Yeah, exactly.
There
That's
are two
really
out the back
peculiar,
struggling
isn't
to
it?
go, aren't they? Grumpy Charlie, who's a nice horse, but he has looked like he might want to be
Irascible's
and
not
Irascible,
going well.
he just cannot go the gallop.
No, he can't. No, so they're halfway down, aren't they? It's funny, this, isn't it? Because in 2 mile at Cheltenham, you jump 5 early on, and then it's basically a flat race for the last bit, isn't it? But it's For Pleasure by 2 lengths from Appreciate It. Metier is marking the favourite very closely up on the outside, going well, is Soaring Glory, and just making a bit of ground on the inside is the double green, Blue Lord. Let's see now, Ballyadam in 6, not going too bad, Matt. Is there anything you wouldn't want to be on here?
Only the last 2. I mean, but listen, it's difficult. Look, Grumpy Charlie's jockey, he's probably not young lad, not really rode many round Cheltenham. You'd probably just sort of say, you know what, I can't go this gallop. I'm going to sit here a little bit and see if I can finish.
Yeah.
But look, he's there. He's trying to keep on tabs of him. Chris Honor's first runner. But yeah, they've got a lot to do out the back, I think. But the winner in front, they're still going well in front.
They're just starting to get a bit serious now, Bruce, I'd wager.
Yeah, 1 to 2, Appreciate It as For Pleasure at the top of the hill now. Opens up again, kicks on just a length and a half. Appreciate It in second. On the outside, Metier is going perfectly nicely. Blue Lord being held up and going very well. And then just in behind them, we've got Ballyadam and also on the outside, Soaring Glory.
Soaring Glory's still travelling.
Yeah, he's going okay. He's going
He's
absolutely
kept him
fine.
wide, hasn't he, for a good look.
It's a gorgeous day as
3
they
out.
jump 3 out, and For Pleasure has jumped really well in front, but they're just beginning to get to him
Just
now.
had a niggle,
And
just had a niggle on Metier.
Appreciate has
Yeah.
roared up here. He's looking absolutely brilliant. Ballyadam is the one who
it's
looks
the Irish
possibly
at the
like
minute,
he could
guys,
be
I
most
think.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Metier's
Lord
back
travels
teddled.
well.
Yeah,
Blue
we're not going to
Lord's
see
travelling,
Metier
yeah.
win. I don't think Soaring Glory is either. As they
Good
get
jump.
to 2 out, Appreciate
Oh.
is just over in front from For Pleasure. He's still battling on his second. Blue
They'll be-
Lord's third. Ballyadam made a mistake there and has gone. And Appreciate has been kicked on now. Blue
Go on then, Appreciate. Go on the 5. Off
but
he goes.
Appreciate as they
All
turn
over.
in for home. He's 2-3.
Go on then,
clear.
you good thing.
Just got to get over the
It's
last.
all
Blue Lord
over.
is plugging on. For Pleasure is still hanging
It's
on.
101.
In third. But
Here
here
we
comes
go.
Appreciate It. Just got to jump the last,
we
and
go.
the job is
1,
done.
2, boom.
Hey,
There we
Pings
go.
it.
Oh!
Blue Lord, horrible fall in second. But Appreciate
He's
It
up.
is absolutely
Yeah, he's up.
miles clear. Appreciate It 20 lengths clear, and he's
at
going to
that.
get the job done. Paul Townend coasts over the line. Appreciate wins it. The punters are off to a flight. It's going to be a good battle for second place.
Ballyadam.
Is it going to be Ballyadam? They're a distance behind.
Wow,
Ballyadam, and then For Pleasure.
For Pleasure.
Sticks
You're
on
back
for
in me
third.
too.
Aye, 50 to 1.
The first big price in. Happy days. Wow, we are off to an absolute flyer. Appreciate It. What was all the negativity about? They must have had it in their mind. Will he get up the hill? We'll talk about it. We'll dissect it afterwards. We're going to try and call down to the course to get the quotes to you fresh and first of all here. Amazing scenes. Barry Orr, tell us about the story of the Supreme.
The story of the Supreme was, as soon as they jumped up, the favourite went from 8 to 11 or 4 to 5 into 4 to 6 and never traded any bigger than that throughout the race. It was set up lovely for him. Ballyadam was beginning to get into contention. He traded at a low in running of Ballyadam of only around the 8 to 1 mark, or 6.8 he traded at a low in running off. But he made a dreadful mistake. That put pay to his chances. The favourite, like I said, was set up lovely for him by For Pleasure. And when he got to the front, he went big odds on and just continued down all the way to 101 after jumping the last. So no in-running news of note there. At Betfair SP of 1.74. Thankfully, we lost a few quid. Laying the favourite, but we won it back in the A versus B market. We backed Ballyadam to finish in front of Metier, and we got our money there.
Soaring Glory 4th, wasn't it? I think for anyone that's playing those places. Obviously, Blue Lord, nice to see him
Best
back
result
up.
is seeing Blue Lord
Straight
get back
up on
up,
his
because that
feet.
was a horrible fall, wasn't it? It was like on his nose for a bit and then finally kind of toppled over, but thank goodness he's up.
It's one of those horrible ones. You just pray that they go the right way, and he did, and he
Have
got
you
up.
ever had one land on you like that? The whole, I mean, because I just don't know how that doesn't take more people out. I mean, it just looks horrific, doesn't it, when it happens?
It's not nice. It's if they come down, that's one of the worst. If they come down, if they roll over you, it's pretty quick, and but that's not nice. But it's great to see him get up.
Absolutely.
Great for Alex Hales, that coming in third.
Well, that's what I wanted to
Brilliant.
talk about. Brilliant,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you said before the race, Bruce, not here for a day out. You know, they've overlooked him a little bit. The Betfair hurdle, when you're taking on like that, when this horse gets a freebie, I mean, fair play to Alex. We've had him in the studio before on a couple of shows, and he's got Huntsman's Son that runs later in the week, and that's quietly fancied back on slightly better ground. We'll get the time for you because it didn't look that bad, did it, at all? What a result it is for him hanging on for third.
I mean, obviously
fantastic.
He wouldn't have got third if Blue Lord had stood up, but that's jump racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. He's stayed on really nicely, hasn't he?
Yeah, let's talk about some disappointments. What about Ballyadam? Found nothing, did he?
He made a little mistake too early.
Did he?
Nearly
I missed
unshipped
that.
it.
He did. The jockey was out
I
to
missed
his
that.
left, exactly.
But he was up to. Before that, he was beat though.
Yeah, he was.
Metier was beat. They were.
But being no doubt, this is won by
Metier,
distance.
yeah.
This is literally won by distance.
Yeah,
I mean, you
look,
don't get the supreme one by this far. It's
look,
ridiculous.
It's not going to sound, hindsight to say this. Someone on social media this week put up the point-to-point of when this finished third to Envoy Allen. And he was neck and neck with him over the last. He just didn't get home.
Yeah.
They ran him in the champion bumper last year. Patrick Mullins, who, again, we got great insight, in this studio earlier this year from Patrick Mullins about Appreciate It, where he said, going down the hill, I thought it was an absolute certainty. And he knew when Fernie Hollow, who's sadly on the sidelines at the minute, came, he was going to get outstayed. This is not the type of horse they run in a Supreme. 7-year-old, ex-pointer.
Yeah.
They just don't do it. So he's kind of found himself here by default. I'm really happy for the horse because he's had loads of knockers, and it's because of that previous festival. If you're a beaten favourite at a festival, coming back and trying to win the punters back is a very, very difficult thing to do. Being no doubt that we have seen an absolute worldie there. Where do we go now for him? This is a pleasure as well, Bruce, isn't it? We remember this week.
It's your favourite game, this. It always does. It's honestly, Matt. If you're ever coming on this programme, you need to get the programme book out because he does it every single time.
Go on, Barry.
For next year's champion hurl, he's a 5-2 chance for the Marsh, and he's a 5-2 chance for the Arkle. Probably all the races he can run in, bar the Brown Advisory.
Do you know what?
Because he's 7, yeah, quite. Because he's 7, would they go over fences now? Do you think?
If it was me personally, I'd keep him to hurdles. I don't like 8-year-olds in novice races and older. I think now you could. It's a lucrative programme. I'm sure the book says that, over hurdles. And I would keep him over hurdles. Why not?
Yeah, but when Goshen wins the champion hurdle by half the track, they'll realise there's no point bothering.
Exactly. We may as well go into the Brown Advisory, the former LC. Yes, Goshen coming up, 3:05. Right, we have warmed up. Fantastic scenes. There's your result on the screen then. Ballyadam filled second place. His old rival would have been third, wouldn't he? Poor old Blue Lord took a tumble quickly to his feet, and for pleasure. What a result that was. Just before we move on, Barry, you called it. Metier found absolutely nothing there.
No, he ran appallingly, really, and probably an indication that the stable is just not back to full health just yet, and probably needed the run, actually. Far from ideal preparation for him, but I think there was excuses for horses in behind. Now, I know the winner's one doing handsprings, but I wouldn't read too much into that form just at this stage. He's obviously the best novice over 2 miles, but I think that Ballyadam will live to fight another day on better ground when he brushes up his jumping. Because if you recall, at Leopardstown, he made a dreadful mistake at the last that day as well when he was beaten 3.5 lengths by the winner.
Back on some proper ground, I think, over fences. They might still have a nice horse, wouldn't they? Supreme Soaring Glory, a little bit laboured, wasn't he? Maybe that Betfair, there was the mistake we're watching now for Ballyadam. Yeah, it's enough to put him back, I think, wasn't it?
It's a bad mistake, actually, wasn't it? He's lost 5 lengths. He's lost all his impetus. But as you say, Metier's gone out like a light.
Metier's better than that. You can't win a Tolworth on that ground and not come up. He's going to need it. He's going to need it. As Barry said, there's got to be something. The yard's under
two panellists that will
weather.
be absolutely vindicated by the Metier. Tony Ellis called it garbage, and Tom Collins after that day said it was the worst Tolworth he'd ever seen. So look,
this could be the worst Supreme we've ever seen.
Well,
let's not kid ourselves.
That's all well and good saying that's the worst Tolworth you've seen, but you've still gone up the hill. All right, you've beaten 12 lengths, but you've done it on ground like that. I think you're taking a bit away from that, from the actual win itself. He's not a bad horse.
Look, that
was amazing, that win, you know.
Yeah.
Because jumping the last, I know Blue Lord's fallen, but he's not that far clear. ITV could have had an ad break and come back and the others still wouldn't have finished.
We could have got the tea on, absolutely. So look, before we move on, Where do you think Appreciate It should go? Is he going to go soaring, or would you keep him over hurdles and test your mettle? He's a 7-year now, he's going to be an 8-year-old. How strong is the champion hurdle? Let us know. We've got a small matter of an article coming up. We know you're all out there watching, by the way. We peaked at a lot of viewers there. Stick with us. Are you enjoying the show? Get your comments in. This is the big week. We're off and running.
Dave, this is the bit where I really miss it, Sorry, babe.
Oh, same.
This is the bit where I miss it, where they're coming back and there's nobody there. Because that amphitheatre, when they come back in at Cheltenham, is one of the great things about it. And everyone hurries down there to hail the winner. And it must be pretty tough being there now.
It's no ordinary Cheltenham, is it? But it is what it is. We're very lucky to be racing, obviously, aren't we? And, let's have a little talk about that. We're expecting some people to be back in at Aintree, Bruce, are we? That's the hope, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the hope. Certainly owners, anyway. We know you're out there, owners. Don't worry, we'll be giving you a shout. So listen, look, we've got Shishkin coming up. That's the first of the multiples gone in, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
it's just not a good result for the bookies, that, honestly. Because, believe me, the one thing that's happened in racing during the lockdown, people can't go racing. There's a lot of people betting. 24 lengths, by the way, that winning distance. I mean, that's got to be a record.
That's
for the race.
1 length shy of official distance.
Yes, quite. No, 20. Yeah, no,
25,
30.
isn't it?
30.
Is it 30?
Yeah, it is.
You sure?
Yeah, mate. I spend my whole life betting distances. Honestly,
He does.
Right, Dave.
Cannot
More
believe
than
his
that.
question, do you?
3:56 is the time. Do you know what that means?
Go on.
What? No, I'm asking you.
What do you mean? Oh, what? I was in the ground.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's 3:56
Oh, no, sorry.
p.m. am I? I'm trying to get
I thought it was one of those funny race
That
times.
went quick. Thanks for watching. See you later.
I thought it was one of those funny race times. I'm thinking, are we on one at Southwell today?
Come on,
That's
you're the
anything on
time expert. What's 3:56? Is that
It's
good?
basically just on the slow side, that means basically. I'm pretty sure that's what Paul Tannen will come back in and say. Like I say, we have got people on the track. Let's see. There's lots of. I've got the Race Day Live one going, so the news desk are asking if that's the biggest winning distance ever. On the slow side, says Paul Townend, just getting it in now. So
Which is standard for the first day.
Well, it is sort of,
Really?
Mattie, but
Yeah.
Charlie Post was on your seat on Saturday, and he was telling us a great story, Barry, wasn't he, about the confidence of Dan Skelton, who walked the track on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And he said that he got off the phone straight away and called Ian Popham Pops, as they call him. Pops, who you'll be in that firm.
Oh,
won't you,
he's so annoying, that fellow. He's so good looking, it's unbelievable.
and this this chain of phone calls has gone down, and apparently Dan Skelton, you know what he's like, Bruce? He's a chip off the old Paul Nicholls block, isn't he?
Exactly.
He got off it. It was a sound surface, nice and dry on Tuesday. I'll see where I'm going with. He got off the phone, Barry, didn't he? He went, "We're going to clean up, lads." There were a few more expletives in there. But he just thinks he's going to win everything, because the ground was such a carpet. They haven't raced on it since December. All of a sudden, the rains come, and we're thinking, is it going to be slow ground? We'll find out what Kills. Kills is mulling about in the office, actually. He'll have a good word on that. But
what to
it's
be
on the
young
slow
and
side.
enthusiastic, Dave.
Well, indeed, quite, absolutely. Which is absolutely full of optimism. We have to move on. We're seeing replays of Appreciate It. Has he just run to his Leopardstown form? Is that what he's done? Are we getting a bit carried away? But that was fantastic. And do you know why I'm missing it now? You know when you stand in the stand and they come round that corner and one's on the bridle?
Yeah.
That's when you get
And the
excited,
roar.
isn't it? The roar!
The roar there would have been fantastic. And it looks beautiful. It looks warm. It looks sunny.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Let's get the Arkle market up then. Okay, this was one of the biggest disappointments of the season, wasn't it? When Energamine came out to the Willie Mullins, he'd be on a quick double here. Loads of you would have fancied him. He's gone by the wayside, unfortunately, which means, Barry, that Shishkin has plummeted.
Yeah, he certainly has. When the 48-hour decks came out for this, and obviously Energamine, it was around 1.60 mark for Shishkin. He's 1.48 now, so 100 quid wins you 48. He's under 1 to 2. Well supported at that as well. All Mankind 7.4, 11 Captain Guinness and Franco Deporte and 46 Eldorado Allen. It's cut up badly this race, but the horse I like is Captain Guinness. Absolutely luckless. Ran in the Supreme last year, was really going well. Asterion Phalange kept jumping out to his right. It interfered with Elixir Danae and brought down Captain Guinness. Then over here, novice chasing this season, things didn't just go for him in Tipperary where he pulled up. And he got brought down last day behind Energamine, who he had finished second to previous to that in Nace. He got brought down, or he fell, at the second last in Leopardstown. And he was going very well. He was about to put it up to the favourite, Energamine. But I'm just going to back him in the without market here, Bruce, without the favourite, and in the A versus B market that served us so well in the first race. So in the without market, he's currently a little over 2 to 1, 3.05. That market's headed by All Mankind at 288. So at around the 2-1 mark, we're going to have 50 quid on him at 2-1. I think that's a fairly decent bet. And then in the A versus B market, he's 193 to finish in front of Captain Guinness. Now, that's quite an illiquid market. So we're going to be a price maker here. We're going to look to back him at 2.10. We're going to look to have 50 quid on him at that. So that will go into the lay box, into the pink box, because we're requesting a price and we're waiting for someone to come in and lay us that bet.
That's 50 at 2.1, Barry, you say, yeah?
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, 11 to 10. So
Okay.
to win 55 quid. And I'm confident that bet will get matched because that market has to correct itself.
Okay.
Okay, the without market, Barry, I guess is this is the angle in. This is what you get here on RP Live. Different ways to play it. If you're not brave enough to be, or you don't want to be, worrying throughout the whole race. Someone said to me the other week, he was like, I don't know how people back odds on. He goes, I'd be sitting behind the sofa for the whole race. I'd rather back someone at a double figure price and not have too much on and actually enjoy the race. When you just back these singles like this, you're basically just worrying throughout, aren't you? It's not really
the
enjoyable.
people who backed Appreciate It odds on didn't have too much to worry about.
Well,
I
they
think
probably
loved
didn't.
it.
But you know what I mean? There are
It
lots
depends
of
how
people.
short it is, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, two's on over fence, novice over fence is, I agree with you. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress. And when you win, you kind of just feel relieved rather than, you should be getting pleasure out of backing a win.
That's my point, absolutely. And sometimes when you're on a 10-1 shot that's always up there and then gives you a shout, it's more pleasurable, isn't it?
Boring mask, Willie. Look at that.
Look at
plain
that.
black number. That's no good, is it?
He's a bit like Hannibal, doesn't he? He's like, absolutely. Is that Willie Mullins? Oh, yeah, okay. So listen, we'll be getting the quotes as they come on in. Are you with Shishkin? Is this the second leg of that multiple that Barry Orr was on about? This is the one that has them worrying. Small fields, no crowds for bookmakers just putting on the social bets.
Can I put another negative into potential negative? Why did Altior come out?
Oh, yeah, okay. The
Well,
cough.
what's the answer? Cough.
Yeah.
So again, Mattie, I'm going to ask you as a horseman. So you've got Hendo's got all these horses in. Altior's come out because he's coughing. Is Nicky telling us that, or potentially or sowing the seeds of doubt there, that there is a cough in the yard? Should we be worried? Me and Paul Kelly went on this morning and looked through. He's operating at 18%. He's normally 24%, so that's not the end of the world. But a lot of them have got beat a long way at fairly short prices. How much can it be a concern if one coughs just before Cheltenham?
I think it is a concern. It's like it had a bad scope. Now, it depends how you determine a bad scope. I think there's like a scale 1 to 5. You could have a scope bad 1 or 2, and you could still run. So it's got to be bad for Altior not to run. So that would be a worry for the rest of his runners, because like anything, if something's got it in one box, is it going round the yard? Has it been round the yard? It is concerning. Definitely.
Yeah, he's pulled out one tomorrow. I can't remember the name of the horse. Got bad scope, bad blood. It was so, and he went into the end of last week looking good. But a lot of people are looking at his runners over the weekend, and that ground at Sandown Imperial Cup, wasn't it hard work, Barry? Big time. He's not going to get any big. I mean, is he going to go 2s on, or is this just all one-way traffic now, Barry?
Oh, he's 148, so he's under 2s on, and I think he could potentially go shorter than that because the opposition is thin on the ground from a betting perspective. Obviously, All Mankind in there who's going to go out and make the running. He's 7.2. He's on the slide. Captain Guinness friendless as well. When the Nurgamane was in the race, Captain Guinness was an 8 to 1 chance. He's out to 12 to 1 now on the exchange. 10 to 1 Franco de Port and 50 Eldorado Allen. So I think the favourite's just going to, and especially after the first one going in, the books will be looking to use the exchange maybe to decrease their liabilities on this as well.
Looks like that's happening, doesn't it? Let's get a social comment in then. Viewer interaction coming up again in the corner. Here it comes. Luke McGurr. Welcome to the show, Luke. Shishkin all the way on this one. He's a horse that doesn't mind getting on with it, isn't he? He's not necessarily a horse that you'd like to hold up. In fact, since the Supreme, remember he nearly got knocked over in the Supreme, still won, didn't he? He's a horse that doesn't mind getting on with it, but obviously it's All Mankind.
Won't need to, will he?
Exactly. This is the hair. Now, when he won the Lightning novice chase, the comment that we got straight afterwards from Nico de Boinville, if you remember, he went slightly out to his left, and people were like, is this out to your mark too? The comparisons are unbelievable. However, Nico said as soon as Eldorado Allen got a slap, who was leading at that point, that is when the game face came on about Shishkin. I have to say it's one of the best quotes of the season so far for me. That it really got me excited about a proper racehorse. When they go hard, he enjoys it more.
I love him. I think he's fantastic. I hope that today is the moment that we see another superstar taking shape, because racing needs these shishkins, don't they?
Yeah.
I've taken him on with All Mankind each way, because that way I fancy All Mankind to beat the other three. I don't mind if he gets beat by the favourite, I'll still win a bit. But I actually think All Mankind's going to take a lot of passing. I like that Warwick run last time. I thought it was really good.
Well,
and he's powered away from a good horse there, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Sky Pirate.
Yeah, absolutely. The Pirate, yes. And what I love about this horse, we can say that Shishkin is a freak talent-wise. What a freak this horse is. To come from the flat, they couldn't settle him. They just let him get on with it. They weren't sure what they were going to get with this chap. You know, they got sent him by the Gredley firm, basically saying, see what you can do with him. And he is a remarkable story. And he made a couple of errors, didn't he, last time, in the Kingmaker?
That's the only thing that worries me a little bit. He is prone to a little error. And I saw, it was on Twitter the other day, scouting, they saw him schooling. And for all our younger viewers, he was running up to this fence and he was like John Travolta. He changed his legs. And I was like, I can't believe I see what I'm watching, because around Warwick you made silly mistakes, but on the all-weather, oh my God, his feet, his movement, he was just, for a jockey to see that, like, I mean, any horse they're built to come up long on a perfect stride. The hardest stride to do for a horse is going in short, at speed, and he went in there so quick, done a little moonwalk, a little turn.
Night fever.
Oh, and he even went, ooh, like that. And he's got to the other side of this fence as quick as you can, and it was like, oh.
So when he's good, he's electric, isn't he?
Electric.
And Skelton, apparently, anyone that's asked him about those errors at Warwick, he got really quite defensive about it.
Also, don't forget Warwick. I mean, everyone goes on about the railway fences at Sandown, but those Warwick fences, they do come up really thick and fast, don't they?
Yeah. As quick as Sandown, and there's more of them. But then that's where Shishkin gets the advantage to me. He rounds Kempton. I think we was in here, Dave, when he won at Kempton. Me, you and Posty.
Yes.
And we both said, you said, oh, Shishkin made a mistake there. And we said, no, Dave.
Oh, yeah. I've been getting schooled throughout by these extra.
Bonville come in. It was about 4 out.
You can't tell him a horse is keen. That's one thing. They go, he's not keen. You can't say anything's keen to these guys. They don't like it at all, even if they're pulling for their head. They're absolutely not keen. And the other thing is, you can't tell them which fence is which, because they'll correct you on that. It turns out I've never really known where the railway fences are at Sandown.
I'm amazed I've gone this far without putting my foot in it.
Dave said we're at the railway fence. He was at the pond fence.
We had Charlie Post on Saturday, and he's always been giving me all these stick about his railway fence. I said, I looked into your record, Posty, at Sandown. You're not from 19, mate. He went, I rode 2 winners. Like this. So anyway, he wasn't having it. But
yeah, Shishkin, go back to Shishkin. Nico de Bonville went in at Kempton. He's asked him up, and Shishkin, for a novice, he went, no, Nico, leave this to me. Gone in and popped. Now, you go back to Doncaster, and everyone's going, oh, he's jumped a bit left, jumped a bit left. Now,
Whoa, there's a horse loose in the paddock for a second.
Number 2.
That's Captain Guinness.
Captain Guinness.
Lydia had to do a little about turn there. He's all right now. He's under
all right,
control,
yeah.
but yeah.
So
sorry.
Doncaster, they've got no gallop. Nico's happy to sit in behind. He's not set him alight. He's on the best horse in the race. It's a foregone conclusion he's going to win that race. I don't need to rev this horse up. Why give him a hard race when I don't have to?
sure.
He's gone round there. He's gone in. If you look back, he's gone in and popped most of them. Gone a little bit to the left, put himself right, turned into the straight. And as Nico said, woke him up over the last few fences at Donny. He was good. Now today here, you've got All Mankind setting a good gallop. You're going to see now how good Shishkin is at jumping. I'll promise you that now. You watch this. This is going to be electric. He's going to be brilliant.
What are you expecting to happen, Matty?
All Mankind, go out, set a nice pace, and he's going to love that, Nico. He's just going to sit behind him. He won't
3 or 4 off it?
He won't, 2-3 lengths off him. He won't be right up his backside, because that's not, for a novice, you're not going to do that. You'll either go inside or outside, wherever All Mankind's going, and he'd just be sitting. He'd be absolutely thriving to ride this horse, because he can't wait.
He's been a freak on the figures, Shishkin. When he was the only horse, and again we crunch all these numbers here, at the Post. When he ran on his second start at Kempton, he's the only horse since 2000 to reach, and this is on your second chase start, a 170 figure. Can you think who the other one was?
Sprinter?
Wasn't Sprinter.
Wasn't a Sprinter.
No.
Moscow?
Masterminded?
No.
Masterminded.
It's
Florida?
It's the one that never really did it at Cheltenham. You know, it was there.
English horse?
It's a Mullins horse.
Mullins.
It's a Mullins horse. It's in those colours, the Ritchie colours.
Duvan.
Oh, Duvan.
It was Duvan.
I mean, I think Duvan. That's one of the most unfulfilled great careers. If he had his fitness, if he didn't have his fitness problems, I think we'd be talking about one of the all-time great jump
Well,
horses.
the figures say you're quite right. We are, of course, blessed, aren't we, this season that we've got 3 170 novice chases heading into this, or we did, of course. I think now that Energamine's out. Just a word on Energamine, the horse that finished second to him last time. What price, Barry, is Franco de Port in the without market?
In the without market, Dave, Franco de Port, give me 2 seconds.
I've got it up now. 3.5.
345, yeah, 3.45. So just nearly 5-2 in the without market.
That's the one
Captain
for me.
Guinness out to 3.6, 2.72, so 7-4 all mankind. It's a competitive market in the without.
It always was going to
race
be.
or come second to the favourite is basically what the without market is. And if you dead heat.
Barry, talk us through the distance market, Barry, because we've got How Far Shishkin. Talk us about, I've got that up on the screen now. That's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, so up to and including 4.5 lengths is 4.8. 4 3/4 lengths or more is your favourite at even money. And Shishkin not to win is 3.15, which is obviously, you can lay him in the exchange at that. So, so even money over 4 3/4 lengths. So,
any views on that, Barry?
I wouldn't have a strong view. You have to back 2 winners in the race. The horse has to win first, and then he has to win by the correct over or under. So it's not a market I generally tend to get involved in. I'd prefer the A versus B or without market where there's a big odds-on chance running.
Come on, Mattie, you'll have a view on him. Will he win by over 4.5? Shishkin?
Yeah, definitely.
Will he?
Yeah, I think over 6. I think
This has got Bruce going. He loves
Yeah,
distance.
I love
more than anyone I know.
distances, yeah.
It's a shame. On 2 points, it's a shame Ergamine's not running because I thought he'd make it an interesting race. And if that would have won, Tony Bloom would have bought us a striker.
Oh, yeah.
Because we
Says
need
the Brighton
one.
fan. He had to get one mention of
Yes!
Brighton in before the champion hurdle. Unbelievable seems. Yeah, so that's not going to happen. You're going to have old Glenn Murray back, wouldn't you?
We're having
Glenn
back.
Murray in a hurry, yeah.
He's ours, don't worry. We had him first.
Of course, he's terrible at Watford. That completes the set. Okay, so they are just about to go out. Yeah, Captain Guinness is obviously not proving too straightforward, isn't he? Heard a great line from Ross Briley last night. Said this horse would find trouble in an empty room. You know, every time he goes for it, I think he would have finished in front of Franco de Port, wouldn't he, at Leopardstown? But he's playing
he's
right
very
up,
much
isn't
on
he?
his toes, isn't he? Blimey,
Not what you want to
fancy
see
that.
pre-Arkle. No crowd, of course. That was another thing, wasn't it? Some of these horses, Matty. You know, what was the last horse you can think
God,
of
he's
when
kicking
you've been
out.
at Cheltenham or a big amphitheatre of fans and you've been on one that you really fancy, and by the time you get to the start, you're thinking, I'm done.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. It has its perks and it has its like. If you've got a really highly strung, the crowd, they got them shouting. The lads walking past the old Guinness tent and they're chucking
They
their
blow their
hats up.
brains, don't
Yeah,
they,
blow their
basically,
brains. They can just say they can just run their race before. I can't think of a horse that. I think there was one that had to get mounted late, and it just run its race. It can blow their brains, and a lot of these horses, even the good ones, they've only been to like Leopardstown, your Warwicks, and they've not seen crowds like this.
Well, they haven't seen any crowds.
That's
have they?
it.
No one's seen crowds.
They haven't
It's going to be odd, isn't it? Because you're going to have horses next when crowds come back. You're going to have horses that have had 10 runs in their life and never seen a crowd.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
And as you see it sometimes, even when horses come back after the race, they're coming down that chute. You'll often see it. Horses will duck round.
Yeah.
Because you're going into that amphitheatre, and you see them duck round. They try and go back up the chute.
Mattie, how sorry do you feel for the lads who ride winners this week? Because isn't that part and parcel of it, getting all the glory and, you know, everyone going nuts? That walk back must be so special.
I mean, I was lucky enough to do it once, and I wanted to. It happened so quick, and I thought I wanted to turn my horse right round and go back and do it again. Like, there's a few lads that have never experienced it once. I mean, I even mopped it up when I finished fourth in the Gold Cup.
What a surprise.
What a surprise. It's very unlike me. I'm very reserved, Bruce. Like, I don't like blowing my own trumpet and all that.
I thought taking the top off was a bit excessive.
Well, that's it, yeah. It was
Out comes the card.
I'm walking up the chute and all the mates, they're all standing in one place and they're all shouting, I've just finished fourth. I said, I'm sorry, I haven't got time to chat. I'm going into the enclosure in the Gold Cup. No, That's what I'd feel sorry for the lads that are going to have their first winner this week. To miss out on that, it's great.
Barry, I want to come to you if you don't mind, because you have managed to get across the sea, haven't you? Is it twice, I think, since all this debacle started? What would you normally be doing, Barry?
Today in Cheltenham. God, I'd be on the track from about 8 o'clock in the morning. I still wouldn't beat the Racing Post reporters to it, that's for sure, even at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'd have a box there with a load of our customers, and we'd be doing Cheltenham previews in the box. We'd be videoing Instagram stories. We'd be doing loads of stuff for social media. We'd be doing some PR work, and then all the anti-post updates to the racing media and to the TV guys. It's non-stop, and then trying to enjoy the racing as well, which is not always easy when the crowds are so big. But it's sorely missed this year, but fingers crossed we'll be all back there again before long. And it's a TV event this year, and they've really done us well since racing came back in June, haven't they? Like, the stations have been brilliant, the coverage has been brilliant, both terrestrial and on Racing Post Live, obviously as a second screen, the way we're building it, and everyone's adapted to the situation. I think that's brilliant.
Barry, I'd just like to say I'm available for next year's box if you want me.
Yeah, there's an opening came up there quite recently, so we'll keep you in mind.
I'll be the most. Who've you had before, Barry? Who've you had before?
Moving swiftly.
Lee Westwood.
Lee Westwood.
Oh,
What's he know about racing?
Yeah, there was some. Of course, he was second in the Players' Championship, Bruce, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah.
There was a great piece. I read Steve Palmer's piece just quickly, sort of going off the pitch, but he said Lee Westwood would be absolutely livid. If this was on, at Cheltenham time, there will be people watching from all over the world, won't there? Big punters, that people in the boxes.
And yet he's playing this week, Lee.
Is he again?
Yeah, I thought he would have jetted back, but no, he's gone up. He's gone back to the
He's
well.
always at Cheltenham, isn't he?
Yeah, normally.
He's got the sportsman's pass, hasn't he? He's allowed to go wherever he wants. They are milling round down at the start then. Okay, so it will something try and take on All Mankind? That's the big question.
No, I don't.
The way Captain Guinness is so buzzy,
That's what I mean.
Like, he has raced prominent in the past, so he might want his head, and Rachel might have no option but to go on with him. But
you wouldn't want to take him on, though, would you? Because you're
you
blowing your
couldn't
own
live
chances.
with All Mankind,
no,
could you?
You're blowing with your own chances if you try and take
Just
him
a bit of a drift on the fav now, Barry. 1.53 was 1.46 last I looked. I mean, it's not massive, but I'll tell you who is popular is All Mankind. He's come right in, 5.6 now. Having been done in the mid-sevens, yeah. So
you'll be happy to see that, because you are expecting straight silver podium, aren't you, for this?
I'm hoping that I'm hoping Shishkin might get by him, but none of the others. But we'll see. I mean, it's hard to say with these novices. I mean, I think Captain Guinness and Franco Deport at their best are both decent rivals to him. But I really like All Mankind. I just think he's kind of not really got the credibility or the status that he deserves. I think he's decent. He
didn't really turn up at the festival last year, did he, when he was one of the big three that we were billing it in the Triumph? So I guess he's got that
he
to
ran
bring
okay.
He ran okay. He was coming back at the end, wasn't he? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we are minutes away, not even that, from the 2021 RACHAEL. All about Shishkin. Or is it? Will there be drama abounding? Couple of murmurs about exactly how they're going down at Seven Barrows, Nicky Henderson's team. This is the big one.
Mattie, what do we not want? If you're Nico, what's the worst thing that can happen in the early stage of this race? Well, obviously fall, but I mean, beyond that.
But listen.
Get left.
Yeah, get left, and it won't happen. They go slow. That's not going to happen. Not with All Mankind. So, if you was Nico, you've got to be really confident. You've got to be.
Nearly off.
As Harry Skelton going out there, do you just feel like you have a target on your back?
Well, he is setting the target because they have gone off in the RACHAEL. Over to Bruce Millington for the call.
Okay, so they are about to jump the first, and All Mankind jumps in front. A little bit of a skew on landing from Captain Guinness, who's also prominent, and Shishkin is going toe-to-toe with them. On the inside, we've got the grey, which is, who's that? That's Eldorado Allen. And then giving them all a good look from the back is Franco Deport. Mattie, is All Mankind too buzzy, do you think, or is he all right?
It will be in a minute, because they're taking each other on here. This is going to just set it up for Shishkin for me.
Has Rachel Blackmore got any choice
She's got no choice. Now that is a keen horse, Dave.
Yeah. We've got a keen horse.
I'll give you that.
Unbelievable.
You can have that one, Barry.
Well, let's go to the market, Barry. We can see it on the screen, but he's just exactly where he should be, is he?
Yeah, 146 Shishkin. It's 7 All Mankind, 12 Captain Guinness, interestingly, and Franco de Port. I thought Captain Guinness would drift off the back of being so keen and going to take on All Mankind like that, but the favourite's still strong, 148.
This reminds you of St Calvados, and what was the other horse that took each other on in Footpad's race when Footpad? Oh, it was Petit Mouchoir, wasn't it? They were
really
hammer and
going
tongs.
at it, aren't
And
they?
if you remember, Footpad looked beaten. Now Shishkin's coming back up to them, Bruce.
Well, Rachel Blackmore's basically decided that she's not really interested in an early pace duel. She's given All Mankind the lead. But Shishkin is not going anywhere. He's all over these two like a rash. He really is. So we've got these three well clear of the grey Eldorado Allen, and then Franco de Port is right out the back, but still only 15, so they might have gone too fast
Do
in
you know
front.
what, Nico? He was good there. He was about 6 lengths off him.
Did he make him think about it?
Rachel Blackmore sort of took a pull, and he's got up at Guinness's. He's gone on his girths to make him go back up again. I think it's very shrewd.
Is he getting sucked into a pace battle here, though, Mattie?
What,
He
Shishkin?
doesn't need to.
I don't think so.
No, he's revved up Guinness again.
If you're on All Mankind, Barry, you're worrying now. What price has he gone to?
27 All
Wow.
Mankind. Oh, Shishkin's not
20,
great there. Shishkin's
20
not
on the
great.
exchange now, All Mankind, 6 Captain Guinness, and 5-2 on Shishkin.
He was a little bit slow there, Bruce, wasn't he? But again, can they keep up this gallop? Probably not. Let's go back to Bruce Millington for the call then.
All Mankind and Captain Guinness have been exchanging lead all through, and now All Mankind goes on again from Captain Guinness. The 2 lengths back to Shishkin. They're well clear of Eldorado Allen and Franco de Port. So the race is just about to unfold as they get to the top of the hill.
This as
and
well,
now
isn't he?
All Mankind is definitely in front. 2 clear. Captain Guinness still going well, and on the outside, Shishkin as they start
I think
going
All
down the
Mankind's
hill.
beat. He's niggling.
This is the tricky fence then. With 3 out, we're approaching. What is he on the machine then? Oh, I think he's...
5's on now, 6 is on.
Eldorado Allen creeping into it, sensing a place, I
He
think.
can nick a place, Eldorado.
Over they go.
3 out, and Shishkin moves
Mankind's
on.
beat.
All Mankind's
beat.
popped. Captain Guinness is
Oh,
struggling
here
now.
he goes.
Shishkin has sent him on nice. No, this could be an absolute
Jamie,
exhibition.
look at Virgin, mate.
But look, here comes, All
Yeah.
Mankind's coming
Yes.
back up on the
They're
outside.
barging for the second place.
They are creeping into it.
Not over
Meanwhile,
yet.
in 4th is Eldorado Allen.
Scouting that there.
Yeah, it's all over, Dave.
It is all over,
it?
isn't it?
It's all over.
So
all
All
over.
Mankind's
It's
got
all
second.
over.
All Mankind has
You've
got
heard
second.
it here live.
So they're
It's
turning
all
in
over.
2 to jump.
on
Shishkin
over you,
Go on,
Shishkin.
Shishkin.
in second. In 3rd, we've got Captain Guinness.
Eldorado
and
needs a
Eldorado
place.
Allen is running
Last
on.
fence.
Here we go.
Shishkin
1,
at the
2.
last.
Up.
Shishkin
There we go.
goes.
Double.
Mankind makes a
Over
move.
6
He gets
lengths.
over in second.
Over 6 lengths.
Eldorado
Nico has a
might
look
get
round,
second.
and the
Bruce
Arkle
is
is
hoping he
over.
keeps on. This is easy.
Who's getting second? Come on, All Mankind. Keep going,
Eldorado
Harry.
I
gets
think
it.
he holds on.
Eldorado's
Eldorado.
closing.
I think he
Eldorado's
hold on.
closing.
Eldorado
No,
gets it.
Come on, All Mankind. Keep
Eldorado
going.
gets it. Oh, there we go.
Anyway, it's
What more do you
Shishkin.
want? I've give you over 6 lengths and the second.
Yeah, well played, Mattie. Shishkin, that's
I'm
the
going.
Shishkin's won half the track. Eldorado Allen gets up for second, and that was really impressive,
I
wasn't
love it how you tried to keep protocol there, and
know,
he's just
yeah.
going, absolutely.
it? Richard Hoyles doesn't have to put up with it.
Simon Holt, Richard Oils, they don't get any of
I'm
this.
rubbish anyway. It's hard enough without
Scarlet
him jabbing.
Skyhill, we were calling him when he had a tan last year. Absolutely love it. Bruce Millington back in the studio. Shishkin back up and running. It's basically a repeat of the Lightning from Doncaster, wasn't it? Ridden for a place. I think we can say that. Colin Tizard had a couple of winners earlier in the week, but a terrible season for them, wasn't there? Let's hope they get that winner on the board this week. They'll be very happy there. He could have gone, of course, to the Grand Annual. He's picked up second. But this was one-way traffic. Was this the best horse running this week? Let us know. Was there any a moment's doubt? Barry Orr will give you a bit of help on that with the story of the race.
No, there certainly was not. He went off. He had a Betfair SP at the finish of 1.55. He was 148 and thereabouts as soon as the Captain Guinness and All Mankind went out and tried to make it and set it a blistering pace, set it up for the favourite again, much like the first race as well. And he's now a 6-4 favourite for next year's Champion Chase off the back of that on the sports book. And who's to say he won't take all the beating in that as well? A spectacular performance, it has to be said. You question the form again. We got our 50 quid back in the A versus B market. I do believe that Captain Guinness finished in front of All Mankind. So
Just to go out. That was an incredible duel, that wasn't it?
It was.
We're hanging on.
We're
That's a
hanging on.
wacky
Well
race,
done,
is
Barry.
that one?
Now listen, I was just about to say that, Bruce. Look, this is a lot of people will be going, why are they making the drama on this? It was 4-9 on. It was a small field, but the tactical battle in that race was fascinating because he didn't get the freebie we expected, and that barging match.
I've never seen a lead change hands so much. They were like, it was very strange, wasn't it?
A very good ride by Nico. I know he's on the easy, but tactically you're right. He did make them. There's nothing worse when you back a horse. I think you'll agree with me on this out there, and you've got something going in front, a little bit like For Pleasure in the first, and you think just keep tabs on it if you're on the best horse, and he didn't do that. Tactically, he was quite aware there.
To me, when Rachel went up to All Mankind, they got keen, they got racing. And then going down the back there, she sort of got him back. She's laid off Harry a little bit. And at that stage, Nico was probably 5-6 lengths off him. And I think he's done the right thing, whether it was planned or not. He's got Shishkin back up there to get close to him.
Yeah.
Revved Guinness back up again. And then he's gone to join All Mankind again. And they've got racing again. Listen, you can say, yes, he was on the best horse in the race, but he's done all the right things at the right time.
He's a 7-year-old. He'll be 8 next year. Chacapot Suave. So let's say he goes and wins on Wednesday. He'll be 10-year-old.
You can't argue with that 6-4.
Not really.
No.
It's just one of those, isn't it? Where you're like, what if he doesn't make it? Do you know what I mean? But I think that they can't really go much bigger than that. It could be. Here's what he's done on the figures. This is what made him brilliant at Kempton when he won the Wayward Lad. Simon Sigg, who won that for Henderson, 167. Sprinter Sacra, who won that for him. Altior, 167. So the handicapper thought on Boxing Day, or the 27th, I should say, at Kempton, this is a horse that's already 3 lengths better than them, if you believe figures are strict. So what do you think? What would Energamine done in that race?
And how good was he jumping today? That quicker pace.
It was just a one, Bruce, wasn't
There
it?
was just
on the
1 3 out. It was nothing.
It wasn't nothing, Bruce. It was John Travolta-like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're
He
right.
was absolutely class.
I've got a jockey question for you, Matty. Did they ride Eldorado Allen for the place money to get a decent bit of pay?
100%, and it's paid off.
Okay, I've got one more
I'd say
question.
he couldn't have got any closer to them.
He couldn't have got. No, you're right, but then he's rode him accordingly, Barry, innit he?
But let me ask you this:
Yeah.
if you're a punter who's backed that horse to win the race,
Well,
and are you sitting here thinking, we're all saying, "Oh, well done, you've ridden for a bit of place." Yeah,
you're no sort of punter if you back that to
well,
win.
but some people do.
No, you're no sort of punter
Some
in my
people
book.
do.
I once enraged a trainer by saying that something had been ridden for a place in a Group 1. I won't say who it was. We now get on rather well, which is a good thing. But he was absolutely up in arms about it. You know me, I'm not really on Twitter. And the next morning, I was getting calls from people going, "Oh, you must be worried."
I remember
about
you
this
told me
morning."
who it was. I can't think. I'm going to announce it.
If you remember, yeah,
It was David Manuzia, yeah. It was Thundering Blue.
let's face it. If it's a trainer getting the ump with a journalist, it doesn't rule any of them out, does it?
Exactly, that's right, quite right. Or riders for that matter. Me and David since, we very quickly buried that. But my point was, I thought he'd been ridden for a place. They don't like it when you say that, because we're there to win, and all that sort of stuff. But it did look like, I think Harry Cobden, whatever the connections were wanting, I think Harry Cobden sensed after a couple of fences, I look silly if I'd moved this horse up. And I think he's ridden a very good race.
And that's what it's going back to, like the Supreme, not knocking the young lad who rode Grumpy Charlie. Down the back, he's outpaced. Now, so is Eldorado Allen. Harry Cobden's just sat there, let him jump. These have gone hard up in front. I'm going to chance my arm, and I might be able to finish. Exactly what they've done.
Yeah.
And that's experience.
And he's picked up 27 grand for the
there
winning
you go.
owner, for the owner, so that's
They're
not
gonna be
bad at all.
absolutely
Yeah.
A lot of pressure off Nicky Henderson now. The
pressure,
right one has
absolutely.
gone in.
Absolutely.
Altior, of course, coughing. So I don't know. But I've got a couple of ins at Henderson Yard, as I mentioned every now and then. And this was one of the 3 winners they thought they might have on the week. Champagne Platinum was the other one that got mentioned. And Mr. Fisher, very keen about him in the Ryanair on Thursday. What a cracking Ryanair that looks. I've just had a message from Graham Rodway as well, who joins us on the show tomorrow. And you'll like this, Bruce. I don't know what the distance quotes were.
I've had someone else ask me that as well.
He said, but the buyers are looking good.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? 24 lengths there. That was about 16, I would have thought. And basically, that could have been a distance. I mean,
He hasn't moved on
he's
it.
lit a cigar on the run,
Yeah.
hasn't he? He's absolutely
Photographer moment, as you like to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I
Matty,
practice.
when you're well clear, and I'm going to ask you this because Paige Fuller rode one at Plumpton yesterday, and she can't have known she was in front because she was rowing away and using the stick. Do you always know, or are there some courses where it's easier to tell in front? I know it's a while since you've been in front of a horse, but
I was going to say, how do I know? How do I No.
That's the first Crystal Palace Brighton swipe we've had on the show.
Couldn't resist it. No, but seriously, I mean, are you always aware that you're miles clear, or can you get a little bit?
You can, because normally if you're going over a hurdle or a fence, if the others are close, you can hear the clatter of the fence going through the top of it. So yeah, you can go through with it. But sometimes it's the most horriblest place to be. If you're coming down to the last, there's 2 or 3 of you there. You're going hell for leather, and you're not thinking. You're just going down there. Strides will come for you. Bang bang. I'm going to ask him up on that one. This one. That. But then sometimes you're in front. Prime example. Utoxeter, Coney Cree. I am a distance clear. You see me go over the last 2. I'm looking for strides. They're not there. I've hit them. You're trying to. You're going, please let me see one. Please let me see one. And you never do.
Yeah. Have you had any very famous Rykins at the track?
I did, but it was very unjustified.
Well, that's not what I actually asked you.
It's very unjustified. I was in Cheltenham, the January meeting. Jumped the last. I've got Mr. Fisher, the new one, 15 lengths clear of me.
This is recently.
A few years ago. I'm done for the 3rd. It's 15 lengths back to the 4th. I've gone in and popped it.
Like you mean at Fisher's Cross?
At Fisher's Cross, yeah.
Oh.
I've got in. I've popped the last. Yeah, Mr. Fisher.
Hang on, Matty.
Yeah.
He's in a time capsule.
He's a 1-year-old.
Well done, Bruce.
At Fisher's Cross, yeah. Well done, Bruce. Yeah.
It's a foul.
Yeah. Good jump, though.
I always knew.
It was precocious.
Brilliant.
At Fisher's Cross, I've got 3rd in the bag. Thought, right, go in, pop it, job done. Sarah Bradstock comes up to me and says, What are you doing? I said, sorry? What are you doing? She said, well, you could have asked him up at the last. I went, what? I won't tell you what I exactly said. I said, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. What? I would have got beat 14 lengths instead of 15. Or I've asked him up at the last, and then I'm on my backside at the back end of it. I'm like, it's just...
But you never won by too far.
No.
No, you never had one of those. It was always a short head.
Always a short head, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you remember all the great horses that Mattie rode, you'll know that's a load of
Yeah, it
gobbles.
won't take long.
A bit of housekeeping. 2.46 above standard on the chase course. We are looking at good to soft ground at worst. Yeah,
proper good to soft.
Proper good to soft. I mean, we're talking about Grade 1 racing here, and we should be able to gauge that. Always on the clock, you gauge it. So I don't know. Distances. Did you buy the distances?
No, I didn't. I haven't touched the distances today.
That would be the Sod's Law bet for you then.
Mattie's the distance expert now.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
even money.
yeah.
Over 6
I'm
laps.
thinking of asking Betfair for a job.
Yeah. Just before we go to Barry and we move on to the Ultima, I've got a quote coming through from Alex Hales on For Pleasure. 3rd. I can't believe it. We've started running him in a handicap off 107. That's unbelievable, isn't it? And we finished 3rd in the Supreme. I'm chuffed. He jumped brilliant. The result is absolutely brilliant for Alex Hales. I'm really pleased with him. He goes next to Aintree, all being well, for the 2-mile Grade 1. And isn't it pleasure to be talking about Aintree again? Lovely.
It is, but it's also a pleasure to for a yard like that to be able to say we trained a 3rd in a Supreme.
Massive.
That's brilliant.
And probably going to a track that will suit him better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flat track.
Yeah. Although, of course, he did win the Supreme Trial, of course, albeit in November. Does that give 3rd time lucky a boost? That's the great thing about the Cheltenham Festival. Once you start going, you see all these form lines that appear, you know what I mean? It's like cracking the Enigma code all of a sudden. It's easy, isn't it, when you see it coming out?
And Dave,
form
the Fab's 2 from 2 now. It's exciting,
and
isn't it?
Barry,
The are rolling up.
Barry, we've got a short one in the Ultima. Let's get the markets up on the screen if we can. The result of the Arkle, if you've just come and joined us, there you are. Where have you been? Shishkin justified 4-9. Eldorado, Alan, his old ally, back in 2nd. And Captain Guinness in 3rd. All Mankind, too many errors, got taken on, finishes 4th. Brilliant. 2 races down. It's a long week, Barry, isn't it? Are you still with us?
Races down and multi on the move, 2 winning favourites, and it looks like it's going to roll up onto Honeysuckle, who could potentially go off odds on. She's 2.22 on the exchange at the moment. I'd say that's under pressure, and I'd say it's under pressure on the sports books as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was to go odds on with running up money. But between that race But before that race, we've the Ultima. Happy Go Lucky short price, 4.7 for the Ultima. I think it's a ridiculous price. 7.4 I Right. Milan Native, 7.6. 9 Al Nadam, good money for that this morning from 14. 1 for the team, 11.5. Disorderly with Robbie Power, 13.5. A whole host of horses in there with chances. That's why I think it's worth taking on the favourite. 1 and 5 Runner Novice back in December off 142, 144, 147. Rated now, put him away to protect his handicap mark, but there's a load of plot jobs in here, none least Milan Native is in here, won to Kim Muir last year off 141, is rated 147 in the UK now. I think he'll improve considerably for a visit to Prestbury Park. OK Corral, not without a chance. And Admiral's Secret is an interesting one, stepping up in trip. So a whole host of horses could beat the favourite here. So straightforward here, Bruce. We're going to take 50 quid at a backer stake. I'm happy to be a price taker here at 4.8 as well, because I think as the race progresses, this horse is going to drift out. So 50 quid at 4.8 of the backer stake. And
sorry, we're laying here, are we, Barry?
We're a layer of it, Jeff. Did you not hear my whole monologue there about what I was?
Yeah, I did, but then you started saying about the backer stake, and you got all technical on me. And okay, anyway,
yeah,
but.
So
laying a 4.8 shot, that's not for everyone, is it? Because you're basically backing a fours on shot.
You're backing the rest of the field at 7-2
yeah.
on, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, that's been
I'm happy
done.
enough to do that.
Okay, Barry.
Bruce Millington, formerly one of Barry Orr's favourite traders.
I think
he still is.
I'm still his
Keeping it
Anthea
nice.
Redfern. I'm still his glamorous assistant, mate. Don't worry about that.
Superb. Okay, listen, the Ultima. It's tricky, isn't it? But there has been one or since, well, another one came out, didn't it? Lieutenant Rocco. A couple of others have gone. Happy Go Lucky. We'll get to him. We'll see if any of the panellists like it. But I want to start with Mattie Batchelor because you might have just found one.
I think I have, yeah. The horse of Brian Ellison's.
Can you pronounce it?
No. That's why I'm going back to you.
Nietzsche.
Your pronunciation earlier, I had to look at the card. It was that bad.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't get away with saying it, what I said. Nietzsche.
Yeah, Nietzsche.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it means, actually.
It's...
What?
I can't remember what it
Nietzsche
means.
is one of the most famous...
This is where
Here we go.
the ex-editor comes out.
He's a philosopher, isn't he,
Is he?
Nietzsche? Yeah, of course he is,
all right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, of course he is.
You've not heard of
Momentary
Nietzsche?
bailiff.
Can you believe that, Barry?
Yeah, of course he is.
Barry, let's
Nietzsche?
go. You must have heard of Nietzsche.
Well, he's not going to say no,
German
is he?
Philosopher.
Exactly. Exactly, yes. Up
He's
there
not
with
gonna say no.
Dostoevsky and all that.
He was
lot.
just Googling going, that's
Yeah,
him.
not
yes.
at all. Don't worry about that.
All right, okay, fair enough. So why Nietzsche? Greatwood Hurdle winner.
Greatwood Hurdle winner. He's run over 2 mile, 2.5 mile. Looks like he will stay further. So the Ultima will suit him. He has horses behind like Sky Pirate that have gone up to 152. This horse is still on 132, I think. I think he's very well in. Brian Ellison would not come here for a day out. And it's got 10-2, Jonathan Burke on it. I think it's got a massive chance at a massive price. I also I'd love to see R Right win. I think if there's ever a horse that deserves to have his day, second in the Ladbroke, third behind Surname. Unlucky at Donny. Callum dropped his stick, maybe just hindered him a little bit. But for Harriet Graham, I think she deserves her down the sun. But yeah, I think the big price is the philosopher fella.
What's it called again, sorry?
Nietzsche. Hey, get in there!
That's what he used to do. He used to line you up and make sure you'd actually listen to him. Okay, great stuff. Look, Mattie's found one. He got a chance there, a coherent argument, absolutely. And Brian Ellison, if there's a man with a plan, it's him, and he has one at the track. Bruce Millington.
I've actually had a small bet on Nietzsche for the same reason. And I mean, I know it's a huge leap, 2-3 to 3-1.
But he needs it, Bruce. Trust me.
And the ground doesn't look too bad, does it? And I sometimes think people get they pigeonhole horses on distances, and I think they're a little bit more versatile than people give them credit for. I've actually gone for Al Nadam for Dan Skelton here. I just think 2 good wins at Sandown show. He's durable, gets up the hill. I thought the defeat in between at Kempton was okay because I think the winner's a really good horse. So it's a very hard race. It's a really, really hard race. I agree with Barry, the Fav's way too skinny. I really can't. I mean, it might well win. All the judges are on Discordantly, who runs in those lovely multicoloured silks for Jessica Harrington. I've gone Al Nadam with very little confidence. Dave, I'm going to ask you this, because you know you're the form student here. That's what you do when you're not presenting this. Tell me this. Let me take this back to basics. When you come to a race like this, Tell me through the first stages you go in trying to find the winner. What is your process?
Well, the weight, first and foremost. I look for a ratings band. This is where Kevin Morley's column every day does the 10-year trends. He puts it in a nice table for you. I try to look for that. I'm lucky enough that Kevin sends it to me on a Tuesday. And I like to tick them off. And
you mean, so you look at the last 10 years and say, well horses between 10, 6 and 11 have a good record?
Yeah, and when you look into it, a bit more forensically, you can see that the very good type of horses can butt trends. Now, some races you get where you get 6 out of 10, for example, you have to have done this. That doesn't really help you. There are some strong races where you have loads of 10 out of 10s. Most of the Cheltenham handicaps are them. To pour a little bit of cold water on the two that you mentioned, Discordantly and Nietzsche, seemingly the 3 mile is a big tick here. You don't really want to be having a first run. However, with Al Nadam, he has looked like he's been waiting for this trip. So it could well be that. Is the ground a little quick for him? When he disappointed at Kempton, it was all a bit quick for him? I'm not sure. I look at ages, all that sort of stuff, and then, of course, you start going through the form. Past Cheltenham form, obviously, is a massive tick, isn't it? And if you look at Happy Go Lucky, when he ran in the Martin Pike race last year, he's flying up that hill.
Yeah, fourth last year, wasn't he?
He was fourth in it last year. Yeah, Matty, that's right. And Kim Bailey is quite obviously just wanted to get 3 runs. He is just the most obvious runner there, but it is a price thing. And when Barry says you plots all over the place, horses that have been waiting for this day all along, I do not want to be going near that price. I've taken a bit of a flyer on a horse called The Wolf. That's my selection for Ollie Murphy and Adrian Heskin, who has got some decent form. He actually ran in the Albert Bartlett last year, and he caught my eye. I remember it that day, thinking, what are the McNeil colours there? He was absolutely flying, having hit a sort of flat spot. I think they'll ride him slightly differently. I think since he's won, I think he ran against Chantry House, didn't he?
Weatherby, yeah.
It's fair to say that wasn't the day. I think that's possibly the way to say it. And if they come back, which is the worry, I think, in this race, because we've seen all season, haven't we, these front-running chasers, they don't come back in these staying races. He will be ridden gold, but he's a 7-year-old. He's on the up, and he's on a nice rating band for me, a 137. I wanted to take a price. There was a lot of money for him as well earlier in the week. So
36 on Betfair.
So again, it could be much bigger, but it's one of those. He will need a savvy ride. So I wouldn't want to go much under 20-1 with him, but I can see him running well. Okay, we've got some more socials joining the screen. Where's the social corner? Here we go. Darren Weldon. Welcome along, Darren. Vintage Clouds. Each way. Headgear is on. Something tells me, Darren, this horse has got form with this race.
He's been placed twice at the festival,
He's
hasn't
third and second in 2018, 2019. He's sort of a forgotten horse, 11-year-old now, isn't he? For Sue Smith and Ryan Mania.
Ryan Mania, since he's come back, after winning the national.
We've given him a couple of good mentions on this show, haven't we?
And it's good to see him riding back for Sue and Harvey again.
And obviously that's in the Trev colours, isn't it?
It is.
Now, obviously Trev will want to win this, but if he doesn't, I'm sure he'd love to see I Right win, because that was second to Cloth Cap in the Ladbroke. And Cloth Cap at the moment, every judge under the sun is telling me that if he stands up, he wins the national half the track off his little featherweight. So,
well, to be honest, I was saying to a few people at the weekend, I've never been so sure as anything. I don't think I've ever seen as a national winner, and I'm not bad at picking the winner of that race as races go. I've got a lot worse winners over the years. Finding he just wins for me if he gets round. I think this could just be another Tiger roll in the making. This I mean it. You're right, Bruce. That would be great to see that form. He does deserve it. Sky Bet Chase, wasn't it, Mattie, where he just lost his stick after the.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Listen, when you drop your stick, you're always going to say it might be the difference of winning and losing. But he's such a genuine horse. It might not have done anyway. But yeah, I'd love to. She's so passionate, that Harriet Graham. You see her on the telly, they interview her, and people like that, you just wish to see them.
She had to miss the Ladbrokes Trophy, didn't she? Because did she run over herself or something? It was a crazy story, wasn't it? Like the horse box went back on her or something like that, didn't it? Well, she had to miss. Yeah, she did. It was a big story. Yeah. She has got some fantastic horses this year. This would be the stable star. Ben Hodgson, 17, says, one for the team. Do you know what? I'm really glad, Ben, that you've put that up. One for the team. I've put a line through him. I'm not sure Cheltenham will be for him. At the start of the season, when he was running at Newbury and when he ran in the Corto Star behind Chamblou, I thought to myself, this is either 4 miler or this is handicap. but it's just since he's shown his hand. Something at Donny, he was at it a long way out.
It completed a nice few days for Tom Skoo. Became a dad again the other day, didn't he?
Yes,
Little baby
great
Ava.
picture that was.
Yes.
Lovely.
Lovely picture. Is Tom Skoo as nice in the weighing room as he seems? He's always seemed such a gentleman.
Absolute legend. He's the scruffiest person to sit next to. He's got his stuff everywhere, and he's forever asking. He done it yesterday, and he's been the same for years. His clothes all over the place, and he goes, "Gray, where's my?" Oh, that's all right. I found it, and that's it. But he hasn't. He is the most loveliest. The whole family are. Like,
Yeah.
I've rode out for his brother. Obviously, when Peter School was about. I've known Pete. Yeah, they're just a great family, and he's getting married again. I said, "You must be mad. It's the second time round. You ain't learned from the first time, have you?"
Well, no comment. He's got the ride-on cloth cap as well, hasn't he? That's going to be.
Yeah,
his
he got
ride,
the call a few weeks back, and
which is only right, I think. I mean, John Joe would be a great story, wouldn't it, for father and son? But I think Tom Skoo is as part of making that horse as connections are. And yeah, there was some rumour at the start of the season where he might be retiring. Who's
Skoo?
Near future, yeah. Is that just complete
he's only
rubbish?
38.
I mean,
He could go till he's 44.
Mattie, of course, still riding. You've had a couple of rides this week, haven't you? You were talking about this when you came into the office.
Yesterday, weren't you? I saw your name on the race card. I thought I picked up a paper
saw
from
it
a few
twice.
years ago.
Okay, before Matty goes into that, I'm delighted to say that we can go to Cheltenham. James Stevens, our news hound on the track. James, are you there?
How are we all doing?
There he is. Got you. Happy days. Weird, obviously, down there, James, but we've been lit up. The first two favs have gone in. What on earth was Willie Mullins saying after Appreciate It won by? Was it a record distance?
Not quite sure how big the distance was, but blimey, it was a phenomenal performance, and seeing it in the flesh was even better. The Irish in the best mate were completely cheering it on. It was there was some sort of atmosphere at least.
Happy days.
Willie Mullins was saying after the race, it's almost like a Faheen position, where do they go over fences or do they go for a champion hurdle bid? I think they're going to favour the fences, but they've certainly got a fun decision to make.
I guess a lot will depend on 305, James, won't it, and what happens in a couple of races' time. And then tell us about Shishkin. Pressure off Nicky Henderson now.
Yeah, he had a big smile on his face under that mask, I think. He was very, very happy with that performance.
Where's he going next?
We're not quite sure. Nick Henderson wouldn't pin down a decision, but I think Aintree is going to be his next target if there's one.
Okay, and all of us 6-4. The sportsbook have dangled about next season's champion Chase, James.
Yes, well, there was a really interesting line from Nick Henderson where he said, "We're very lucky to have Sprinter Sacra, Altior, and Shishkin, and at this stage they're each as good as each other. So, what could happen with Shishkin next? Only time will tell."
James, what is everyone saying about the ground? Because it looks beautiful on telly. I mean, they called it slow, but the Times are suggesting a little bit quicker than that. What's the word from the jockeys?
Yeah, it's hard to get to the jockeys, Bruce, because of sort of the angles and such. But they're certainly saying it's on the good side, really, rather than the soft side. It looks lovely here. It looks really lovely here.
Yeah.
All right, making us jealous.
Rub it in, James. Let's hope you get your factor 50 on. let's hope he's left it in the car.
I'm intrigued to hear about the Irish in the best mate. What do you mean? Has there been some sort of
absolutely. You can even hear the dodgy folk music going on. They're doing their best.
All the
James.
stable lads and lasses. That's where they're based, over that side of the track.
Thank you, James Stevens. Fantastic. We'll be back with you, hopefully, James, before the end of the day. Thank you so much. That was great, wasn't it? To have word at the track there. You could hear the tannoy
nearest
going
we're
on.
going to get to it this year, isn't it?
It really, really is. So, absolutely fantastic. So, putting him in the same breath, of course, as Sprinter Sacca and Altior, etc. It's just all ahead of him, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No question. I mean, he did what we hoped he would do. We've got a superstar, and there's racing fans. You can't ask for any more than that.
Yeah, and there might be a couple still to come out. Of course, we've got Envoy Allen and Monkfish still to come. Fantastic stuff. Who are you on in the Ultima? Keep them coming in. Are you enjoying the show? Like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook Live as well, welcome along to the party. If you've just joined us, where have you been? Absolute scenes in here. It's going to be all the way till Friday. We're moving back for the Midlands National to dissect all of the form from the festival and look ahead to that on Saturday as well. Seems a long way off that. Really looking forward to this. You're back tomorrow?
Yes, looking forward to that.
Happy days. Got G-Rod in as well.
He's slightly quieter than Mattie, isn't he? So.
But none less controversial. Yeah, absolutely. Slightly quieter than Mattie. It's the first time you worked together, of course, you two, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Probably the
I knew
last.
this was going to be a good show. But the highlight so far for me is when you were trying to keep the order in the race and were coming down, and Mattie was like, no point. Absolutely let him go. You wait to see when you see him with another jockey in here. But we're having fun. Let's hope you two are as well. The favourite, Happy Go Lucky, looks an absolute picture in the sunshine down there at Prestbury Park. He's just gone onto the track as well. Barry, we are around what? We're around about what? 4 minutes away, 5 minutes away, I guess. What price is he now? Is he going to go 4-1 this?
He's 4.9, so he's 4-1 on the exchange. Yeah, 7.4, 13-2. I right. Milan native just drifting out a little to 8-4. Aladam 9, 10-5-1 for the team. Some money knocking around for the Scordonley, who's 13. It's all about the favourite at the head of the market. Interestingly, the sportsbook's paying 5 places each way punters here. Just to ask Mattie, it looks like it's drying out all the time, and the times suggest that it's quick and not quick ground, but that it's not as soft as some people had anticipated. Would they consider watering tonight, or will they bother?
I don't know. I don't think that's why they sort of water so early. I think because of all of the logistics of it. They might water the new course ready for Thursday and Friday, but think because of all the stuff getting out, I don't think they'll have time to do the old course now. So that's why they sort of normally try to make it on the soft side on the first day, because it's such a vast area to. They might water the new course, maybe. Yeah,
Wednesday is to when the taps. There have been some years where you get used to the festival and the half-time whistle's blowing. They come out on the Thursday and the mud's flying all over the place. So watch this space, I would say. Circling around there, let's get some social reactions. That excellent James Stephen call that we had. It was James Young says 20 length Supreme winner, not interested in Champ Hurdle. Unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. Do you think I
think they're interested. They've just got a dilemma to make, and you know what Willie's going to be like. He's not going to make the decision 15 minutes after the race, is he?
The Forheen comparison was good though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do we go that? And of course Forheen was a little bit of a statesman.
Do you know
as well.
what though? I think watching him back, the way he jumped his hurdles, to me,
beautiful.
He's crying out for fences though.
Yeah.
I just think,
do you think so?
Yeah. Yeah, he was making a lovely shape over him. He's got a nice size about him.
He came for the Irish Point field, didn't he?
I think,
How many champion hurdles do that? But you can watch back those videos, those Irish Points. Envoy Allen beat him out of sight. What are we going to see on Thursday? Unbelievable scenes. So, before the Ultimate, this is going to be the trickiest call, by the way. You've had a couple of leisurely calls so far, haven't you?
You
do you want me to do it, Bruce? You okay? Yeah,
no,
okay,
you can
good.
do this one if you want. Go on,
no, you're right.
Go on, honestly, mate.
No,
please do.
honestly, mate, I'm fine.
The funny thing,
usually here.
Unusually, yeah. We haven't had Barry Orkle one ever. That would be an absolute scene.
Oh, do you fancy one, Barry?
Yeah, I'll do a hard one. I'll leave this one to you, Bruce.
Yeah, okay, mate.
Unusually, there's a horse being ponied down to the start here, and he's
Admiral
walking
Secret,
around. I don't know what. Which is it?
Admiral Secret. He went
Victor
down there
Dartnell.
without his irons and that. Yeah.
He's been ponied down. He has an outrider with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jim
It's unusual
Bolger
for a national hunt race to see it.
Yeah, the Jim Bolger Brian Meehan route, isn't it? That getting him down to the start. What's the crack about that? For people that have absolutely no idea, like me.
Some horses, he probably does it at home. He probably has just a chaperone.
Just to calm him.
Just to calm him down.
You hear stories, don't you, of horses on the way to the track. They've got goats in the,
I hope the fellow who's on the chaperone, I hope he can hold it because he might be taken off with him.
Yeah, he could jump the first.
He's lining up with him.
Yeah. Well, Admiral Secret, Barry, you think it might have?
He's just one the best turned out.
It's a step up and trip for him. He's never been beyond 2.5 miles, but he's had some decent form around 2 miles and 2.5 miles. And Victor Dartnell doesn't do many stupid things. He must think he's going to stay the trip, and you're rewarded with a decent enough price as well. He's a 20-1 chance.
I would love it if Victor Dartnell had a winner at the Cheltenham Festival. It would be a great thing personally for me to see. Alan Johns gets a good one then on Admiral Secret. Yeah, look at his form figures. Not done a great deal wrong, has he? So it was all about happy-go-lucky in the run-up to the race. A couple of the big fish have gone elsewhere, haven't made the race.
Massive gamble on Alnadam, 6.8 now, clear second favourite.
The confidence from the Skelton team. And it's really coming out here, despite the disappointment of All Mankind. They will be disappointed with that as well. They really will be.
Almost off, guys.
Almost off then in the Ultimate, the first handicap of the week.
Is this a first flow sort of ride? Is it David Bass out in front, gun him at every fence?
Well,
That's the only way he knows how to ride, old Bassy.
He's good, isn't he? He's
Oh,
a
brilliant.
jockey,
Fearless.
isn't he?
First flow, I keep saying it on this, the Saturday ride of the season for me, first flow in the Clarence House, where he took Politolog out of his comfort zone. That will be in the Champion Chase to Peril and the Renewing Horns, Locking Horns, I should say again, tomorrow. So, lining up the front, Bruce, I think you're going to be calling us, it's Soupy Soups, I can see up there. They are off and away.
Yeah, the grey Vintage Clouds is up there early on. Also in the blue and white on the near side is Cepage and Pim as well, as they go towards the first. Couple of laps to go. Vintage Clouds just about touches down in front, but no, it's Pim now. They all seem pretty neat over the first. Where's the Fav? Now the Fav's been settled on the inside in the noseband, up in the van in the top 4. Any market moves after they've jumped 2 and head out onto the first of 2 laps, Barry?
No. Well, the favourite out to 5.6, 11 to 2 from 4 to 1 off the back and not getting to the front, just jostling a little bit for position. Milan native 8, 6.4 Al Nadam, but yeah, they've only jumped 3, haven't they?
Any pullers, Matty?
Nah, listen, they're all 3 mile chasers, 2.5 mile chasers. They look all sort of relaxed. No one's having any trouble. Just how you want them, really.
If you were riding in this, Matty, where would you want to be at this point?
Wide, out the back, so I can see all the fences.
You must have had a couple of spins in
and
this.
20 years ago, probably Andy down the inner.
Or on the chaperone.
On the chaperone, yeah, the one that's just chaperoned the way.
Yeah. So as they go, jump the first down the back, and Pim and Vintage Clouds and Cepage are all up there, as is one for the team. Favourites just come back in midfield now, and it's still Pim.
Do you know what?
It's Al Nadam. Thank you, Barry.
He has had a look at a couple of his fences, the favourite. I've been watching him. He is a novice, don't forget.
Al Nadam's favourite now, 5.3. 5.9 is Happy Go Lucky as Pim balloons the third, but retains its lead, not the third, the fourth. The grey is still up there, Vintage Clouds. Al Nadam's very handy. Cepage is handy. Soupy Soups is up there. Also up there, one for the team. The white colours are, I think that's Discordant. No, I Right is quite handy. Discordant is handy. Out the back, we've got the JP McManus of OK Corral. Who else is out the back
Wolf.
there?
Milan native.
A Milan native. So Al Nadam, then, as they head up the hill, is the market leader. They're all jumping really, really nice. They haven't seen a single mistake anywhere. Matty, any thoughts?
No, I totally agree. As I say, they're handicappers now. They shouldn't be really making any mistakes. No, listen, they're all keeping their powder dry. They've got another circuit to go. Next time down the back, you'll be sort of lads trying to get a good position. But yeah, at the minute, they're just sort of hunting round and taking their time.
We've seen all these long-distance handicap chases dominated by front runners. I think that this is the one where you can't, okay, Pim's in front, but nothing really getting away, is it? They're fairly tightly grouped at this stage.
It's all very
Nietzsche's running away with
Nietzsche's
Johnny Burke.
Nietzsche's pulling, isn't he? Yeah.
For his head a little bit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be keen, would he, Matt?
That's no good, is it? If
the
you're
philosopher's keen.
Yeah, that's no good if you've got stamina issues to answer.
I blame the jockey, bad hands.
Yeah.
Who's on him? Jonathan Burke. You could say that. I'm just looking out the back, actually, for a couple. OK Corral, I know, he hasn't been seen for a long time. First one of the season for the 11-year-old. But you remember when he won the Sky Bet it was last season, wasn't he? Was it Derek O'Connor?
Derek O'Connor flew
amazing
over,
ride. He just needs kidding. Him and the Wolf, they'll be hoping that they go a little bit harder so they come back to them. But they're passing this down for the second time, Bruce Millington.
Yeah, there's another jump and then one lap to go. And really, you couldn't rule anything out here. I mean, nothing much has really happened. They've all just jumped steadily. They've all held their position. No hard luck stories. They're going a sensible pace. There's really not a lot to say. I Right just making up a little bit of ground on the inside. That one has scraped the paint all the way through. So we've still got, it's just the beautiful grey head of Vintage Clouds pokes in front now from Al Nadam. Pim on the inside. I Right and Cepage and one for the team and Happy Go Lucky. Those are the front 6.
Made a mistake.
And who did?
Admiral Secret was
Secret, was it?
Yeah.
They're just stepping on the gas, I'd say, a little bit.
Yeah, I
the
agree
back
with
markers are just getting a little bit of a shake on now.
Al Nadam just about
Happy
the
Go Lucky
bossing
again.
favourite.
He's made a
from
couple
Happy
of
Go-
bloomers, Bruce. Happy Go Lucky.
Yeah, he was slow there, wasn't he?
He
He
is
was definitely
novice.
slow there. He's 8.6 now. Another one in yellow on the outside, making up a bit of ground, is Admiral Secret, who looks to be going quite nicely. The grey Vintage Clouds takes that in front.
He
Pim
revved into
holding
that.
his position on the inside. Al Nadam is going really well. He's jumped absolutely beautifully. He's sent Happy Go Lucky back up in 4th place. I Right is in pole position, isn't he? Matty on the inside there?
Yeah, he's jumping well.
Who's that just taking a back step? I think that might be one for the team.
One for the team.
I like the way that Discordantly's going, Barry. What price would he be on the exchange at the moment? All our best judges went for that.
7.8 coming right in.
I'll tell you what,
7.8
he
now,
is.
but Al Nadam, your favourite at 4.
He's giving Puppy Power, Robbie Puppy Power, the really, really good spin. That would be where my call would be going at the minute. I'd love it if I was on Discordantly.
Out the back, Delir Destraval is going to be pulled up. I don't think OK Corral's going to be winning.
Pulled up.
Al Nadam makes a mess of that one, but somehow emerges in front. Didn't do Vintage Clouds any favours. On the outside, going really nicely now is that's the favourite, isn't it? Going well.
One for the team looks cooked.
Yeah, I Right
That
is
is a wolf.
absolutely banging there.
Oh,
So
it'd
the
be great to
market
see him win.
leaders are all
Yeah.
in good shape here. Discordantly, as you say, creeping ever closer on the inside. As they
Reverse
free wheel
creeping
down the hill.
into it.
Vintage Clouds is still going really well. Just about holds the lead from Al Nadam, who's poised to challenge. Happy Go Lucky in 3rd. I Right absolutely
Oh,
motionless,
it'd be great to
making
see.
up ground on the outside. We've got
Go Lucky,
Admiral's
your
Secret.
favourite.
Happy Go Lucky is favourite now, and you can see why.
Vintage
But I
Clouds
Right
with a
going up on the
glider.
inside really well. Happy Go Lucky. Vintage Clouds is still in
Yes, he
front.
is.
Al Nadam being shaken up to try and keep tabs. Now I Right just comes off the bridle. Happy Go Lucky is right there on the outside. It looks like it might be between these 4. Discordantly hasn't got into it. There's clear water between the front 4 and these. And I tell you
Yeah.
what, Vintage Clouds not going down without a fight.
This is
But
where the experience comes in, Bruce. 2 out.
Al Nadam is challenged. But I tell you what, Vintage Clouds has got a nice little lead now. Jumps to second last in front.
I Right for
Happy
me.
Go Lucky is there. I Right and Al Nadam. The market leaders are really, really flying at this one. But they're going to jump the last with Vintage Clouds just in front.
Vintage.
Happy Go Lucky
Go on,
second. Al
Vintage.
Nadam is 3rd. I Right discordantly running on late. But Vintage Clouds, he's putting
this
his
is
head
brilliant.
down and galloping up that
Go on,
hill.
the Vintage.
Fantastically. What a fantastic performance this is.
Wow.
Sue Smith, Trevor Hemmings and Ryan
Ryan
Maney,
Maney.
they've bolted up. What a win by Vintage Clouds. Happy Go Lucky is second, I Right is 3rd. Sipage comes back for 4th. I think that might be on the inside. Is that not Nietzsche, is it?
No, it
Getting
wasn't
fifth?
Nietzsche, no.
I was going to say.
We'll pick it up. Might have been Discordantly, I think. Listen, wow, we had a social comment come in, didn't we? The guys all remind me who that was. First time cheap pieces. A veteran takes out the handicap. The first handicap of the meeting. Saw off the favourite. My goodness me, if you're on the what we call the favourites multiple, one has gone down. It was only second though. Where did we see this coming from? First time cheap pieces and 3rd time lucky in the race. He was 3rd in 2018, 2nd in 2019. Back he comes for more. Aggressive ride by Ryan Mania. Happy days. Trevor Hemmings in Clover. Barry Orr, story of the market before we dissect it.
Yeah, the favourite, can you believe, between the last 2 traded at 1.40, which is 2-5. He traded at 6-4 on jumping the last when he still had a couple of lengths to find on your winner, Vintage Clouds, Vintage Clouds, who Betfair SP of 50, traded at a high pre-race of 65. Game winner, wasn't he? Great to see.
Yeah.
Very game winner, absolutely, yeah. And it was just experience. The one thing that I think, if you watch this back, Nietzsche's actually has run very well. I was just watching at a replay there. He's, for a horse that's been that keen, there's a big prize in him, isn't there?
Yeah,
but
he was
if you
keen,
just
early.
watch Happy Go Lucky at the last, he puts himself right at it. You can't do that. And he was novicey for me from the first 2 fences. He got into a nice rhythm on the far side. Was that what cost him? Al Nadam absolutely paddling up the run in. I Right in 3rd, who I think you have to say he's franking the form of everything that he runs in. One for the team, it was coming back all too late in the day. Should they have gone a 4 miler with him? Darren Weldon, of course. Well done, Darren. I think we can call him there. He put up Vintage Clouds. Absolutely happy days. Well, it could have been a treble of trebles.
Happy
couldn't
Go
it?
Lucky. He was just, as you say, he was a bit novice in the way round. He's come the 3rd last, he's winged the 3rd last, he's winged the 2nd last. Now, as a jockey, Dave Bass is in a tough situation there because you've gone down to the last. You need to jump it to win. Now, you can only go to the well so many times. When horses keep coming up for you, it's like, the only way I can describe it is like, it's like a coiled spring. When you stretch it and stretch it and stretch it, sometimes you've got to get that spring back.
They mount up, don't
Yeah,
they? Yeah,
and he's sent it at the last, and the horse has gone I can't manage this. He's gone in and popped it, and he's just lost them valuable lengths. Even if he had jumped it...
It was a fatigue issue, because he hasn't quite come up the running, has
he hasn't quite come up,
Yeah.
and it's just... Dave Bass said, right, I need one here, mate, and he's just hasn't been able to give it. But listen, Vintage Clouds, what a great performance. Cheap pieces on. Brilliant. Brilliant.
5th run at the festival.
Yeah.
Fell 3rd, 2nd, 8th, and now wins. What
Absolutely.
a beautiful
Third
performance
time
that
lucky
was.
would be the headline in the analysis box, I think, for that chap. And look, he obviously came back at Kelso last month. He wasn't really sighted. It was all about getting him ready for this. 2nd time win surgery. Incredible scene. So, if you're on the favourite, hopefully you backed him for a place or you're on each way, and he had a great run for your money. Dave Bass has given him every single chance despite fiddling them. They could still beat a very good horse in Happy Go Lucky. There were some interesting runs, weren't there? Look, he's won a blinding race. He's off a mark of 1.54. He's carried, 11.8. He was still running around a little bit coming to the last 2. He must look like he was hanging.
Yeah, a little bit, but he doesn't...
He's only an 8-year-old. Do you know what I'm saying? Could this be maybe a horse that might need cheap pieces, or is he still not fully matured? I mean, he always surprised me how lightly raced he is. He's had 22 runs, but that's only his 8th run over fences, and seems to have been around forever, doesn't he?
He don't know how to run a bad race, though, does he?
Go on, Barry.
Strange the winner's not in the National in those colours, isn't it?
Well, I wonder why he could not be in the National.
Because there's no point wasting entry fees when you got cloth
What's
cap.
the point in
there?
wasting an entry fee? Yeah, I'll tell you what. And cloth cap, Bruce Millington alluded to the fact if I right goes close, that is cloth cap form being
I'll tell you who's
advertised.
run an amazing race. One for the
Vintage Clouds.
Vintage Clouds.
He must have done.
You'd
Because
think so,
I
wouldn't
got a
you?
feeling he doesn't really take to the fences.
Possibly
If I've got
not.
the right horse. I
How
think.
can
Hang
you
on a
look
sec.
at one for the team now? We're just looking at the replay. One for the team was
Yeah.
up there early on, went absolutely out the back door after a mistake at the top of the hill, and somehow comes back to finish 5th. Let's just clear up, by the way, if you did back anything each way and you want to know what happened with the extra places. Obviously, Vintage Clouds beat Happy Go Lucky. 3rd was I Right. And then Sapage got 4th. One for the team was 5th. Discordantly was 6th. And incredibly, considering he's jumped the last up there, Alan Alnadam has weakened right out of it and finished 7th. Had a stamina question to answer, and the answer was no.
So Kevin Morning's column, big tick for that, absolutely. He to answer your question, he was pulled up when he was fancied in behind Walk in the Mill in the Beecher in 2019. Then in the last time the National was run behind Tiger Roll, 2019, he fell at the first. So
Yeah, I don't think he ever... I
maybe
think he was bigged up to run well in the
Scottish National, you'd imagine,
Just
for
don't
him,
think
just playing
he-
my favourite game.
Yeah, absolutely,
I'd imagine
yeah.
that would be the way to go. I
Yeah.
think we'll get the quotes back in from Jane Stevens. I would
28
imagine.
to 1 and a 50 to 1 Betfair SP, you say, Barry. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, BSP of 50.
Bookies got one back there, didn't they?
They did, and there'll be a little bit pressure off, and you would imagine now that Honeysuckle will be Evans' shortest, I would imagine. We're coming up to the highlight of day one. Would you believe it? It's the Champion Hurdle 3:05, isn't it? What's the time now? We're on about 20 minutes away. We've got a bit of time to chat, haven't we? Where are you going so far? How are you getting on? Let us know. We love your social comments coming in. Plenty of time to get them in, I think, now. And of course, are you a Honeysuckle fan? Have you perhaps... Do you think Happy Go Lucky would have been the one of the favourites today? People, along with Hooghry maybe in the Boodles or St Sam, these 5-1 shots. Really, the multiple was probably Shishkin, appreciated Shishkin, Concertista, would it?
People tend to leave the handicaps out of those, don't
Yeah.
they? Those ones that really
short
roll up
ones.
tend to be the shorties,
They're
don't
tough
they?
ones to get right.
Of course they are, yeah. I know it's short price for a handicap, but you've still got to, No, that wouldn't be. I mean, I still think they're on the hook for this fourfold, aren't they? So
We said it beforehand. It was working out at 12 to 1. Appreciated Shiskin, Honeysuckle, and Concertista, and the first two have gone in. And it looks like Honeysuckle, she was 2.22 a couple of minutes ago. She's 2.14 now. She's 11 to 10 and even money on some of the sports books. So looks like she'll go off odds on because the firms have a defensive position now. They have to try to manage liabilities. And if she wins, Concertista could go off maybe 6 to 4 on her or shorter even.
Well, this is going to be interesting. The run up now to 3:05. I mean, listen, Barry, I bow to your superior trading, but I'd be surprised if she went into odds on now. I thought if the first 3 favs went in, she would do, but the weakness of Epatante might still see that happen. This is going to be interesting. Let's get the market up then for the Champion Hurdle 3:05. There we go, like magic up on the screen. And Honeysuckle, who on earth, after she Sluiced in the Irish Champion Hurdle, 2 from 2 in that race. We even thought it would be level pegging, didn't we, Barry, between her and Epatante? One gone one way, one gone the other.
Yeah, massive negative for Epatante. She's out to 6.0 now, which is 5-1. Your favourite, though, Honeysuckle, matched at a high of 11-4 in the exchange for about 560 quid. Into 2.12 now, which is just 11-10. Like I said, Epatante 6-7. Gosh, and another one on the slide. Saraja is quite steady at 14. The same can be said for Abracadabras, and then it's 27 bar Silver Streak is 27. I'm. This is going to be like drops of blood to you here, my magic assistant, Mr. Millington. But I'm going to lay Goshen here in the winning place.
No, sorry.
We've never had a trade refused before.
Slide all the time. We have to do
this. Is with the hair. I don't like doing this.
7-4. Take 25 quid out of him there, and then we're going to lay him in the standard 3 places as well, where we can take him on.
So what's the first? Is it 4 places to start with, Barry? Yeah.
No, it's 3 places. Standard place terms on the exchange here. Yeah.
Okay.
Standard place terms on the exchange.
How much?
Choosing here. You could bet 2, 3, 4, or 5, but we're going to take 50 quid of the backer stake at 2.36. So I just think, obviously, he beat Song for Someone last day on heavy ground. Song for Someone didn't run his race that day for my money. He's not getting the ground. He's not sure to get his own way up front as well. I think Not So Sleepy's going to go forward. Aspire Tire can go forward here as well. So
Barry, think about it. This is for charity. This is for Well Child. They fund nurses to go around and look after sick kids, and you want to cost them money, Barry. What are you doing, man?
That's a terrible thing to
Shame on you, Barry. Shame on you.
You may be.
One of us is going to be right, Bruce. So
yeah.
You may now be working out there is a chairman of the Goshen fan club on the panel. But I think we may as well just get this out of the way. It's a clean sweep, isn't it?
Are we all Goshen?
We are all Goshen.
Come on,
the Goshen team. Come on, the Goshen. The guys in the gallery.
Is it the story behind it? Like trade at 25-1 on when that happened to him, that freak accident that happened to him in the Triumph last year. Is that what it is?
No, it's just his different class. He's different gear. If he'd stood up there, Barry, he would have won that by 20 lengths. And he'd be 6-4 for this. Look at the run at Wincanton.
Like, it was a dreadful race. We haven't seen the winner since. Burning thing, the Billy Willie Mullins's.
Oh, come on, Barry.
Hasn't really done
he
much.
He turned up in an Arkle. You've got a Aspire Tower. That's absolutely unbelievable. I'll tell you what.
Just absolutely brilliant last time at Wincanton.
Song for Someone was beaten after going 2 furlongs.
Yeah, he was. And they'll all be beaten here as well, Barry. All this nonsense about how the race fell apart at Wincanton. It fell apart because he was different class.
Different class.
Come on, the Gosh.
Come on, Goshen, absolutely. Listen, I'll be honest. If you'd have told me, I've said this when we came in the office earlier, if you'd have told me, boys and ladies and gentlemen out there, that I would be on Goshen in the Champion Hurdle at December, you would have, I would laugh at you. But the way he has come back, the one reason why I'm with him, guys, is because if there is a horse in the race that can give away £7 to last year's winner and the dual Irish Champion Hurdle winner and the mare's winner last year, Honeysuckle, he has to be brilliant. And the thing is about Goshen, he's brilliant. Yeah. When he's on his day, we don't know how good he is. They've got him back exactly where they want him. They are confident of a very, very big run.
Yeah, and so they should be, shouldn't they?
Should be, absolutely, after that.
I mean, you live down there. You knock around with all those boys, don't you? What's the word from the Moore camp?
He doesn't have to make the running. No. If they go a good clip, he'll sit behind them. They've got him in the best form he's ever been. They've changed up his training regime. Jamie he's so bullish about it, and he'd be the first to say everyone's had tough years, everyone's had it hard. But he's had more than most, and it would be great. And to me, I agree with you. Wincanton, I think it was impressive.
Impressive? It was mind-boggling.
That's what I mean. It doesn't matter who he's beat. It's the way, it's in the manner that he's done it.
He's still pulling going over the line.
It's the manner that
Tom Siegel makes that point. He says he's hit the line so hard on that bottomless
Song for Someone
ground.
Did come with his chance.
Yeah.
It was either the heavy ground or it was the track that he didn't like. He had won the King Will Song for Someone last year, but it was at Kempton. A similarly sharp track, but it's not Wincanton.
So, lads, it's on one completed run you're basing this fancy on one completed run.
The completed run, yes. But come on,
Yes.
Barry. He clipped his heels after the last. It was one of those freakish things.
But it's on one completed run. It's on one completed run. When you look at the likes of Honeysuckle, who's 10 races undefeated, has won grade ones over 2 miles and 2.5 miles. A previous champion hurdle winner in Epatante. Sarja placing it last year. Abracadabra second to Siskin in the Supreme last year. You know, when you're looking at these type of horses against Goshen, you've got to weigh that up and take that into account when you're putting a fancy up for this race. And on one completed run, I think you guys are insane. One of us is going to look real mugs after this race. I can know that.
I mean, the grade ones, Honeysuckle, they're all plastic grade ones.
Well, listen, perhaps we can pick holes in them.
Ones in Ireland getting uncontested.
Yeah, they're nothing, are they? Grade ones in Ireland, they're like grade threes over here. I mean, they're not.
We thought Graham Rodway was controversial. Look at Bruce.
You're taking it a bit far now.
Let's go to the social corner, because are people picking holes in our Goshen, or indeed are they going? Hugh Masson, great to have you back on. You was 6-1 right after the triumph, and here he is a year later at 6-1. Now let's go back to that moment. I mean, possibly the social clip of the show since we started this. You will remember on the Friday last year, Bruce Millington, 1, 2, 3, over he goes. He's into it for quite a bit, and then the reaction came out. You can find it out there. There might be a monkey emoji over his face now, but it's fair to say
they've beeped it out now, haven't they?
It's that, have they? Yeah. Well, they bleeped it out.
I honestly thought I was going to get frog marched out the studio by HR.
Because there was still a full office out there, wasn't it?
Of course there was. I thought I was done. I thought it was career over.
I've never seen you look so worried.
And I walked out, and they were like, "Oh, that clip's gone mad. Everyone loved it."
Oh, everyone absolutely loved it. And listen, it's sort of was the beginning of a beautiful thing on this show. But you can find it out there. Just type in Bruce Milling Goshington out there. Goshington.
Oh, yeah. He ran against Mr. Fisher.
With Ricky Johnson on board. With fish cake. Unbelievable. Oh, my head's gone. Okay, but it was an oh my Goshen moment, I've been calling it. And it was jaw-dropping. And I spoke to Gary Moore last week, and he said he went up his gallop like Istabrack. They've worked out how to ride him. There will be a lead in this for him. I think that he's going to do something spectacular here. I hope he is. I hope for connections he is. Big time, as Mattie alluded to there. It would be the story, wouldn't it, of the festival, I think, no matter what happens.
Well, maybe Frodon winning the Gold Cup might rival it. But I think it's a fantastic story in its own right. You know, that story of redemption and you know, the Moore family and everything they've been through. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. And we went to James Stephens that day, you remember, if you were watching RP Live after the Kingwell Barrier, remember, and he said that Gary's been doing crazy things with this horse. You know, he's been sitting on him and riding him home. Do you remember that, Matty?
Yeah,
we were in, weren't we, that day?
Is that unusual, riding a horse?
Well, Gary.
No, that's what they did.
No, but Gary hasn't been riding the work on this horse, and he's the trainer. You know, you wouldn't see a lot of. It wouldn't be. Not too many trainers.
He's been taking him out the yard, like Gary.
He's taking him into town, hasn't he?
Yeah, Gary's old yards down in Brighton. Like, we could go up on the coast roads.
For an ice cream.
Go down the valleys. We do something different every day, and the horses loved it. The new place there, it's like, it was back to interval training, or start interval training. You're up the gallops, that's it, you couldn't go. But now, he's taking Goshen, he's going out the gate, he's going down the roads, he's going round the village. It's just a change for him. And they said it's changed him. Jamie said, like, the old man just goes off on his own, and it's really sort of revitalised him.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it did look grim, didn't it? When he had those 2 defeats on the flat this year. And
he said he didn't have him fit enough. That's what he's put it down to now. When he was on the flat, he said, I just didn't have him fit enough. Because, you know, we said to him, you know, it must have been a summer of discontent. 2 odds on defeat. You know, it all gone wrong, hasn't it?
His overalls beat Goodwood, didn't he? The one at
Natural History beat him. He bought that afterwards. It just didn't act on the ground in the Imperial Cup. Let's get another social in the corner. Who have we got? Joe Green! Joey Green. Oh, aye, the Goshen. Yes, happy days.
Well done, Joe
Done,
Green.
Joe.
Lovely. Happy. Listen, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We know you're out there. We set records with viewership this week last year. Let's get beyond that. We're bringing the atmosphere to you. Let's hope you're enjoying it. We are just coming up to the champion hurdle. We're, around about 10 minutes away from that. Myself, Dave Orton, Mattie Batch, Bruce Millington, Bruce Goshington. That one will go down in the annals, won't it? And Barry Orr, who is against Goshen. Boo! Boo! What have they said since we've been talking? Honeysuckle, you thought it would go odds on, man.
Yeah, he's she's last time I looked, she's 218 now. So it's hovering around the 11 to 10 mark. 5'8" Epatante, who seems to have found her level at that 6.6 Goshen, and it's 14 bar. So market suggesting that the only male horse that's going to put it up to the two mares in the race is Goshen.
And it quite right too, market. Should we talk about Epatante?
I mean, we should talk about Honeysuckle first.
Okay,
really,
fine. Yeah, of course. I thought we sort of had done.
And I love Honeysuckle, don't get me wrong. I think she's absolutely superb. And I backed her last year in the mares. I thought RACHAEL Blackmore was brilliant. And that run last time does worry me a bit because I think it's probably the best of her wins there. It was a really, really brilliant power-packed performance. And that £7 allowance is massive. I could see Honeysuckle winning this. I love Goshen and I fancy him and I want him to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if Honeysuckle won.
We chatted yesterday, didn't we? We had a couple of text messages with each other, and you said Goshen just wins.
I think that, but £7 is a big weight, isn't it?
It is a big weight.
She's done
a lot of people think it's far too much, and if Rob was in, I'd be screaming about it.
Price.
But if you could pick some holes in her, and I'll attempt to do so now. Going into the Irish Champion Hurdle, she did have her doubters, didn't she? Because she hadn't quite, we weren't totally sure about it. She's following exactly the same pattern. Sharjah was beaten after a hurdle in that. Abracadabra had run a stinker at Christmas. Probably not on ground that he absolutely loves. Is he really a Leopardstown horse? Not totally sure. I know he's won there, but not totally sure. And she could just be a tad flattered about that.
So what are you saying? It wasn't a grade one, really?
Oh, you were saying that, Mattie, the Irish Champion Hurdle. But look, even last year when she won at the festival, if you remember, Paul Townend came in for bucket loads of abuse because he got stuck on the inside on Benny de Dieu. Everyone was on Benny, weren't
Even
they?
Ruby, wasn't it?
We did back it that day. Ruby absolutely said, what was he doing there?
Yeah.
And she only won by 3/4 of a length. Now, my worry about her here with the drying ground is that something might do her for toe off the home straight. What I love about, and Bruce is absolutely right, we all love Honeysuckle. This is, I've said this many a time about Cheltenham, this is the 1 week where you have to abandon your heroes, your equine heroes. You have to if you're betting and playing in the race and going for a selection even. Remember, Corto versus Denman. I love Denman, but I was always in the Corto camp, And
I was always Denman.
Well, there you go.
I love Denman.
There you go. We all have our tribes. And if you're not on Honeysuckle already, and some people have got some really big prices about it, I was here in the week, got some great stories about it, that you'll be getting very, very excited now at what, around about 11 to 10, isn't she? So that is perhaps the winner in waiting for a lot of you. Bit of pressure on Henry de Bromhead, I suppose, isn't there? After Captain Guinness didn't run very well and Bally Adam ran badly. It's amazing, isn't it, how you get to jump on these. Ooh, a bit of pressure on the stables now.
And let's not forget this as well. We've got a female jockey riding a strong favourite for the Champion Hurdle. Doesn't that show how much we've just forgotten about gender now, and we just take it for granted that these female jockeys are up there and mixing it with the best?
Which
Some
RACHAEL
are even
Blackmore
better
will
than
be
Mattie
delighted
Batchelor.
about. Well,
Listen, you've got her inspired to be a lot better than Mattie Batchelor.
Yeah.
Okay?
but have they won a Hennessy?
They get a
Yeah,
certificate
RACHAEL
in
won a
jockey
Hennessy,
school for
yes,
that,
she-
don't they? Yeah.
Oh, she's won a lot of Tin Pot grade ones,
But seriously, I mean, there's pressure on her here, isn't
Yeah, of
there?
course
Definitely.
there is. Absolutely, she could potentially win
Yeah,
the
but you know
Champion
what,
Hurdle and the Gold Cup. That'd be
She's been there.
remarkable
She's
story.
won races at the Big Day at Cheltenham. She's the ultimate
She's
professional.
quite steely, isn't she,
Yeah.
Rachel? When she's interviewed, she's a little bit intimidating, isn't she? She's quite steely. She's really game-faced. That's Honeysuckle. Let's talk about Epatante then. Last year's winner. Barry, this has been so weak in the market. I was getting vibes out of Henderson saying she's not impressing whatsoever. The market's borne out that way. What a massive prize she is.
Yeah, she's been matched at a high of 6.2 and a low of 4.7 on the exchange. At one stage, they were kind of in the anti-post market. Anyway, it was 9-4 Honeysuckle, 5-2 Epatante. Couldn't really split them. But since the 48-hour decks came through, it's all been one-way traffic. She's been on the slide while Epatante has been going in the other direction. Yeah, obviously stable form, bit of a concern. But then you look at Shishkin and he's absolutely danced in. So is it really that much of a concern? I'm not so sure. I'm sure she'll run her race, but I suppose that £7 allowance sees it that she's still shading second favourite ahead of Goshen, who's out to 7 now.
That's the three market leaders then. Sharjah was second to Epatante last year. Well, he bounced back. There's a one horse that we've not talked about so far. Great time to bring in Silver Streak. And I believe we've got some love from Chris out there in the social corner. No mention of Silver Streak. There you go. I've got your back, Chris. Makes me sad. Are we just totally overlooked? I mean, he's overpriced, isn't he?
He's overpriced. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of... some bookmakers are offering 4 or 5 places here. And I think if you're going to go away from the front 3 to get some each way value to try and nick a bit of place money, I think Silver Streak's the one. I can't get this love for Sharjah. I just think he's been around, he's been there, done it, and or rather not done it. I'd be amazed if he beats 3 horses this good. I'm not sure about Abracadabras either. So I think if there is going to be something that breaks the stranglehold of the front 3, it might be Silver Streak. He's a lovely horse, isn't he?
He's only 8.
Yeah.
He's been around seems like he's been around for a long time. He was running Fred.
Of course, he won the Kempton race at Epatante, was second. But Aidan Coleman, he come out publicly and said, look, they got a back. I think it was something, she had a bad back or something. It's like a pulled muscle. Is that run forgivable then? I think it is forgivable, yeah. It's something that you'll go out and play football one Sunday morning, I just ache it, but the next day it'll be okay. He played it down. It's something and nothing, really. It can affect you, but you can get over it quite quickly.
But if she's back to her best, then she's a big runner, isn't she? Obviously,
at that price, I think she is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. She's one of those kick yourself ones, isn't she? If she wins at 4, you're like, well, look, she dotted up last year.
Tell us about your treble. This is a great time.
So I'm looking through the rubble of my anti-post book, and there's one bet, and I've gone through, and I'm like, wow, Monkfish 6 to 1.
Boom.
Who's the thing? Zanahir 5 to 1, and this is back in November. Epatante 6 to 4.
Shrewd. But it does show you she looked like she had the race at a stranglehold, didn't she?
Yeah.
And that was going into Kempton. What was she, 6 on Barry at Kempton, wasn't she? And Silver Streak just got her at it, didn't he?
6 is on at Kempton. Yeah, he put it up to her early doors, didn't he? Actually, Graham Rodway called it that day too. Fair play to him. Yeah, she was 6 to 4 going into the Betfair fight in 5th. When she won that, she was an even money chance. She was a shade of odds on some of the books as well for the anti-post market of the Champion Hurl. So, it's gone a complete other direction for her in recent weeks.
Oh, so to remind you, laying Goshen, Barry Orr.
Oh, Barry.
Just he's got a pedestal. Barry. All the way down.
I think you are emotionally connected to this horse. I just take emotion out of it.
Wow, yeah, that's why he's been in the game.
Clinical, aren't you, Barry?
You're just cold-blooded.
Hey, when it's for charity, you've got to be, Bruce.
Coming back on you.
See about
this
that,
is
mate.
One's going to be right, one's going to be wrong. We cannot wait. We're 5 minutes away from the Champion Hurdle. Honeysuckle going down on her own in the blazing sunshine.
It's gorgeous, it looks, doesn't it? Absolutely beautiful.
And tomorrow was supposed to be on the forecast, the one with the sun. So, will those taps come out? Let us know what you think. Can Simon Clace resist watering ahead of Stayers Hurdle Day?
Do you care about watering? This is one thing that throughout my time...
Don't get me started. I do.
Why? Throughout my time as editor of the Racing Post, I could never... There were 2 things that our reporters were obsessed about. One was the Grand National start. I was like, so what if there's a full start? It doesn't matter. And the other one is the whole basic principle of watering. That's what you have to do sometimes to look after a track.
I agree.
They get so much stick for doing it. What do they think happens if you don't? It dries out. It gets dangerous. You have to water sometimes.
It's just very difficult to get absolutely right, Bruce. And when the forecast is wrong, some of these... I mean, Cheltenham, the ground, it's been abandoned twice this season. You know, Cheltenham used to be a well-draining track. It can be heavy. If it started raining now, we'd be looking at heavy in a Gold Cup. I think there's some, I don't know, I'm not one of these that believes that there's, a conspiracy watering. We talked about this before. There's grand wizards of these, clerks of the courses. I mean, Andrew Cooper gets so much stick at Sandown, Epsom, all that sort of stuff, but... I think, I don't know, Ascot used to be the case. Would it be near?
So what's your point then, Dave? Do you think they shouldn't
water? I think we might be paying for all the watering we've done over the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, is it now, since we've been watering. The ground is not as I remember it at a lot of courses. Sandown at the weekend, I just don't know what that ground was. I've got absolutely no idea. A lot of trainers being vocal about it. So Mark Prescott, without wanting to go into flat too much, he absolutely thinks it's the worst thing we've done. He thinks it's gone into the breed. He thinks it's, horses that are running on false ground as sires, all that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't go that far, but I don't know. I don't want to go on about other jurisdictions, but in Australia they do it regulated. There's not much regulation of watering. So
blimey, hang on a sec. Whoa. Goshen's 8.4, Barry. What's going on here?
Yeah,
This
he's
is a
on the slide.
mega
Epitaph
drift.
as well. The favourites into 2.18 now. 11.5 Abracadabra, some money for that. And Sharjah, 13.5, some money for that. Jams de Brulé as well, with Daryl Jacob having its first run for Willie, 19.5 money for that as well. So he's an interesting contender we haven't spoken about.
Yes,
Did you have a look at his French form, Dave?
A couple of judges have put him. Alistair Downs all over this. He said that Ruby Walsh gave it to me last week. The Shrewdies are on. They bought him for an Arkle campaign, but they feel he won't be disgraced here for Simon Munir and Isaac Swade. So, I mean, you talk about tearing up the rule, but that's what I said to Paul Keeley when he says, I've been told about this on Sunday.
Where's the pace here, lads? Is it going to come not so sleepy?
You've got Silver Street, not so sleepy.
Yeah.
Aspire Tower. There's plenty of pace in the race. Goshen, I think, should be able to get a nice lead, as will Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle, so uncomplicated, isn't she? That's why the 111s are all next to the name. But there are some horses in here when they're on their A game that are capable of doing jaw-dropping things. We on the panel here believe it will be Goshen. He's taken a right old drift. I'm looking at him down at the start. Maybe a bit of sweat on his neck. Mattie is there, but nothing too upright, is there?
I think that's his character. He's quite highly strung, and that's just him. He'll be right.
So looking forward to this. This is the race of the week.
There's going to be some roar here in a minute when he jumps aloft in front.
Happy days. Awesome moans from Dublin as Barry Oy can hear. Good luck wherever you're playing.
They're off.
The 2021
Off and
champion
running.
hurdle.
Okay, so they round the bend. And this first hurdle comes up very quickly after they straighten up. On the inside, Silver Streak is up there early on. Also well up there is Not So Sleepy as we expected. Goshen is up there. Pace doesn't look too frantic, chaps. Aspire Tower is pulling for his head. On the outside, Honeysuckle, nice and prominent. Any early moves, Barry?
No, nothing of note, Bruce, at this stage. He's only about to jump the second hurdle. Goshen just shortened ever so slightly, but 6-1 chance now. 7.0 is Epitant, 7.0, 2.3 Honeysuckle, the biggest she's been in the betting so far.
Well, it's an interesting move, this, because Rachel Blackmore's got her right on the outside. This is what she did at Leopardstown. She just sat on the outside of the leaders, and she was able to go when the pace collapsed. She's going to be caught wide on the wing, Bruce.
Yeah, absolutely. Mattie, what do you make of this so far? The jump will be the last next time round. Is Jamie happy on Goshen?
Oh, he's just hanging right a little bit there, yeah.
It looked like he almost had a bit of a tack issue, didn't it, when he came up his neck?
I think he's just, some horses up there, they have a look at that running instead of going straight up. But
very interesting. He's full of himself, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Silver Streak has got the lead, basically, but there's no pace pressure from Not So Sleepy Bruce. So Goshen, he's in the ideal position for me.
I think they're going quite steady for a champion hurdle.
Yeah, I'd say so. So on the inside, we have Silver Streak with Goshen on that one's outer. Just behind them is Not So Sleepy, and behind that is Aspire Tower. And in fifth, we've got Honeysuckle. Just behind that, we've got James de Burley. Settled in the back with a watching brief so far early on is Epitant, along with Abracadabras, and then the two Rich Richies. What's that?
We've got one gone.
Abracadabras has gone. Goshen's gone right outside. He's hanging over to the right.
It looked like a tack issue to me on the second. Something's not quite right with him.
Is he all right?
No, he's hanging.
And he's just running away with
Rachel Blackmore's...
He's gone right. Is he actually still in the race? Is he going to jump this?
Goodness gracious me, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. Is there anything straightforward with Goshen in life?
Rachel Blackmore's sensing this as well.
I think you're right. There's definitely something.
I think it's a tack issue. It's going to be pulled up.
I don't believe it.
The horse is just hanging. He's out to 85.
I'm not sure about this.
We're going to have to commentate without Goshen, I think. He's come back inside, but he can't win. Okay, so Silver Streak then from Aspire Tower. Goshen's come back on the inside and he's vying for the lead.
He's not happy
he's
though,
gone
Matt.
from 85 to 36.
The saddle, isn't it?
It's
not
weird.
the saddle. The saddle looks still in place.
I mean, Honeysuckle, meanwhile, is going very nicely. Epitant's got a bit closer. This is bizarre. It's a hard race to commentate.
Jamie's got one. He's got both his hands on one
Has
rein.
the bit gone through his mouth, maybe?
Something's happened. I don't see Jamie Moore ride like this. The fact he's gone into
dropping
fourth.
back now as well. So I think we forget Goshen.
Here we go. Honeysuckle 1.60 now. 6 to 4
on the mare. So they're freewheeling down the hill with 3 to jump, and it is Silver Streak from Aspire Tower. From Honeysuckle, Epitant creeping closer. Also well up there on the inside is Not So Sleepy. The Rich Richies are out the back. Goshen's still going on the outside. It's hard to say, but I mean, this is looking great for Honeysuckle, it's got to be said. But Silver Streak and Aspire Tower are going well. Epitant's coming into it now as well. You can forget Goshen now, I think. as they
Here we
jump
go.
to
Here's the
second
mare.
last. Here
Here's
comes
the mare.
Honeysuckle to challenge on the outside.
Charger.
Honeysuckle looking to come and pick it up, but Epatante is coming up on the inside. That's
He ain't
fine.
gonna get a
Charger,
run.
I think.
Charger's there as well, but Honeysuckle
goes.
goes on now. Rachel kicks on Honeysuckle and opens up by
Charger's
2
the
lengths.
danger.
They've got one to jump. Honeysuckle 2 lengths clear of Charger. Here comes Epatante trying to get place as well. Honeysuckle though jumps
Gone.
the last with a
Rachel.
3-length clear.
Whoa.
Honeysuckle
Over you
jumps
go,
the
lovely.
last. Honeysuckle is not going to get caught. Charger
Wow.
is second.
Look
Epatante
at
is
this guy.
third.
Look
And
at
as they
that.
come up to the line, the Honey Monster attacks! Honeysuckle wins the champion hurdle. Charger is second. In third, it's Epatante, and the rest are nowhere. Wowee, that was
Wow.
brilliant. Unbeaten and absolutely outstanding.
That
Oh.
Grade 1 Island form is awesome.
What a call, Bruce Millington. You've been waiting for that one. Right, we'll decide what on earth happened to Goshen. She had to win like that when he started hanging on the far side. She's beaten her old rival, Charger, who really looked a big danger turning for home. But she is so uncomplicated, this mare. And away she goes. Ground, no problem. Trip, no problem. My Lord, what would she do over a fence? Epatante, last year's winner, left trailing in the wake, only third. Vibes right about her. Was that Aspire Tower in fourth? Not so sleepy, held on for fifth. Silver Streak and Saldier crossed the line then. Poor old Goshen. What on earth went wrong there? They will be absolutely beside themselves about what happened there. It, like you said in the call, is anything straightforward with Goshen. The compolar opposite has gone and won the race. Barry Orr, story of the champion hurdle.
Story of the champion hurdle. She didn't trade any big numbers in running. She was always in the box seat, and when Rachel pushed the button with 2 to go, it was all over. She was 5s on between the second last and the last, and 10s on then all the way down to 101. Goshen traded at a low of 4.9. Aspire Tower, the winner's stablemate, traded at a low of 4.0, and Sharjah, last year's runner-up, traded at a low of 3.5, which is 5 to 2. We won our few quid for the charity, thankfully.
Well
Yeah,
done,
well done,
Barry.
Well
Barry.
done, Barry. Well
Yeah,
done.
well done, Barry.
Orr.
We
There's a
always
reason why he's
thought
been
that
in
was a
this
good
game.
play.
Every cloud and all that, lads. Every cloud and all that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Steve. Well, look, let's just. What we'll get from the track, what the guys think in your members section, of course. From 6 o'clock tonight, you'll be getting all the tips for tomorrow. All the analysis will be written about 45 minutes after the race. It's all there. All the excuses will be in there. What on earth do we do this to the winner? Kenny Alexander. Let's just have a word for the owner. I mean, one of the most affluent men around, isn't he? And yet he's put this huge investment into the mares, Bruce. And this is the Queen.
Yeah, Kenny Alexander, who was chief executive of Ladbrokes and Coral until recently, and
Maintain, yeah.
absolutely. I mean, he loves the game, and you know, he buys a lot of mares, and you know, he's put, as you say, put a load in, and he will be the happiest man in anywhere in Europe today.
Is there a better feeling than watching your horse? When especially, you know, that £7 allowance doesn't really matter when you're on Honeysuckle. A lot will be said about that now. If you back Sharjah, you're probably thinking, hang on a minute, you know, we're just giving £7 to an absolute worldie.
She'd have won anyway.
That's what I mean.
Difference.
That's what I mean.
Wouldn't
She'd
have
have
made
won
any
anyway.
difference.
She's so uncomplicated. They put her on the wide outside. They let Goshen do his thing. The moment that Goshen started to hang, still mortified by that. She's so clever, Rachel Blackmore, and the woman has just won the champion hurdle, of course.
She kept it simple, didn't she?
She knew. She
Brilliant
moved
ride.
up. What she does on Honeysuckle is she tracks the early leaders, and then going into the home straight, it's clockwork. That's exactly what she did in the mares when Benny got caught on the inside, and this time she sprinted away. I mean, if you remember...
3 seconds faster than the Supreme, Dave.
Wow.
Not a surprise, Barry. They went a more even gallop, I think, in that. In the champion,
And also
but she is.
He could coast home and appreciate it. couldn't he?
Exactly, that's right. She was riding for everything. I mean, what must Rachel have been feeling coming to the last on that? Epatante's travelled well, but I think if you remember, a week before the Dublin Racing Festival, Kenny Alexander came out and said, we're going to go champion. Before that, she must have improved left, right and centre. Henry de Brom would be absolutely delighted. So much pressure on him with Envoy Allen, of course, coming up on Thursday. They've got Aplutard in the Gold Cup. What else have they got? Probably loads of horses everywhere, haven't they?
Matty, when does Jamie Moore start thinking, hang on a sec, this is all going to go?
I think
Now,
it's
it's
now.
here.
This
It's
is
here
after
now.
the second.
Yeah.
I said, is it something with the tat then? He looks like he's leaning to me.
Yeah, look how he's leaning.
Something's
into
not
the
right.
bend
Something's
there.
gone wrong. I'm sure it has.
It's just, the horse is clearly hanging. You can just see Jamie. He's just body language. I think even after going down the backside, I'm sure he got one hand on two hands on one rein just to get him round the bend.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
It was extraordinary.
He hasn't. He's gone into that. He hasn't jumped it.
For all the lows that
Yeah.
happen at Cheltenham, that is definitely one of them, I think, isn't it? And he's just going to be one of those. Gosh, and I mean, look, I'm sure we'll be back, and Gary will have will give his debrief. But what price for next year's champion then, Barry Orr, Honeysuckle?
3-1 favourite.
3-1 favourite, an uncomplicated horse that she just sounded. She's
You
just.
pick up a couple of those soft grade ones in Ireland or
Yeah,
Great Britain.
that's it. Yeah, you might as well. You might as well.
Arriving.
Yeah, you might as well do it.
She'll
Pick
be
up the
giving
easy grade
£7
ones.
to those horses next year. She might be getting £14 off the English horses next year. You know, if the handicapper gets a good look at it.
It probably wouldn't
Who
make
knows?
any difference, would it? Let's get a social up then. Who was on the Honeysuckle? Let's have a look. It was Bobby Kimber. She's unreal. The best mare I've ever seen. Well, let's see what the Racing Post rating handicappers make about that this week. I think probably, not shortly afterwards, you'll be able to compare her historical RPRs with Annie Power comes to mind, doesn't it, I guess? Best
Dawn
mare
Run.
well, obviously Dawn Run. Best mare you've ever seen? Best
Dawn Run.
I
Dawn
don't
Run?
remember Dawn Run. Too young.
Shut up. You rode against her.
You were riding Mr. Fisher when he was a foal, of course, let's not forget. So look, yeah,
She's very good, and she's getting better.
She is getting better. She's just a
improving.
7-year-old. It's
Incredible.
a beautiful thing. And what a mare to own. Like I say, all the quotes will be coming your way. We'll try and get Jay Stevens back a little bit later from the tracks. At this point, we're watching. They're coming to 2 out, aren't they? And Aspire Tower's gone well for a real long way. But Abacadabras, of course, disappeared.
That fell early, didn't it, Abacadabras?
Has Goshen come last? I'm going to think.
Almost certainly.
James de Burley, that was a bit of a red herring, wasn't it?
Epatante was floating into the race at one
Yeah.
point, looking like she might
It was
get
soft
involved.
ground when she won last year, and they sort of came back to her a little bit. And
You've got to give Sharjah credit, haven't you?
Oh.
He keeps coming and doing it, and he's ultra consistent.
You're
Loves
so
it
right
here.
about Honeysuckle. Though. She's just so uncomplicated.
that's the beauty of her. That's the
And
beauty
she
of her.
travels, she jumps. You can put her where she wants. And for Rachel she must think, to ride a mare like this, it's what you dream of.
Yeah, there'll be eye catchers abound, by the way. You'll be getting loads of eye catchers in the paper as it goes on, and in your members section on the website. All our experts will be picking out bones. I think Aspire Tower, he's a horse that I want to keep on side. I reckon he'll go up in trip. A lot of these ex-juveniles end up wanting a bit further, Matty, don't they? They're grinders.
Yeah.
And he looks to me like a horse that will relish the entry hurdle.
We're
or something
watching
like
the
that.
head on as they come home there, Dave, and there's nothing wrong with Goshen's. It's definitely not
It's
a
not
tack
tack,
issue,
no,
is it?
no.
He's just the horse is just
can't believe
decided
that.
to.
And he's going straight there, and he's gone past James.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's a weird one, and if it is all in Goshen's mind, then my goodness gracious me.
Does he need to go clockwise? Do you think maybe?
Well, there was a lot of talk about that as a juvenile, whether we went out one way or the other. But we know from what happened in last year's Triumph.
Yeah.
And like I say,
He's had the
was
Triumph one
was
last
beaten
year, so why-
senseless in
Yeah,
that, and he was
true.
second favourite for an Arkle. And Aspire Tower's just finished fourth in a champion. I can hear some moaning. Yeah, but Barry Orr's thinking, come on, lads.
Lads, you got to
Move on.
celebrate the winner. Have a look at her.
do.
She's a
Oh,
thing
yeah,
of beauty.
yeah, brilliant,
My
yeah.
word, you're still talking about Goshen. No, come on.
Well,
Honeysuckle,
another
that's where
oh
it's
my
at.
gosh
That's the
moment.
I would say,
The
by the
honey
way, that
monster.
I don't know Henry. I've never spoke to Henry de Bromhead, but in everything you see in all the interviews, he seems a real gentleman, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
it's great for him, isn't
Yeah,
it?
keeps
He
the
seems a
counsel
great
well,
guy.
doesn't
Do you
he?
know him
Yeah.
well, Barry? Do you speak to him much?
I can't say I do, Bruce. Just met him a couple of times, but like you say, yeah, gentleman, family man, loves his horses, loves his racing. His father was a decent enough trainer, Henry, and he's been rewarded recently. He had that thing with the Potts that time. Potts took his horses off him, and everyone thought, Janie, where's he going to get horses now? But he was continued to be supported by Jigginstown, and then obviously the Cheveley Park got involved with him, and then it was a big recognition of his talent that when they decided to part ways with Gordon recently, that they sent Envoy Allen to Henry de Bromhead. I think that's the biggest that's the biggest credit you could get from
And
Cheveley Park, really.
what a class move by Henry there to allow the
the
groom
grooms.
who
Yeah.
looks after
Of Calixios as well.
and Elixios
Yeah.
to come on the day. I just think that's
Probably
pure
Bally
class.
Adams. So, yeah, Cheveley Park, of course, having moved their horses. OK, that was the 2021 Champion Hurdle. Were you on? Was it ever in doubt? Indeed. Let us know your thoughts about that. 3-1. What do you reckon for next year's Champion Hurdle? Pretty attractive, isn't it? I wonder whether that will make them think about appreciate it. Obviously, they'll know where Sharjah, ranks a little bit. The Mullins camp might be tempted, I think, to stay.
No,
over the
he'll be going over
obstacles.
fences.
You do?
Yep.
Bit rangier.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Honeysuckle, what would she do over a fence, my lord? But we have a queen. Could we see her go on and rack them up? Okay, we are 4 races down, brilliantly so, on the first day of the Cheltenham Festival. All behind closed doors, isn't it? We know you're stuck at home, but we are bringing the atmosphere to you, no doubt. Myself, Dave Orton, Mattie, Batchelor, Bruce Millington and Barry Orr from Betfair, the big hitter himself. Where are we going next, Barry Orr? We've got the mares coming out and we've got another short one. We've got another match-up by the looks of it.
Yeah, we certainly have, but Concerista is very, very short now, 2.20. It was 2.56 earlier, so 6-4. Into a little over 11-10 at the moment. I think she's a lay. She's been beaten up Manila Melody twice over here. Another novice. Well, they're both just out of novice company, but she's beaten her twice. There's a lot of class in this race. I think the best form in the book, without a shadow of a doubt, is Roxana. That run behind the 2 top staying novices in the division, Time White and the other horse. And I think Dame Company has a chance. Black Tears has a chance. Infatigable, who won the Martin Pipe last year, has a chance. And at 2.14, I think she's a ridiculous price. It's like Gary Wilshire and Fujiyama Crest, the last one of the famous Frankie 7 in Ascot that day. You couldn't win, could it? He was taking it on. I'm taking Concerista on here. We're going to take 100 quid out of her, just a straight lay, and happy to be a price taker here as well, Bruce. 100 quid at 2.16, but to lose 116 quid. And I think there's plenty of quality fillies in this race that could put it up to her easily. It's a race that Willie Mullins has farmed over the years, but at the price, she's a false price now because the 3 short ones have gone in and the firms are taking a defensive position here, and she's shorting all the more. But I think she's found her price now by 2.14, and I'm happy to lay her at that.
He, of course, created history in the race, Willie Mullins, didn't he? Because when Cavega became the only 6-time winner ever at the Cheltenham Festival, Concertista, the hot pot, carrying loads of confidences. I'm almost sensing appreciate it like confidence about this mare. So Barry Orr, he's not in that camp and he's doing rather well again, isn't he, out there? He's taking it on. That's your trade. You've got plenty of time to react to that. We're 20 minutes away from the race. Loads of leisurely chat we can have, but let's go down the panel and get the tips. I don't see this as one of being beaten. I have to say that. I think it's probably between her and, as the market suggests, Roxana. My worry with Roxana is coming back in trip on this lively ground. She was stuffed in this race by Benny de Gil when she won it. I think she looks good. The one thing she will want to do is drop her head, and she might well do that. They had the option of going to the stairs, didn't they, when Time Hill came out? I think, personally, with that £7 allowance, she would have looked very interesting in that. I think she wants to trip these days as a 9-year-old. I'm against her. Hence, I think Concertista will just win. Matty,
I'm with Roxana. I totally agree with what you're saying with the trip, but I think it was a good run behind Paisley and Tyne Hill. And listening to Barry there, I think I think she's got a good chance, and they continue in good form, Harry and Dan Skelton. So, I think this could be their first winner of the week.
She comes in off confidence-boosting win as well. Bruce, which way are you going?
Roxana.
Too
big a difference in the price. I think she's a warrior. She's won it. Yes, you can say that she was lucky to win it because Benny came down, but Benny's probably better than Concertista. I think she's rock solid. She's going to do her running. I like her very much. I think she's tough. I'm not too fussed about trips, Dave, because I just think that, she's going to make sure that it's a properly run 2.5.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like a bit of a honeysuckle thing going into the race when you're trying to pick holes, and it's just the ground now. Had it been soft, I think, yeah, fair enough. But her best form is on soft ground, there's no doubt in that. And I don't know, I think Concertista has looked like the real deal to me. If she'd have turned up in the Champion Hurdle, I was sort of banging that drum in the deep midwinter.
You think she's that good?
I think she could have run in it, yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, she nearly won this on her hurdling debut, do you remember, for Willie Mullins when she got touched off in the novice race. She then came back a year later having lost her form a little bit, absolutely hosed up in it. And
66 to 1, wasn't she?
Yeah. And she has been she's been nothing short of sensational since. She's looked the real deal. She's beaten Manila Melody senseless the last twice, of course, carrying the honeysuckle colours. I know that she's not quite that class, but for me, he was confident. If you read in your members section, look for your quotes on the race. You can find it on the race cards as well on the website. We expect her to come out on top again, says the great man Willie Mullins. He's also got Great White Shark in it. I thought she might run well at a price if there was a weird one for Danny Mullins on as well. But there we are. There are the tips then. 2 for Roxana, Barry taking on Concertista as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I just think if you look at it's all about value. And I'd much rather back Roxana at 7-2 than Concertista at nearly evens.
Yeah, I mean,
not much
3
in
to
it.
1, 7-2. Loads of people will be backing her each way, won't they? Loads. I mean, Damned Company is the other flyer, isn't it? But again, I wasn't getting great vibes about that, and it's gone right out in the market, doing a bit of an epatante here.
Yeah, she was
Coral Cup winner last year.
epatante. You say he was, apart from Shishkin, epatante was a little bit disappointing. I think that's not a true
Tad
running.
flat.
Tad flat, yeah.
That's
So
fair
yeah,
enough.
now you've got to listen. I think Shishkin's the real deal, and probably been as, even if he had a bit of a cough, I think he's that good. He'd get over that sort of thing. But yeah, I think you've got to worry now with the Henderson form a little bit.
Interesting.
Pim didn't really run that well in the.
Pim didn't quite get home, did he?
Ultimate.
All right, okay, maybe
They're not
Nicholson-
finishing.
Henderson's not over the hill yet. Then on that front. Okay, so is there anything left field here that we could see coming off? Indefatigable, as Barry mentioned, got up in the boys' race, came from absolutely nowhere that day to chin pylon. It's just been. She looks like she left it behind that day a little bit, didn't she? Because it's been disappointing. She came back at Kempton, was a bit flat. Wind operation for her. We saw that work, didn't we, on Vintage Clouds earlier in the Ultima. Black Tears is a horse that quite a few people are liking. I spoke to DJ this morning, David Jennings, who this was his horse last year. She finished second at the Coral Cup. He goes, she's just not good enough to beat Concertista.
Indefatigable. This is the first run back after wind up, or she's.
It's first run back after wind up. What's your angle on that? Well,
do
if you're
like
riding
him.
one and you see a 1 next to a W or a 2 next to a W, there's a bit of a school of thought there.
I
isn't there?
do. I mean, everyone says it, but I do like him to have a run after.
So they know that they can breathe again.
I think that theory's correct. Yeah, I think they go for so long knowing that they can't do it.
Vintage Clouds was second time.
Yeah,
then,
that's
wasn't
it, second time, and then all of a sudden they realise that they can, and that next time else there's that bit of confidence. Yeah, I think I do believe it. I think it's very true what they say about that second run.
Okay, so you've heard the tips. Barry Orr, looks like she's hardening to me all the time.
2.10 now, bang on 11 to 10, Dave. 4.5 Roxana, which is 7-2. It's Dan Company, who was matched with a low of 7.8, just around the 13 to 2 mark, is out to 13.0, which is 12 to 1. 14 Black Tears, Manila Melody 15. Interesting, Manila Melody. She went off favour for the novice race last year, 11 to 4. Now she's been beaten twice this season already by Concertista, but the better ground might make a bit of a difference to her. Great White Shark, another Willie Mullins mare in there at 28, but the favourite very strong at the head of the market, as you'd expect.
If there was one an absolute flyer, Barry, I'll make you right. It is Great White Shark. I would like to have seen perhaps a little bit more confidence behind her. I don't think she's shown her best. Certainly that last run, I think you can put a line through that. This is a Zarowich winner, of course. She, right old gamble at that, wasn't she, on the flat in Newmarket?
Worth mentioning as well, obviously, Willie Mullins' astonishing record in mares races. I think there's been 18 at the festival and he's won 14 of them. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Vega obviously responsible for 6 of those.
Yeah,
It
and
is
obviously if
ridiculous.
Benny had stood up, it would have been 15.
Yeah, there you go,
It's
yeah.
incredible.
He does do remarkably with mares. You remember that there was that season, wasn't it, when he was going for the title over here as well. He was mopping up. Glenn's Melody was coming over, running at Warwick and the likes.
He even won, didn't he, the year Annie Power unshipped? Was it Glenn's Melody won that year?
It was Glenn's Melody,
Yeah.
yeah. And he went to win bumpers at Market Raisin, didn't he? All sorts of things with mares. So the great man bidding to make it 2 wins on the day.
Matt, can I ask you about trainers? And do you remember G-Rod?
Which ones?
G-Rod got into all sorts of trouble on this programme once, didn't he? By saying he didn't think there was that much kind of magic about training horses. Where do you stand on that? I mean, obviously most of it is just common sense and experience, isn't it? Is there such a thing as sort of magic to training?
Genius
do you think?
was
Genius. What is it that I mean, I always thought the genius was getting people to write cheques for 500 grand for geldings, but where do you stand on that? Are there trainers that you think that lady's unbelievable at training horses?
I think any person can get a horse fit. That's fairly straightforward. It boils down to a lot more than that. It's knowing the individual, the feeding, what they like, what they don't like. Do they get bored easily? It's a lot of different horses need to be trained different ways. It's like you see some of these horses now. Newmarket, absolutely fantastic place to train, but it's monotonous. It's the same thing day in, day out, and this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. They start improving. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know, they get out of the routine. And this is where you see some horses when they go to different places, they start improving because they get out of, you know it's more like almost like a factory scenario. Same thing, long bang, 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 same thing. And Nichols is the same. It's the same up the same gallop, the same gallop. This times have changed. It's a lot of interval training now. But I think, like, if you see Gary's old place down in Brighton, we didn't have a gallop there for years. We had to put a wood chip gallop in. But I say, like, he trained the Cheltenham Festival winner there. I can't remember the name of it. Timmy Murphy rode it. But that was just, had no gallop, just going up and down the downs each day. So
I guess the Bradstocks would be a bit like that as well, wouldn't it? Something slightly unorthodox,
yeah,
maybe?
yeah. I mean, they had a very good gallop in their old Falk Warwinds gallop, but again, they could go off. They could go off piece, do something different, and it's variety is the spice of just life, and that's what you can do. That with some horses, they appreciate. Some horses like that. It's like people. I want to do the same thing. Saying, I know where I am. I've got.
I'm going to put you massively on the spot now. Okay,
Right.
You've retired from being a jockey,
Hey.
and you buy a lottery. Yeah, I know it's a long way in the future. You've still got a lot of years. Left
No,
in the
I haven't.
saddle.
You're right. Yeah.
And you buy a lottery ticket, or you've got all that money that you've won as a jockey, and you decide to buy a horse for 300 grand, one of those flashy horses from France. Who trains it?
Flat or jumping?
Jumps.
For me,
We'll do both. We'll do jumps first.
I think I'd send it to the same trainer because I think he's very good at both, and that's Gary for me.
Gary Moore.
I just think, yeah, for a dual-purpose trainer,
So sad about what happened at Goshen. There's madness.
I just think, yeah, he just knows how to do both ends of the job. And if I had that sort of money, for what he'd done for me in my career, it would be for me sort of returning the favour and saying, look, I've got you this, go and do your stuff. For me, it's a no-brainer.
Brilliant.
No-brainer.
There you go. Yeah, okay, again, can't wait to get the postscript from the beaten horses. There's only one so far, isn't there? And Honeysuckle as well. I think will just be just the best mare ever, isn't it, in Ireland at this point? But they are coming out onto the track in about 10 minutes' time for the 340. We've got some more social interaction coming in the corner. Who's coming up? Andy Sim, regular contributor. Black Tears for a place, second in the Coral Cup last year. Comes in off a confidence-boosting win. Doesn't do a great deal wrong, does she?
No, she doesn't, but you'd be surprised if there isn't at least one too good for her. Just going back to the champion hurdle, Dave, the old £7 mare's allowance argument isn't helped by the fact that the winning distance was 6.5 lengths.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was.
Of course, you've been on it, yeah. So that will rage, won't it? I think. And
Listen, she would have won off the levels.
She would.
She would have won off
levels.
levels. She would, wouldn't she?
She would have
Not
done.
a shadow of a doubt.
I mean,
And
it was
gone
would have
before
been the
Charles
same.
kicked.
It would have been the same distance.
But
as
what
well.
do you equate a pound to a length over
It's
two
about
miles
that,
hurdle?
isn't it? It's about that. I
Yeah.
think it is. So that and whether that's right or wrong, it's going to be used as the measure. But Sharjah,
It's
by the
only
time he
used when
hit
it
top
fits,
gear,
though,
she's
Dave,
gone.
doesn't it? Do you find that that's only used like we just used it then, 6 lengths. We've sort of highlighted that. If it was 9 or 10, would be she's won fair and square. It's
Was she all out?
Believe me,
No.
if Goshen had got beat 6.5 lengths, I'd still be moaning about that.
That one's
I don't
going to
think-
rage on. I think Barry Orr's probably just like,
I
yeah,
promise
all
you,
out.
Barry, that's
she
the
was all
last
out.
mention.
One more social, Andy Sim. Thank you for that, Andy. And Leas Chalk comes on. Great name. How many people waiting for the fourfold? This is, of course, it. Thank you for bringing that back in, Leas. Absolutely. Barry, this is the one that was making you quake on the sportsbook, no doubt. First thing this morning.
Yeah, this was the one. We flagged it up before racing that obviously appreciated Cheskin, the last winner, Honeysuckle, and all running up onto this. They seem to leave out Happy Go Lucky. Nobody wanted to put that in the Ultima. That was probably viewed as the weak leg in any accumulator on the first 5 races today. So a lot of people left that out. And at about 12 to 1, most firms it would have paid between 10 and 12 to 1 with most firms to forward them. So they'd never always win, did they? Remember any power? I think the same race.
Oh, he's pre-tempting it, isn't it? Of course, and Barry, just remind you, has laid concertista for the showcasing the exchange's functionality and, of course, a charity as well, which is going all right today, Barry, isn't it, for Well Child?
Yeah, we're winning 100 quid at the moment. Yeah, we got out in the first 2 races with the A versus B, what we lost in the win market, and then we won 50 quid by laying Happy Go Lucky and 150 quid there laying Goshen.
That makes it the best part of £1,000 for the month so far of March for the Well Child. That's the the charity for National Sick Children, of course. Look up the website; it's brilliant. They're sponsors this weekend. You do a bit with them as well, don't you?
Yeah, I've done their Cheltenham Festival preview for the last 5 or 6 years. A fantastic charity, really lovely people, and do so much great work.
McCoy's the ambassador, isn't he, this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Prince Harry's he's the main patron. I thought he might get involved because he hasn't got a lot else on at the moment, has he? But he's been a bit quiet.
Is he allowed back in?
But I mean, seriously, the whole charity sector's obviously suffered last year because they were also a title sponsor for the London Marathon. That wasn't on, so they've had a hard time, and this is a great shot in the arm for them. And hopefully Barry will go on and win even more money from this week.
Yeah, it's a long, long way ahead of us so far. Thankfully, we've got one more race to come after this, 2 more races for you in total. We'll do all 6 races for you. There is, of course, a National Hunt Chase, isn't there? Named after Sam Vesty this year, of course. Who are you wanting that, guys? For people, anyone that's going to be, once we go off it. I was on Next Destination. The price is totally gone now. Couldn't back him at that price.
Yeah,
You're love him with Paul Nichols there, Dave, is it? You're love him with Paul Nichols.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Barry.
Does he love Nichols? Do you love him?
Well, I don't know.
You're the only person that does,
There we go. Never got a ride, did you, mate?
No.
Absolutely unbelievable.
He promised me one and all in the National.
Did he? Is that right? I liked
He was
it
waiting
before
for
I
one
went
that
down
jumps
to Ditchy.
really badly and stick that Batchelor.
I would have rode it. I would have rode it.
He will ride it.
I would have rode it.
Yeah, so I liked him before that. The price has gone. I even think Galvin might be a bit of value now.
Kelvin, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, gone to Ian Ferguson, of course, who broke him in and had him as a young lad. Bruce?
I
One
went
at Cheltenham.
Galvin as well. I mean, I was fully prepared with the Next Destination, but the price, as you say, is gone. And I think with Galvin, although we've talked earlier about these horses that left Gordon Elliott's, he's been to.
It's almost like he's going home.
He's been to Ian Ferguson's before. He
Yeah.
spends his summers there, so he's fine.
It's almost like he's going home, isn't it? Experience is a big thing in the National Hunt Chase, and he's got a perfect campaign.
The only thing is, it's such a kooky sort of race, and it's a 2 mile,
No amateurs
3
this
mile
year.
6 novice. I know there's no amateurs, and it's not 4 miles in it, but it's still a weird old race.
Yeah.
We've had some funny results in it. I'd never get stuck into one in that.
The other thing to pour a bit of cold water on Next Destination at that price as well is I think they weren't hoping for the sunshine on the first day as well. So Royal Pagaille, of course, goes for
That
the
should have
Gold
run in that. Royal Pagaille should have run in that.
in the National Hunt.
Yeah,
You think so?
I think it's not easy to look good at Haydock, but when you do look good at Haydock in an absolute paddy field, it doesn't necessarily mean all of a sudden you're going to start winning.
He
Gold
could be one of the
Cups.
biggest egg-on-face horses of the of recent times, I think, if he doesn't hit the top 4. But Paul Keeley put him up at 50 to 1, didn't he? After he won at Kempton, he's been proved absolutely right.
He'll
So
be
he's
massive
on the-
egg on face on mine if he wins, because I'll be placed low in Royal Pagaille.
Tony Ennis, who's in with us on Gold Cup Day, won't come off the bridle. He said earlier in the season.
What?
Royal Pagaille in the
Really?
Gold Cup.
Really?
Yes.
I don't get that at all. I mean,
Looking forward to that. But I'm delighted that he runs. Thank you, Venetia, for watching the show on Saturday, because we were talking about him. And we said I'd be really disappointed if he doesn't go for a Gold Cup. He's in it. He has absolute spice to it. We're looking forward to that on Friday. Of course, St Patrick's Day this weekend. Barry, St Patrick's Day, that's gonna be interestingly observed.
St Patrick's Day tomorrow, and I hope you all have your shamrock on. I know I will. To
Searching
celebrate.
for one as we speak. Searching for one as we speak. Of course, absolutely. That's where it's really going to hurt, isn't it? The usual droves that come across the sea, of course, not being there on St Patrick's Day tomorrow. That Guinness 10.
Say the economy in Cheltenham has taken some hit off the back of the festival not being on.
Brutal.
Like, that is a bonanza for them, for hotels, for bars, for restaurants. That's their Christmas and all, everything rolled into one. Those 4 days.
60 million was bandied about, wasn't it, as an estimate cost? Yeah, we mustn't forget about the.
Jamie, I've
the
spent that nearly
hospitality.
myself over the years in bars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you think
More than that.
hotels, they put 100% markup on their rooms, don't they?
Queens, isn't it?
And the rest.
Monasteries.
Yeah.
And the rest.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny with Cheltenham because it's not just the racing festival it stages all sorts of music festivals and poetry and literature and all sorts, doesn't it? But this is the big one, obviously, for them.
This is the biggie. Next year we'll be back. Well, that's what we can. But we're pretty sure that we're coming out of this. Thank goodness me. So they are going down. Look at Concertista. We can see on the corner of her eye, bounding her way down. Chestnut gleaming in the sunshine. They always look good chestnuts, don't they? I always remember.
Gleam to them, yeah.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a red herring. That sometimes you go like if you ever take a non-racing public to a racetrack and they look at horses going around, they always go, that looks beautiful. It's always the chestnut that gleams, isn't it, all the time. So she's got a great record at the track. She's got a great chance. It's all on for me.
You're commentating on this one, by the way. My voice went with that honey monster.
Did it?
I've lost it.
You've done it. You're coming back tomorrow, man, as well. You're coming back tomorrow.
I am. No, don't worry. I'll be all right.
You have to be a mute.
I'll have a load of honey or something tonight.
Lisa will sort you out.
So I'm handing over the reins here, Matt. So you might.
I've handed them over to Dave.
Who knew? Well, you could absolutely have a call. Who wants to see Mattie Batch call the race? What do you reckon, Barry?
Too many runners for this.
Look, we all want to see this,
short
Mattie.
of a word, have you? There's only 2 minutes to concentrate on. The green one is Concertista, and Roxana's pink with the chevron. You can't go wrong. Nothing else is going to get into it.
That's absolutely
I'm not
right.
prepared.
What do you think I do?
Mind you, Honey Monster.
Flagged it well anyway.
Honey Monster came from somewhere, didn't it? Okay.
It just came to me just like that, honestly.
You roared that one. It was like a multiple that must have been somewhere on it or something.
Yeah,
like
that was a loud roar with a heavy heart. No, it wasn't actually, because I tell you what, I do love Honeysuckle. I think she's been fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love seeing a great horse storm clearing a race.
She's
like
becoming big bucks, isn't she? 1-1-1. What's she, 12 now? Is it something like that?
11.
11, is it now?
Undefeated in 11, yeah.
Should she jump fences next season?
Well, she
don't
won't
know
do,
way.
but I'd love to see it.
She looks like an out-and-out hurdler. Do you agree, Barry? She's an out-and-out hurdler,
Yeah,
I think.
100%. After winning the champion hurdle, you'd be a brave man to send her over fences now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it won't happen. No way.
And of course, there's the breeding operation with Kenny Alexander. She's now won a mares over 2 mile 4 and the champion as well. But could we see something coming out the pack here? Team Mullins looking to get on the score sheet for the second time since appreciates its utter romp in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. How are you getting on? We're having loads of fun and we know you're loving the show. Keep your feedback coming in. Keep your questions coming in. We'll give as much viewer interaction as we can. 2 more races for you. We
Almost
are
off.
about to go then. Bruce, this is being handed back over to you. Would you like me to call it? I don't mind.
I'll tell you, I'll
Go
give
on,
it a
let's
go.
go. Here we
be
go.
on standby, Dave, just in case I start getting all
Off we
Tyler.
go then for the mares. And Great White Shark, bang up there, Bruce.
Yeah, Great White Shark and...
Floressa.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, yeah, there you go.
Roxana
See?
just behind Harry Skelton.
Ah,
Here we go.
Here we go.
Get it ready.
Indefatigable there in 4th. Down on the inside, we've got the JP McCullers of Dame de
he's fallen out the second.
That was good.
Here
The
we
first
go.
half furlong was brilliant, Matty. Well played. Go on, keep
JP's
going.
got a runner. There we are.
Yeah.
Dame de Company.
Dame de
Dame de
Company.
Company. There we go. They're
Out
going
the
a
back,
nice
White Hot
pace.
Chili Philly.
How would you describe that pace, Matty? Dawdling.
Yes, they're going quite steady here. Yeah,
This
definitely.
won't really suit Roxana,
This
I
won't
don't
suit.
think.
Harry probably want to make a decision. He might want to go up and take this up and
You
say,
never
look,
see her in third in her races. She's always out the back. So he's obviously wise. They must have been chatting down at the start or something like that. Who's going on? Who's going on? There are 2 out there. Floresa's trying to get the easy one, isn't she? Great White Shark, perhaps making sure that that's not the case for Team Mullins as well. Dame de Company on the inside. But Roxana, she can be keen. I don't want to ask the jockey. What do you reckon, Bruce? Is she throwing her head around?
No, she's all right, I think.
yeah, she's okay.
Everyone's okay.
White Hot
Everyone's
Chili
okay.
Philly
They're
right at the
they're
back.
all sensible. It's
Black
all good.
Tears.
Roxana's shortened, Barry.
Roxana, yeah, into 11 to 4 now, Bruce. Your favourites round at 5 to 4 mark 2.22, and it's 14 bar, the 2 of them.
So old rival Manila Melody, Rachel Blackmore tracking Concertista. Also out the back, the other one of Mullins, My Sister Sarah. Lee Westwood's got a bit in that, I think, isn't he? We talked about Lee earlier on the show. Brian Cooper on, first time wind operation. Indefatigable, last year's winner of the boys race. Martin Pipe Hurdle, that is in 4th at the minute. Concertista, she's got a lovely way of going about her Concertista. She likes to come there off the bridle. Let's see exactly what she does as they go over the last in the home straight for the first time round.
We're not going to have low sun issues, by the way, are we? Because it's
We should be all right,
getting
shouldn't we?
towards that, aren't we? It's a beautiful sunny day, isn't it?
We've got the Boodles after this, haven't we? Come out the Fred Winter, the juveniles, massive field there, couple of plot horses.
Who actually is commentating on this? Because I've just
We
heard
all are.
Barry
It's a
Orr's
joint
dog
effort.
as
It's a
well.
joint-
Barry's
it's
dog
a
just
joint
had a go.
effort.
We called that Archibald button on Saturday. We were like questioning attitudes of different runners.
It's a
He's
joint
got
effort
Archibald
here.
button. And at the moment, I think that might have been for Roxana, which is very, very harsh indeed.
It's your go, Barry.
Yeah.
You go, Barry.
We're going to
What
join
sort of
Barry
music
up.
are you going, Barry?
Yeah,
Go
go
on,
on, Barry.
Shark, Great White Shark takes it up now from Floressa. You've got Indefatigable in 3rd. Then you've got Roxana anchored in 4th. Your favourite Concertista in 5th. Dame de Company 6th. Followed by Manila Melody in 7th. My Sister Sarah out the back along with Black Tears. and White Hot Chili Filly. But another Willie Mullins horse or filly off in front now, Great White Shark, leading them down to the fourth last. Is it fifth? Second
Thank
down
you,
the back
Barry.
straight.
Oh, there's a minute we'll never get back.
That was good.
Great white,
Very
that was
good.
great stuff, Barry. Absolutely, got all them all right. Absolutely, it's a Great White Shark. She stayed in the Cesarewitz, didn't she? I tell you what, she was a massive prize. She got loads of ability, and
This
she
is
on the
playing
lead.
into Roxana's hand. This strong.
Do you
pace,
think
isn't
so?
it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was a little bit steady early on. I don't know. Is this a strong pace, mate? They're well bunched, aren't they?
Down the back, they've sort of quit. I think Harry will be taking
This is
out
4
soon.
out. I know that.
This is 4 out. Yeah.
Concertista absolutely stepped over it beautifully.
She's still travelling well, isn't she?
She is.
Okay,
Great White
so
Shark.
they're about to freewheel down with what? 2 to jump, is it, or 3?
It's 3 out
Three,
now, isn't
three
it?
out.
3 out, still on the inside. The Great White Shark looking to be the second winning grey of the afternoon. But now
Harry's coming to
Roxana
take
comes
it
up
up.
and eyeballs.
Yeah.
In fifth, going really well is Concertista.
Yeah.
Indefatigable, going really well on the outer. And on the inside, that is... Who's that going all right?
That's
Floressa.
down to company, isn't it?
Yes, it
Floresa's
is.
there.
Floresa's
Yeah.
there.
Black Tears coming. This
Even
is
Minella Melody's going well, but now 2 out, Roxana
Oh,
jumps
it's gonna
into
be the
the
match, I
lead and
think.
she's going well. She is the hare.
It's between 2 for me.
Can Concertista come and beat her? Concertista is eyeing up her
Very
big white
happy
face
with
comes around the
Roxana, I'd be.
outside. Still
Very
going
happy.
outside, still going well. Is
This is 2
indefatigable.
out. Oh, she
Even on the
stepped over it,
outside now,
Concertista.
we've got challengers coming. My Sister Sarah coming
Well,
there.
when
on
you
the
see my
outside.
sister Sarah going out, you know Concertista's 15 lengths at home ahead of that at home. So here it comes. She's on the bridle.
Turning in. Concertista
Concertista.
Go on,
sweeps
girl,
to
get the
front
pace
now,
out.
Goes past
You've got to get
Harry.
the pace out.
Here comes Black Tears as well. Concertista's going to have to
Go
work
on,
for this
Concertista.
as they head down to the last. Concertista
She's over.
from Black Tears.
Go on,
Roxana
Concertista.
gives way in
Black
third.
Tears is coming. Go
Here
away.
comes Black Tears
Go
to
on,
challenge
Concertista, you're too good.
Concertista
She's
pulling
coming.
out a bit more.
Unbelievable.
Concertista by a head.
Oh,
Black
no.
Tears coming in. Black Tears wins it.
Oh,
Black
no.
Tears has collared him, and the
Oh.
Accas are scrumpled up and chucked away.
Oh no, unbelievable scenes. Ross Briley, oh my goodness gracious me, told me that was one of his best bets of the day. Absolutely ridden to pick up the pieces. Jack Kennedy, the first Denise Foster winner of the week. That will be the story there. Concertista, did she go a little bit too soon? Did she bungle it at the last? What went wrong? Roxana left trailing, done for pace in third. Indefatigable back in fourth place. She won a handicap at the meeting last year. Strong, sizzling mare's form. Not the result many of you wanted, me included. I thought that was home. That was one of those painful, slightly delayed oohs and eyes from Barry Orr. Barry, the story of the market. How low did Concertista go?
She went to 1.20, which is 5 to 1 on for £2,726. Your winner, Black Tears, has a Betfair SP of 12, hit a high in running of 65 on the Betfair Exchange. Roxana hit a low of 2.46 a low for her, traded 2.50, traded 692 quid for her, some smaller at 2.46. But yeah, thankfully we win another 100 quid for the charity, so 200 quid for the charity today.
Happy
Well
days,
in, Barry.
Well
Yeah,
done.
that's great stuff. I mean, I said turning in, didn't I, that Concertista's 15 lengths better than my sister Sarah at home. She's finished about that ahead of her, and it was just on the lunge. My goodness. Yeah, now, Paul Townend has ridden her to beat one horse, hasn't he? And something has come and done him up the running. He'll be absolutely kicking himself. Do you think he went that bit too quick, Batch, or am I being harsh?
It's one of those, he's in that situation, he thinks he's got Roxana to beat. You cannot see what's coming from behind you. You've gone on to win
There's
your
no
race.
crowd this time.
No crowd. You've gone on to win your race. Listen, it's easy after the event. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. He'd probably be kicking himself thinking he should have waited a bit longer. But it's easy to say afterwards.
Oh, well, of course, absolutely, yeah, very much so. And if you've been watching her at home in Ireland, she's been doing exactly what she did there. She just comes into it on the bridle, peels off, and then goes for it. I wonder if the ground's a little bit quicker than she likes. That's something that I might think about as well. But I'm picking pieces there because Black Tears, second last year in a Coral Cup, Dan de Compagnie, the horse that was ahead of her that day, is completely blown out. So this is a massive personal best.
I don't think the winner's outstayed her. If anything, it looks like she has just had a little bit more of a turn of foot at the end, I think, because...
Well, she did less through the race, didn't she?
Yeah.
She's just shadowed her all the way round.
It's
And
a great hold-up ride, that, isn't
Yeah.
it? It really
Yeah,
is.
Jack
Very
Kennedy.
patient, that by Jack Kennedy.
He's on the score sheet.
and
so
absolutely pinged the last as well.
Which helped.
Beautiful jump.
Concertista, if I was
Didn't,
being
got in
picky,
close, didn't
little
really
bit, and she
ping
wasn't
it.
great the second last either.
That's
She-
probably the difference, wasn't
It
it?
might well have been the difference. My goodness gracious me, the acca is down. Everyone absolutely on the floor out there. It was close, Barry, wasn't it?
It was very, very close. Too close for comfort almost. But yeah, Jack, he's on his ass in with Abracadabras in the champion hurdle and bounces back there. It's great to see. Great for them to get a winner on the board. Sneezy Foster to get a winner on the board, get that monkey off their back. And I think Lisa O'Neill's over there to do all media for the operation this week as well. So I'm sure she'll give a decent interview.
I wonder how many Sneezy Foster, Willie Mullins battles we'll have like that this week.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'll let the headlines rage about that one, I'm sure. But Black Tears, she deserved her place in the sun. She's so consistent, isn't she? Loads of you out there will absolutely love this mare. And if you took the each-way play, which I know, as I said, some shrewd judges did, you are absolutely in clover. Yeah, it was a funny sort of gallop, wasn't it? 2 went clear, Great White Shark. She's a bit disappointing, really, with her finishing effort. I think they, mind you, Floressa, the one that kept her company through the early parts, she's fallen in a hole as well. There you go then, on the screen, 11-1. Winner of the 2021 Mares Race, a Close Brothers Mare Hurdle. Concertista in second, 10-11 in the end, and Roxana.
What was the time of the race, Dave?
Well, we'll get that, Mattie. But actually, I am seeing
Don't.
some notes come in saying, "Is this quicker than we were all expecting?" And the news desk are all asking that question now.
Dave, it's quite a turnaround, isn't it, from that race just after Christmas? Because Concertista's beaten her 12.5 lengths and was giving her £8. Now, a fair play to Ross Brierley if he's sussed her, but
Really
I
likes her.
think,
What
you
ground
know,
was that with? That heavy, soft?
That was on softer ground, yeah. It was on softer ground. I
See,
suppose
that can make all the difference, you know. You come over in the slightly better ground.
it's definitely made the difference to Black Tears. If you look at her form, she won her bumper. It was hot deep, but the rest of her form is actually on good ground.
Yeah.
So she's one of these horses that you see from Ireland. A lot of people think, Bruce, don't they, that through the winter, that, you know, these Irish horses must have soft ground just because they're trained in Ireland. Half a ton of them usually improve for it. That's a great case in point.
And I'll tell you what, now, if you're a punter, you've got to be going back through these races and you've got to be... one of the great things, and a bit of an advert here, but on the Racing Post Members Club, if you get a horse's profile up, they're all filterable by distance, by course, by SP, etc., etc. And if you click on going, it'll list by going types. And if you see that they've got good form figures on good, that's worth its weight. It's weight in gold, I'm telling you. It really is.
There's the time on the graphic, guys. We're just looking at that. So slow by 8.51. So Cheltenham will still be pretty happy with that. That suggests that it is still very much good to soft. Again, we're probably looking at I mean, if it was cloudy, you might be thinking it's just the sunshine, which maybe is
Sunshine and wind as well.
and the wind. And so tomorrow will be the day, I think, when it does start to quicken up. Will they water now at half time? Unthinkable when this got called off on trials day. Unthinkable.
It's not unthinkable. Who cares? I don't care.
been such
if
a
they
wet
if
winter,
they get
isn't
it
it?
out and put a bit of water on to keep it nice and
I
safe,
spoke
and keep
to
it
Alan
good to
King
soft, then sensible.
a couple of weeks ago, and he was already worrying about it a couple of weeks ago for Tritonic mainly, but he said, I just hope they don't get the taps out. We'll be talking about them. However, Gary Moore, who had Goshen, said to me, Cheltenham have got to ensure it's the right sort of ground for everyone. So it depends what camp you're in there, I think.
All these clerks, they have to actually go and study turf husbandry for years, and yet all of us
I know.
who've never done
Yeah,
it in our lives,
yeah.
we might walk the dog to get a clue of ourselves. We're all experts.
Yeah,
on
I've
it.
got friends who are greenkeepers, for example, at some big golf clubs around here, and they know some people that work at Ascot, they know people that work at Cheltenham, and you're right. The work they have to put into
Difficult.
study there, it absolutely is
I used to get
madness.
fed up with armchair editors. I imagine armchair clerks of the course must drive you out. You armchair jockeys as well, Mattie, isn't it? You know, everyone
Yeah.
sits there, 20 stone blokes all sitting there think they could do their job better than
Yeah.
yours.
I've no idea what you're talking about. Shall we? Shall we move on to the? I made a career out of it. Shall we move on to the Boodles? The final race here on RP Live. Oh, I'm gonna have to wipe my brow there. I had a good position about Concertista. It's the way it goes. I'm about levels, you devils now. I think I'm a little bit up. I think after I had Shishkin at an all right price in a couple of doubles with Appreciate, so I'm not doing too badly there. So, and I have got one here. I have got one. And yes, Barry Orr, I was put onto this when I had my loving with Paul Nicholls down at Ditch Sheet last week. He told me this Ugri worked like a Group 1 horse.
Wow, yeah, he's your favourite at the head of the market. It's a race that Paul has a good history with. He's currently 6.0, which is 5-1. 6.2, Saint Sam. That's putting Quilixios form to the test. Another Gordon Elliott, Sneezy Foster runner, Rivia Dittel. He's been the money horse in the race. Was as big as 11.5 and 12 is into 8.6. Bustleton for Joseph O'Brien is 10. Home Publique is 14.5 and it's 17 bar. Yeah, the horse I like in it is Rivet Dettel. I'm going to back him and I'm going to look to lay him back in running for a green book. I think he likes to be up with the pace. He won first time up, or he won in Punchestown when he made all. He beat nothing that day now, it has to be said. But interestingly, they pitched him in against older horses in Navan. The horse that won the race, the Devil's Coachman, has won against since. I think he's got a reasonable mark in the UK at 142. So going to back him at 8.6, Bruce, please. We're going to have 50 quid on him. And then what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to lay him at around the 2-1 mark. I don't mind laying 200 to 1 him. Taking 100 quid out of him at 2-1. And what we'll do here is we'll select the keep bet function. So that bet goes in play. If we didn't select that, the bet is taken down once the race goes off. But by clicking the keep bet selection, that keeps it in play. We may or may not get matched, but hopefully we will if he goes off and tries to make all in a hard field like this. He might get matched at a short price. If he gets ran out of a close home and we get matched, we still win 50 quid, or we win the guts of over 200 quid if he actually lands the race, even by laying him in running. So it's called greening up. Have a green book, and that can't be too bad.
Great stuff. Thanks, Barry, and thanks for explaining that one. There you are then. A quick fire double for Jack Kennedy. Barry thinks it can happen. Is the trade on, Bruce? You're looking.
Sorry, we're all good. Yeah, I was just having a little look at some of the others.
He's on Facebook.
I'll soon be out of here. Don't worry.
Do you know what? I actually think
this Mattie Batchelor is driving me for job. Thanks very much.
I might be one of the sort of few. I'm definitely not on Facebook. What percentage of adults in Britain wouldn't be on Facebook? I'm in a minority here.
You are actually.
Is it good? What's the point of it?
Not really.
No. I use it for Messenger really, but I don't know, social things. Of course, we are on Facebook Live, so you wouldn't be watching on that.
No.
But no, the stream on Facebook does extremely well. Actually, we know that's where they love to make loads of their comments as well. The viewers out there. We've got time for plenty more of them. By the way, this is 4:15. We're 20 minutes away from that. Shall we go down then? We know where Barry's going. Happy to take on the first couple in the market.
Start with you, Dave. Come on.
Okay, this is Ougris for me.
Ougris,
the ex-French horse, who made his debut in the Grade 1 finale it was January in the end, wasn't it, when the Welsh National Meeting was on. Behind Adagio, who runs in the Triumph Hurdle. Nassalam is in the race. He would have finished a lot closer to Nassalam had he not left his legs in the second last. And he's getting a lot of weight from that chap. Best part of a stone, actually, isn't it? And he's off a mark of 128, which I know they were very happy with. They paid a lot of money for him in France. His French form, I looked into it as much as you can. There are winners amongst him, and they believe he will love some drying ground, which I think they've pretty much got. Paul's only worry about him was that he might be one of these morning glories. But Harry Durham, who was sitting with us at the time, his assistant, he jumped in and he said, that was the one that went past me the other day. You know, sometimes when they're doing these work, especially at Ditchit, they're like, what's that? And Sean Bowen apparently was on this and he absolutely flew past a very, very good horse. So 128, I'm pretty sure they think he's potentially as good as a 150 horse in the making. So if that's the case, he's going to be soaring over the fence. It doesn't always work out. Paul's one worry was that he might be a morning glory. If he's not, pretty sure we're going to see a very good performance from Ougris. He will do for me. Bruce Millington.
I can't work out why anyone would want to back Ougris at 4-1 when you can back Nassalam at 25-1, who beat him 20 lengths last time. I know there's a stone turnaround, but 20 lengths is more. Generally needs more than a stone to reverse that. So I'm going to go with the top weight here for Gary Moore to get a bit of compensation for what happened.
Compensation, and it was he's got Botox Haas running for the same connections,
Coral.
the same in a Coral tomorrow, which is really, really well fancied. Gary, I think. If had they thought it was going to be soft ground on Friday, they would have gone for a Triumph. But the owners have apparently been very keen to run in this, and he does definitely want a bit of cut underfoot.
I don't want to take any short prices.
That's fair enough.
For the same reason, I don't want to back St Sam because I think Bustleton might have the beating of him on the weight. So Bustleton for Joseph, who's won this, that could be the danger.
Band of Outlaws, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For JJ Slevin, and he's the only winning favourite of this in the last 10 years. We did have a couple of favourites a couple of years ago. You remember Diego de Charmel landed a gamble for Paul Nicholls.
Couldn't back short ones in this race.
Now,
just couldn't.
So 6 of the last 10 have been 25 to 1 or bigger. Some 40 to 1 shots have won this. Une Artiste, do you remember her? Unbelievable. How did she go 40 to 1 in the race? She won that a couple of years ago. Paul Keeley had an interesting theory about this before we go to Mattie. He said that when the weights aren't so compressed, which they're not in this year's edition, it usually comes from right down the bottom. Hence, he's gone for, I think he might have gone from one.
He likes Sage Advice, doesn't he?
He likes Sage Advice and Curious Bride.
Oh, yeah, he's into this Curious Bride thing, yeah.
He's got a bit of a theory about it, hasn't he? He said that when the reserve came out, it was the same ownership, wasn't it? They wanted to get this in, and they think that Naomi got the tactics wrong last time, so it could forget the P, basically. But he also said that when he saw Dennis O'Regan book for it, he was like, I know I'm going to be sitting in last place.
Yeah,
so he kind of weighing it up there. But I know a lot of you will be looking at the Sizzlers today. Sage Advice and Curious Bride for Keels. Mattie Batch.
I agree with Bruce about Nasalam. If you're looking at the... you pronounce the name?
Hugri.
It's a bit of value. I think... Another horse that I appreciate better ground is Her Indoors of Alan King's.
Yes.
I think she just looks like she'll appreciate this better ground. She's a big price. She's 25 to 1. She's listed hurdle winner. And as I say, I just think in this race you have to look for a little bit of value. And I'm going to Her Indoors each way. I do like the Nichols horse. Chepstow third. First run in England. He did leave his back end a little bit. Sometimes they come over here, acclimatise, and yeah, he does think a lot of it. He's bigged this horse up, but yeah, I'm going to go Her Indoors each way.
You're absolutely right about the ground. I think when you look at her profile, she was a sort of work in progress on the flat, and they've just been waiting to go over hurdles with her. She haven't been running, on winter ground. I spoke to Adrian Heskin, who rides her, and I remember Kills was in with us that day as well, and he said, what do you reckon about this? And he said, I wonder whether she's got the pace for this, which surprised me somewhat, because this is a race where they can get racing a long way out. I don't know.
There's 22 runners.
Well, I don't know if you think about training records and Creatures of Habit, you'd think Alan King would have a really good record in this, wouldn't you? With the juveniles he trains. He's had 18 runners since 2011. Only 3 have hit the places.
Wow.
That's so 0 from 18, really. And even worse is Willie Mullins, who trains St. Sam. He's got 11 runners in the last 10 years. 1 only is placed. That's really surprising, isn't it?
I wanted to ask Barry about one, Zophanian, because we've all heard, haven't we, with Brexit and all the aggravation of travelling horses in these weird times, that it's expensive and that you're not just coming over for a day out. So Dennis Hogan's brought this one over and looks quite progressive, despite having had a lot of runs. I just thought this one might be quite interesting. Barry, have you heard anything about Zophanian?
Not really. He's well exposed over here, Bruce. It has to be said. I know he won last time out. He got a rating of 130 in the UK. I think that versus his Irish rating is somewhere in the region of, I think, not too far off that. So he's not overly burdened by the UK handicapper this time. He won by 9 lengths in Naas last day. But like I said, I think he's been well exposed. He was second to third to Coulthard in Naas. Now, he's won the Dermot Weld horse that there's been plenty of money for. John Joe O'Neill Jr. takes the ride there. I think he's into about a 14 to 1 chance now at the moment for Dermot Wells. But yeah, Zophani, well exposed is how I describe him at best.
You couldn't have taken a bigger bucket of water and chucked it over my hopes there, Barry.
But he very politely, that's why he's been in the game so long, isn't he?
Yeah, that was polite. That's
what,
like a true PR man.
Yeah.
What he's basically thinking is, what is that mug Millington on about now? But
Richard Johnson's on, isn't he?
He's a very, very capable trainer, the man that has it, and he's well able to lay one out. So I think the horse will run well, but I just think there could be other horses that are better handicapped here than him.
I don't want to pour more water on it, but Ricky Johnson, this isn't the sort of race. I don't think this is the sort of race that I once called him Ricky, much to their delight when I was calling a race. I've got it.
You called him Ricky.
I called
Ricky
him. I meant to say Richard and Dickie, and I've got Ricky. And Posty and him they're still
Sporting
laughing
John,
about it.
yeah, Sporting John.
You probably told him about it. I was Sporting John. Thank you, Barry. They're completely quintet. But this isn't the sort of race that Dickie wins. I don't think these days. I just don't. I think he's.
What are you trying to say? Spit it out. What are you trying to say, Dave?
I think that he's not one for big field handicap hurdles anymore, Ricky Johnson.
Disagree.
Why is that, Dave? What do you think?
I think tactically.
Is he saying his bottle's gone, Barry?
I think it's.
I think that's what he's saying.
That's what he's.
No,
I'm reading
no,
between
no,
the
no,
lines,
no.
Barry. Is that?
3 runners, and he doesn't like to be in amongst it.
Barry,
Yeah.
Someone's just bringing a ladder into the studio for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Right? It's quite a long one.
I think it's mainly got to do with the pace of these races. I mean, he rode a horse in it called Zoffy last year, and honestly, it's Scalded Cat doesn't even cover it. But
No, you haven't dug yourself out. That didn't work.
Dickie Johnson, I think over fences these days, and even in bumpers. But I'm just not sure about him in these big field handicaps anymore. I know the great man that he is. He would put me off slightly, but let's get some. Let's get some.
Great man. He's trying to put it back there, isn't he? The great man.
I'm digging away and I'm getting out of it.
The great man who's lost his bottle and is absolutely gone.
Some of the things that you've said about him. I know you're his mate coming in here.
I've never said it live, no.
No, you haven't. That's a good point. Okay. Patrick, I'm just going to go Patrick there, or shall I have a go at this? Mattie Batch would get this terribly wrong. Patrick Uzungulu. Is that right? Uzungulu? Yeah, that'll do. Bustleton for me. Yes, for Team Band of Outlaws, JJ Slevin and Jojo O'Brien. I'm really losing it now. Rob Bellamy is weighing in with Barry Orr. River to Tell. Did I get that one right to win? Okay, so it could be a quick double, couldn't it? For Team Sneezy Foster. I think we'll call it that. Coltour's one you mentioned, Barry. This is the one, when John Joe O'Neill was booked for this, they got the visor back on. He wore that when he scored on the flat. They would have had this in mind. This looks like a classic world prep for me. Whether he's good enough or not, I don't know. But he's one of the ones I was worried about when I was looking for my Hoogree selection.
Yeah, he got in off a mark of 127. I'd say that's eminently workable for Mr. Wells, the master of Roswell House. So, won well in Nace last day. Well, won a neck from Show Business. I'm sure they were pleased with that because it got them on a mark where they were going to get a mark in the UK and potentially get into the Poodles. And they've got in on a very nice, with a very nice racing weight indeed. 10 stone 10. John Joe O'Neill Jr. booked for it. A lot of things in his favour, but just Dermot Well wouldn't have the greatest of records, I don't think, at Cheltenham over the years. And his horses always seem to be backed for that whole kind of Dermot Well plot job. A lot of people think that that's the avenue that they're going down. So, yeah, he's a horse that I could pass by at the price.
They had then Ascot Gold Cup when beaten in a bumper. Do you remember? Rite of Passage.
Rite of Passage.
Yeah, he was only second. I can't remember who was second too. Was it Q? Wouldn't it be Q Card? But someone will tell us. But
Pat Smullen rode it as well.
The late great Pat Smullen. Absolutely, he would have been here ordinarily over for this.
Did he not say it was the scariest time of his life in that bumper, Larry? Or was that?
I think that's when his bottle went soon after, didn't it, for the National Hunt game?
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Someone recently brought that up, and he said Pat Smullen could not believe he was beaten in the Champion Bubble. I think we were talking about how difficult it can be, what sort of horse you need, and how tough it can be on horses, and the mentality and all that sort of thing. But Rite of Passage went on to win an Ascot Gold Cup, one of my favourite horses over the years. We've got the bumper coming tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. For Three Stripe Live for me and that. What about looking further afield? Because we've still got a little bit of time for this. What horse are you really looking forward to later in the week? Mattie, this is your one day with us this week. What's the horse that you're really looking forward to?
Monkfish. Can't wait to see that.
Great, two's on shot.
He's a superstar. It's not all about betting, is it?
He didn't say about betting, did he? He said, what
What
are you looking forward to?
Fish pond for you. Yeah, absolutely. He does look like the perfect racehorse, doesn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. He's just, yeah.
Do you think he'd win the Gold Cup?
Yeah. I think
he wouldn't let that out of place in it, would
I think you can back him now for the Gold Cup next year.
No, but this year, if he was in there,
definitely, yeah.
He would. He's a bit of a runner, wouldn't he? He's
just
perfect, isn't he?
The one thing we knew about Royal Pagar was when they were umming and ahhing about which race, no one ever mentioned the old RSA because they was never going to run against Monkfish.
No.
So
absolutely.
why not switch Monkfish? You know, if Royal Pagard is that good. So he's a third season novice Royal Pagard as well. So, but Monkfish, okay, Bruce.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, the Gold Cup's just my favourite horse race of any type. Yeah, it's my favourite race, and I'm leaning towards A Plus Tard at the moment. I think he's really exciting, but I'm also quite respectful of Champ. I can't wait for that because I think that's just a race with so many facets. I even think Native River might run really, really well. I think it's a fantastic. Who do you like for the Gold Cup? Matty?
I am a Plutard fan.
We were talking about this when
Yeah.
you came into the office today. You watch him back, honestly. Again, you watch back that Savills. He's just getting going at the line.
I think them extra two, that 3
and
mile
the
two,
Ryanair
just
last year, which you can
absolutely-
do. This is so
Yeah.
important in your members section. Another advert for the race replays. Ever so important. Watch back last year's festival. It's the key. The clues are there. And for me, I'm with you. Plutard.
And he's had the class to beat Shaka over 2 miles, hasn't he?
He's
I
a
just think
very,
he's
very
really
good animal, isn't he?
He's
Yeah.
really
You'd have
good,
to
I like
respect
him.
Champ. I thought it was very astute of Henderson running him over 2 mile.
And he jumped beautifully, didn't
jumped
he?
beautiful,
Wow, what a round
and
of jumping that
I
was.
think the only reason why he done it because he didn't want to run him over 3 miles so close to Cheltenham.
We had
And
you in that day. Do you remember when you were saying that there was a bit of schooling going on, wasn't there, somewhere? They
Yeah,
went to Linfield
at
or somewhere,
Linfield,
some
yeah.
schooling. And the one horse that all the jocks were talking about was Champ. And he drifted all the way out for the games. But
They said they didn't think he'd be far away, Champ.
My
yeah.
worry about Champ in the Gold Cup, let us know your Gold Cup thoughts, we've got all week to talk about him, is they're going to have to hold him up. And he looks so well served by an attacking ride over 2 miles. Well, Charlie posted on Saturday, he was kind of echoing those sentiments. He said, and they are a little bit worried about, I think, at Henderson's yard, the change of tactics. So, but yeah, he's one that could quite easily make mugs of us all. Yeah.
Again, as well, it'll be interesting to see all the Henderson runners further on in the week because it's not boding.
Another one flat in the mares race there, wasn't it? Down to Company, beat Black Tears. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're
Coral
all
Cup.
running similar races. They're travelling
Some,
and towards the
some
latter
statement
stages.
that after Shishkin, isn't it?
No, but this might sound silly, right? This might sound silly, but Shishkin might actually not have been at his best today. I know he's come home well clear, but you know that was a weird what was going on in behind, wasn't it? They were taking each other on, and the others were ridden to try and pick up a bit of placement. I just think he might just be so good that he might even have underperformed a little.
The
bit.
two in front definitely made it easy for him because you say they've absolutely folded up the running, which is give elegance to Nick second. So
Yeah.
it's definitely he rode a good race on it, Nico, but they have helped him immensely by doing that. They've cut their. You said, I think someone said earlier that Guinness didn't run a great race, but I don't think the circumstances helped him.
Well, I mean, Shishkin has beaten the same horse as he's beaten the Lightning, hasn't he, basically? So the handicappers will take that into consideration. Can't wait to see the RPRs. That's one of my favourite things I do at the end of each night. You know, you compare them historically to different performances. What have we seen so far? Honeysuckle, appreciate it, winning by the greatest distance ever. And they may not go for the champion hurdle next year. Keep your social media comments coming in. We've still got time to get them into Mattie Batch, Barry Orr and Bruce Millington as well.
We've left poor old Barry out of the Gold Cup chat. Now, obviously, he's on.
Oh, it's obvious what he's going to say.
all week.
Album photo, isn't it?
Where do you stand? Because we've just had a massive, great Gold Cup conversation and not mentioned the horse that's won it last 2 years, Barry.
Yeah, he's a class act, isn't he? But I can look elsewhere at the prices. The horse I like, I backed it when it drifted out to 14, was Manila Endo. Obviously, an Albert Bartlett winner, went off favourite for the big race in Leopardstown, fell. Last day was just about getting his confidence back, I would imagine. I think you see a different horse when he gets to Cheltenham. Just touched off by champ in the RSA last year. I think he's due. I think he's due a change of look this year on that new course, and I think he could win the Gold Cup at a decent price. He's around 8 or 10 to 1 now.
The word shrewd is bandied about a little bit, but I'm going to give him a nod there because if you apply just strict trends to the Gold Cup, there's only 3 horses that you can have, on your mind, and one is Album Photo, the other one is Plutard, and the other one is Manila Endo, and he has come in for a bit of love, Barry, hasn't he?
Oh, certainly has, Dave. Yeah, there's been plenty of money for him in the last couple of weeks. Like I said, was as big as 14 and 16 in a couple of spots. Immediately after the race in Leopardstown, and then the last couple of weeks, like I say, into around the 8 to 1 mark generally. And I could see that coming under pressure. There's a couple of the older horses in there don't really do it for me. The likes of Native River and Santini, those sort of horses. Album Photo just never captures the public's imagination because we only see him so sparingly. Willie's such a creature of habit, so. I can look past him at the price at the head of the market as well, and just looking to eke out a bit of value, but. Yeah, that's my play in the race.
He's
I
an
might
interesting one. Okay.
I might get shot down for this quickly. Listen, he's won 2 Gold Cups. You can't take that away. Would this year's Gold Cup have a lot more strength in depth.
Oh, definitely.
Without
Is
question.
that agreed,
But his first win, it
Yeah.
was a very impressive.
Listen, he's
figure
won
and a
2
very-
Gold Cups, and that's
yeah, exactly.
great,
It
but
could be
yeah.
immortality we're looking at in the Gold Cup on Friday. But the final race of the day for you here on RP Live, they are
Couple of minutes away, aren't
ambling
they?
around, trying to get their positions at the minute. I'm having a little look down. Looks like Bustleton's going to be up there. What else is up there? Hell Red looks like he might be up there as well. Looking for my Great White Hope. Where's the other Great Ugri? Got a nice sit on the inside. So they're going round. I'm going to give you a line from James Stevens. He's just messaged me saying, Cheltenham now good to soft in places. So it's turned on its head. Changed at 4 p.m. Pretty sunny here, he says. We can see that, James. And Jack Kennedy, after riding Black Tears, said, it's dead. It's going to be drying out all the time with the breeze.
What does that actually mean, Matty? Dead. But what is that?
It's not good, and it's
Is
not
it
soft.
changing
It's-
ground?
It's where it's been
It's what these
on the
guys call
soft
yielding,
side.
isn't it?
It's drying. They're probably kicking the top off a little bit, but yeah, it's horrible. Dead.
Yeah.
It's just dry,
Tacky,
horrible,
dead.
tacky. Yeah.
It's not.
And there's a
it's-
horse that likes soft ground. Will he go on it?
No,
or
no, no.
Would suit more a horse that likes good ground?
It would,
or-
if it was to suit any sort of horse, it would suit a horse that wants good ground. But not really many horses would like it. It's a bit of a nothing. It is what it is. It's dead. It's horrible. Yeah.
It's when basically you've had heavy ground, then all of a sudden it's had a bit of sunshine on it. It's not quite good, but it's not. It's still. It's not. It's a nothing.
You almost
description.
want a bit of rain on it.
It's the worst
Yeah.
exactly to help
Yeah.
him go through it a little bit. Absolutely. All right then. It's nearly time for the Boodles.
A few quid for Saint Sam, who's come in recent minutes.
David
to
Jennings' nap of the day.
5.6.
Hugh Gree's gone the other way. Hugh Gree out to 8th now, 9.4.
I'm not surprised by that. I thought he would be a sort of drifter on the day, I have to say, because he was 16-1 almost a week ago.
Fav now. And by the way, with Saint Sam, if that wins, that will be the second winning owner who is a betting company chief executive formerly, Ed Ware.
Ed
Of
Ware,
course.
yeah.
Ed Ware, yeah. So, who they say never see a skimp bookmaker, and they're all in the
And
winners.
you know Hugh Gree, the guy who owns Hugh Gree used to work for him, worked in Betfair, and then went to work for Ed in Gibraltar for 32 Red.
Ah, right, interesting.
Yeah, you know who it is.
Go on,
You might have met him a couple of times. Matt
Matt
Booth.
Booth.
Just let me get out there. Matt Booth, that's right.
Matt Booth used to do the marketing for Betfair.
Yeah.
He's
Hugh
got a
Gree,
piece of
yeah,
that.
he's involved in
How
that.
about
Yeah.
that? Wow.
Definitely in the wrong game.
Aren't we all?
Well, I don't know. We're getting closer to Barry.
Right
It's all
then.
good. They're off and
Here we
running
go.
into the Boodles. Here's Bruce Millington.
22 runners, and they're fanning out round the first bend and straightening up for the first hurdle. And over the first, they've all popped
Burgundy
out.
Man,
Oh, no,
I'm
we've
gonna
lost
say.
one. We've lost one on
I'm
the
going to
outside.
say it's Burgundy Man, maybe.
Wasn't Coulter, was it? No,
was
he's
it?
there.
I think it's Burgundy Man,
Burgundy Man. Okay. All right. Thanks, Barry.
number 19.
Yeah, it was. Good shout, Barry. It was. Yeah, kept
Okay.
wide.
Hugh Gree is being pushed up. One of the two greys going prominently, but cutting out the early running is Dan Skelton's runner, Cabot Cliffs on the inside with the bottom weight. Curious Bride, aye for Paul Keeley. That's going really well. Hom Public for Oliver Greenall. That's in third. Hugh Gree going well. Right out the back, Saint Sam. Now, the market doesn't seem to mind that, does it?
He's very
Barry.
keen out
He's
the back.
keen. He's upsides.
Yeah.
He's upsides the fellow who's lost his bottle.
This Cabot... Ricky Johnson. Yeah.
Ricky Johnson.
Cabot Cliffs, if I was a little bit keen in third or fourth place at the minute, I'd be happy that I was following him, because this is a horse that since he's got on some better ground, he's skipped around the likes of Warwick, and he's a proper front runner this, so this is not a false pace, I would say, as they go out onto the far side.
Barry, Saint Sam, last of the 21 survivors here, and still 5.8.
Wow.
5.8, yeah. Bustleton 7.2. He's come in. Hugh Gray out to 11 off the back of this, and Rivertel out to 10.5, although he seems to be well paced. They're going a fair clip.
Yeah, Rivertel's got a nice spot, hasn't he, Barry? Hugh Gray's just been a little bit keen, that's all I would say. But again, most of them have been. I just think that's a slight overreaction thus far. He's jumping nicely.
Is that Druid's Altar right up there in fourth place, I think, in the light blue colours as well. But it's still Cabot Cliffs cutting out the early running with Curious Bride going really well for Dennis O'Regan. In third on the outer, we've got Riviere Detel, and then on the inner is Hom Public from Druid's Altar. And then on that one's outer, I think it might be Elm Valley. They're all well clustered though. St Sam started making a few places So don't worry too much if you were alarmed about that one being out the back early on. Where's Hooghry?
Yeah, he's in about
David?
fifth, just on the outside, giving a nice sight. Hell Red's just tracking him at the minute. What's this? Just on his inside. Something in the Balco Saints got a nice position there.
How do punters love these horses out the back so
This
much?
is something
because
that you
St
always
Sam is
bring up.
4.7, and
That's
to me
amazing.
that's got past 16 horses in a mile. It's not for me, but I've been wrong on everything all afternoon, so I'm sure I'll be wrong on this one as well. Giving up the outer to no one on the outside is Paul Nicholls' other grey, Hell Red, with Bryony Frost in the plate. Still seems quite sort of keen, I don't know, on Hooghry, Harry Cobden, doesn't he?
He's just trying to not to get there, basically.
Yeah.
He's absolutely running away with him. Diego Charmel did just that.
Rolling down the hill now towards 3 out,
I'm
and it
looking for
is
Savanian
still
thinking, please
Cabot
don't come through the
Cliffs.
pack.
Going really nicely is Riviere de Tel, jumps that one in second. Hooghry is third, and on the outside is Bryony
Hoogry's
on
travelling well.
Hell
I'm getting a
Red.
bit excited
Getting
now,
into
I've
it
got
now
to
is
say.
Get
Coulthard.
excited, Dave!
Coulthard's getting into
Saint
it.
Sam's
Saint
coming
Sam's
as well.
coming there as well.
Here's Hooghry.
Also
Hooghry,
on the
innit?
inside, going nicely,
He
Sage
jumps this,
Advice
he'll
for
take a
the
lot of
doctor.
beating, Hooghry.
1, 2.
Here's
Boom.
Oh, he stood right
second.
off it.
Loads left in the
Saint
tank,
Sam-
Dave.
Hooghry's going really nicely, isn't he?
Come on, Hooghry.
Yeah, Nassalam's trying to come up on the
The
inside.
leader's
as
struggling,
well.
River to Tell struggling. It should be between the market leaders,
St.
guys.
Sam up the inside.
Yeah.
Saint Sam's
Saint
taking up
Sam.
the inside route, and also coming there in
Come
the
on, Harry,
orange
don't
is
get
Jeff
done up the
Kidder,
inside.
a massive
Sage
price.
Advice.
Come
Sage
on,
Advice
Harry.
is coming up.
Come
There
on,
goes
Harry.
Loads in with a
Come on,
chance here.
Cobblers.
Loads in with a chance.
Go on,
Jeff
Cobden.
Kidder.
Go
Go on, Cobden,
Kidder.
what we got?
Jeff Kidder
Come
at a
on,
massive
Cobden.
price.
Come on, Cobden.
Jeff Kidder's going to
God,
win it
I
at a
believe
massive
it.
price from St. Sam. Jeff Kidder wins it for Noel
Wow.
Mead. St. Sam's going to be second, I think, just about. I don't know what that is on the inside. Hooghry is fourth, but Jeff Kidder at a massive price for Sean Flanagan gets the job done. Wow, wow, wow. The bookies will love that.
Yeah, he's a horse that we saw on the flat last year, I think, for Noel Mead. Yeah, he's an absolutely whopping price, beaten out sight by Zanahiyr last time when we saw him on St Stephen's Day in Leopardstown. Soft ground winner before that. Look, really, really hard to find. I'm going to say probably the best ride won the race. He absolutely launched him at the right time. I think a couple of jockeys will probably question, I mean, what must Harry Cobden have been thinking? What was he doing coming to the last? He's absolutely cruising. You would have heard me say in the run, don't get done on the inside. St. Sam's coming. He must have thought he was holding on to some horse there,
Oh,
Matty.
80 to
80
1.
Oh, so look, there's another Skinner. That's now 7 out of the last 11. That's actually the biggest prize winner of the Boodles.
It could be what you said earlier, Morning Glory. He's travelled like that. Harry's probably thought, I'm going to push the button and go.
Yeah.
And he's pushed the button, and it was like opening one of them old bottles of champagne and the cork goes flying.
He was
and
keen as well,
it's
wasn't he?
just, boom, gone.
Let's get to Betfair SP, Barry. What was it?
Betfair SP of 120, 120, so 119 to 1. St. Sam hit a low of 2.76 when sneaking up the inside, and Hooghry hit a low of 2.50, 6 to 4.
He's fiddled the last as well, and you just can't do that in the championship races. I'm absolutely massive Harry Cobden fan, future champion jockey, absolutely no question, but that's one where he'll come back
I think
and
that's
say, boss.
Elm Valley coming
Yeah,
up
it was
for third.
under Paddy Brennan.
Was it?
Paddy does this thing,
Yeah.
Matty, doesn't he? When he gets past the line, even if he's finished last, he stands up in the irons, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does it. He shakes his fist when he beats an odds-on shot, because such is the competitive nature of him. Ellen Valley for
He's
third
very
round
passionate, is our Paddy.
has run an
Who's that,
absolute
Fergus?
blinder there.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
yes,
good
it is.
call,
Yeah,
Bruce,
yeah, yeah.
because they were all. I mean, that was.
I spotted that one from way out, didn't I? Thank God, because I think that's going to win. I just went with
Yeah.
it and carried on repeating its name, and thankfully it won.
Even
Saint
if-
Sam
even
was a
if-
bit
listen,
keen, wasn't he? He's flattened out a little bit. I still believe that the best horse, and I know I've got an investment on Hooghry, but I think we've left one behind there a little bit.
Listen, I don't think it, Dave. Even if he's jumped the last, he's flattened out too much.
It's
for
more
me.
that he was holding him. I'd rather would have seen him at least
Send him.
ask him. At least ask
Tell you
him.
the other thing, Sean Flanagan's had to really steer a precise path through
Brilliant ride.
in the last. It was
Brilliant
brilliant. If you
ride.
watch him just going to the last, the door closes on him, but he holds his position and sneaks him up there. I think he's won well. I think the best horse has won there.
It was certainly, definitely the best ride. If you watch him coming to the last, which you obviously probably are doing, he's got Hooghry as his target, and he's gone on. He's done him. A word about Sean Flanagan, then, Barry. He's a go-to man, isn't he, for Giggins down on the line? Been at Meads for ages.
Yeah, since Paul Carberry retired, he's kind of got a lot more rides in there. He was a bit of a journeyman prior to that, really, but he's put his hand up in Noel Meads, and he's been rewarded a stable jockey there, and he gets a lot of good rides. Jigginstown, keep faith in him. They put him on Delta work actually when in the Irish Gold Cup, was it, or the race before that in Leopardstown, when he fell, unfortunately, for Sean Flanagan, or unseated rider.
Road to Respect, you think of horses like that?
Road to Respect horses like that, yeah. So they have confidence in him, all right, and he's a very capable jockey, yeah.
What do you think the Racing Post headline should be, by the way? Come on. 80 to 1. Unbelievable, Jeff.
Unbelievable, Jeff, of course. Yes, Soccer Saturday, quite right indeed. There is your result in the corner of the screen. Jeff Kidder then, 80 to 1 beats St Sam. Dave Jennings will be on the floor. Ellen Valley, another right skinner, getting up in third. He'll stay well. And Ugree, watch this space. There's a race in him, isn't there? Chase it in the making, back in fourth. Final race of the first day for us here then on RP Live. Don't forget, Barry, when I went down to Paul Nicholls, I put that Ugree up each way as a charity bet. I think you gave me 25 to 1, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know whether it was that generous.
I think we were getting 13 to 2 at the time. I'm happy enough with that. A reminder that Paul Nicholls went for Frodon in that each way. God, the ground's coming right for Frodon, isn't it?
Wouldn't it be lovely?
Absolutely.
Yeah, great for
wouldn't
racing,
wouldn't it be the story of the week?
Yeah.
It really would be. Bryony Frost. We already had Rachel Blackmore taking out a champion hurdle. Unbelievable scenes. And Harry Durham, he went for Enegamine, that's not running. So charity bets abound. We've had a great day, haven't we? Barry, you've been on target, man. Good shouts throughout the day. A little bit more in the Well Child Fund. You've enjoyed yourself as ever.
Oh, yeah, great show, lads. Really enjoyed that. Always good to be on with Mattie and Bruce. And we won 200 quid for the charity. So another 200 quid for Well Child. So that's 1,065 for the month so far. Thank you.
We just wish you'd had a little bit more on that Goshen lay. We were trying to get you to.
Yeah.
He wouldn't take the bait, would he? He wouldn't take the bait.
I felt a little bit intimidated by the trees. I was going to lay it back in running when he ran off the course that time.
I'll tell you what, Barry, you're not the first person to be intimidated by me.
It'd be the first horse.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. Barry's back with us every single day. See you tomorrow, Barry. Or Mattie Batch, thanks for coming along. It's been great fun. And Bruce, superb to have you back. You're back in the chair tomorrow. We've got Graham Rodway joining us. What are we? Queen Mother Champion J. Chacun pour soi just wins?
Chacun pour soi, yeah.
Just wins, okay.
Wins.
Great to have you with us as well. Thanks to the guys in the gallery. We've got a full team. It's been absolutely brilliant. Get your comments in overnight. We'll give you a shout tomorrow on Queen Mother Day.